CP, welcome back. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, I'm good. Also, I saw chat being a little bit rowdy. I need to clarify something. No, this is not Deadlock form night. There are no forms. I am a dictator. I might even make the teams play Bo and Krill 1v1 next week. That's how mad with power I am. There will be
Hell
no
yeah.
forms. Putting it out there.
At Deadlock Fight Night, playing on the new patch here with a lot of changes that went into
Buff
the game.
enjoyers did not play last week.
Opening bans will be quite interesting because again last week already we had the Mo and Krill dropped earlier by ZP, you know, giving the shout out there, but we actually saw Mo and Krill.
Buff enjoyers bans Mirage. I first pick Paradox. Okay, Infernus Wraith or some shit. I just don't. I don't like Great Talon that much.
There we go. So there you go. The Great Talon.
I think Great Talon is slightly overrated compared to the hard carries that I've seen in competitive play so far.
That I feel like compelled to make people aware of.
In every tournament we've seen Great Talon, the Great Talon usually isn't hard carrying. They just have a lot of damage. I just feel like the mid and late game Great Talon versus something like an Infernus, he does a shit ton of damage, but it's just like it doesn't feel as crazy. That's all. Ivy second pick. Buff enjoyers really likes Ivy early. Every game.
Any other team in EU really highly values Ivy. I think they enjoy both what you can do for rotational play with how they handle the macro side of things, and I also just think they value the enormous amount of spirit damage that Ivy still puts out. It'll likely be together playing on the Ivy, and yeah, I mean, it makes sense where they're going.
And a Viscous, nice.
I also think they might have picked Yamato in this place also, given how they've historically valued Yamato fairly highly, but Viscous.
I really like Viscous in the second pick like that.
Early game and
I'm a huge Viscous enjoyer.
Now you've picked both Ivy and
because every time Viscous plus Yamato or Abrams or any frontline gives you like a guaranteed frontline, which always feels good. I understand the theory of buff enjoyers draft. I do not understand PS's draft at all. But also, the one thing I do like is how many stuns they have in their comp. They do have a lot of stuns. And now they have McGinnis wall. I'm not a believer in full turret Guinness. And yeah, there's the Infernus last pick. Buff enjoyers comp feels crazy to me. So my head says buff enjoyers has a more just straightforward draft. They have Paradox to look for picks. They have Viscous plus Yamato Abrams for the front line with cubes. Ivy support and Furnace late game carry. Yamato late game is also crazy. That feels really good to me. For PS, they actually do have a disgusting amount of damage with Wraith Great Talon. 7 is really obnoxious to play against with stun. McGinnis can be super annoying at all these earn fights. If they get to the choke points anyway.
It's very difficult to contain.
I'm down.
Here we go. Like I said, kicking things off. And again, for me, it's all about what are these matchups going to be. We did have a couple of really crazy matchups last week with seeing like 2 1-1-2s instead of 1-2-2-1s. But we're not going to see any craziness here. But we will see the Abrams and Yamato in their own solo lanes. Infernus can be paired with Ivy here in lane 3 and Paradox and Viscous together in lane 2.
Water
of Pain. It seemed
Obtained.
to be the case that things were a bit more chaotic in the North American.
Okay, so we have Yamato versus Wraith Soul Lane, Abrams versus 7 in the other Soul Lane. Okay.
In terms of those lane setups early on, which is fun. But Europe seems a bit more cookie cutter in certain respects, and it's interesting because also the European teams, Jason, they've been sticking together more, and so we're actually getting to see a better representation of these teams' skills.
That is true.
All the time.
The teams have been polishing and refining their gameplay more because they stick together week to week. It feels like NA, they've changed a lot of teams over time.
Gone to different teams that will be participating. But yeah, I definitely agree. I feel like EU in general, not even just in Deadlock, in most esports have been more methodical.
Do you filter your water?
Like a higher standard of play compared to NA, but obviously I don't want to get the NA hate here. There's a lot of potential on NA side, but what I'm hearing is
that disarm timing just before he applies a dot. That's awesome.
Easily, you know, combat against the Hydronation roster we see.
The thoughts on the main broadcast not using a delay? They might be using a 1-minute delay if they're watching in game. Kind of depends.
Indeed, and I think
they should have just 1 minute, to be honest.
About to try to gank across the lane 3, but returning back to the lane 4.
Give me a sec, chat. I forget. I'm on a new PC because my PC died earlier, so I have to log into Twitch. God fucking damn it. We're back. I'm logged in. Twitch Turbo, saved my life.
They were always really easily susceptible to ganks early on. They would typically like lose the early.
What a veteran broadcaster. Hey man, my PC died last week. I had to swap, okay?
But for me, that's a really good indication that buff enjoyers have definitely improved since the last time we've seen them. Just Listic having that mindset of, okay, I gotta get back, gotta get safe. The call was made as I knew was coming in, and he keeps himself alive.
Yes.
I'm going to try and get a 9800 X3D tomorrow, 6 a.m. Wish me luck.
About the kind of macro, I was going to make the point before we went to the transition.
Your PC died? Okay, before we hop back into the game analysis and get serious. Yeah, I had a 13900K chat, and it slowly degraded for the last year. Every time I launch into Windows now, it basically blue screens within 5 minutes.
As soon as you get to a certain point of the game, it'll even out. You'll get your objectives, maybe seconds to your opponents, but you will get them, and you'll make up the soul difference, and then suddenly, you know, you're close to even. As long as you don't lose too hard.
Like 8 months of very slowly increasingly blue screen. That's it. It took a really long time. I was hoping it lasts till the 900. It died a week before.
And I feel like that's where NA kind of struggles a little bit of knowing like when they're ahead and not, or when they're.
Why does it do that? Honestly, no one knows. Literally, no one knows why these 13th gen Intels just have issues. Nobody knows at all, ever, under any circumstances. Okay, back to the game.
And they will shove that down your throat and close that game out extremely quickly. Whereas in NA, you could have a 20, 30K lead, and teams still depend on, okay, we're going to bait you to a fight at the urn, and we're going to win the fight, then we'll beat you, instead of just, we're just going to take your base right in front of you.
Wait, is Jason Kaplan talking about how NA teams are bad?
That point very quickly. This is also going off the back of the somewhat kind of prediction that ZP made, essentially saying he feels like the early macro is going to be better with the
pretty much.
And Joys are running, and so far they've got a problem. Listic's actually been losing out to the 7 played by Together and just fell on that lane as well. So 7 getting some good farm, and Abrams getting a little bit behind. It's not obviously too crazy.
Like guys just took out Infernus.
3 lane here, Jason, to perhaps cause some chaos and damage, but not really finding too much and having to try to escape with that charge.
Well, so that's probably the worst case scenario. No kill picked up, and he's going to lose farm in his own lane, meaning he's going to fall even further behind
sad.
Together. He's currently 1K behind. He'll catch up a little bit because I think he'll still have.
Dude, that Abrams losing that. He's 1K behind, but he has the wave at his tower. Only like he only drops like two creeps that way.
You know, Abrams, when you fall behind, it's really hard to be effective and to be that dominant force Abrams can be. So we need to see Listic catch back up, but you know, I'm not going to knock him too hard because I mean, if you think Abrams, you're going to think Listic.
Absolutely, and you know, like someone else that's standing out right now on the Pugilaya Scumbria camp is going to be Hardeki, doing a really great job here.
Abrams lost lane to 7 solo. Yeah, he's down by 500, 600 gold, so he has
more
at some point
chaos coming here onto lane 4,
either falling behind last hits or something else. I don't know.
Quite a hard time on that. Abrams getting some assistance, but that assistance seems to meet more assistance as Listic is not just up against Together on the 7, but in.
I mean, there's a 2v2 going on. Yeah, there it is. There it is. I got it.
See Piggy does go for the gank. I mean, not even a gank.
Ivy Abrams versus Mo and Krill. Mo and Krill's not having a good time. So yeah, he's dead.
Really quickly why that's so important.
2v2. Abrams is back.
So we talked about, you know, when is he to get back into it? Well, he's back into it.
Abrams, after those 2 kills, is still behind the 7 by 300 souls, by the way.
Out of Taz, and he still survives that lane, and he still ends up picking up a one-on-one kill without those ultimates available anymore. I feel like that's kind of insane to see out of Demov and a real showing of his prowess on a Yamato.
Yeah, and I still have to, you know, make mention of the fact that Hardeki is doing a pretty good job here. Mikhail S and Sharek, though, on the other end of things, also doing a very good job staying very up on the souls. Still is an issue for Listic and Demov, who are a little bit behind in the early phase. Very recoverable, but somewhat of a dive.
Wait, was that a locket I just heard? Oh no, don't go in the closet with Viscous! Oh no, wait. No, you let him get away? Bro?
He doesn't get it?
Oh no.
No way, dude.
Away. Lit somehow escapes the giant goo ball. That was a
bro.
Somewhere else on the map as Mikhail S went down. What? How did Lit survive that? I thought he was for sure dead. I thought that wall locked him in with the ball, but he does.
And now you die instead?
The one to go down.
What a fucked up day this guy's having, boys.
Overcommitted. Oh my god. The juking around, there's the parry. That's not going to do too much, though. Dodges any kind of melees, and we'll get taken down indeed. Thanks for checking me on that previous kills, Jason. Sometimes it's hard to know what the hell is going on, but between us, we can figure it out.
And Furnace also just killed Mo and Krill in the side lane.
They are just looking to just take this tower down. There comes
yeah, they're rushing this tower.
Get the Guardian to hit you, so you can get those melees in, take it down extra quick. Really, you know, min-maxing things at this level of play. And it's looking like Buff and Joyers are surging back into this one.
Yeah, they did lose their lane 3 Guardian. That was pushed down by Hardeki, but they do respawn with one of their own. So they keep things kind of a little bit equal, as we do see Buff and Joyers currently missing out on 2 of these Guardians. I want to point out something, though, that ZP did bring up, and it kind of pairs along with
3 cards ready. Time to pew, pew, pew.
He went reactive barrier early.
He actually hesitated. I thought he was just going to dump all 3 and just immediately kill the Paradox.
Going to be a guided out coming through as well. So very smart pickup in items when it comes to him. So Demov, again, just really showing he knows.
I know he has a cooldown, but the first one I felt like was late.
Yeah, and it's quite interesting right now because it does feel like, you know, Podulai, Scumbria, I mean, they're just ahead ever so slightly. Obviously, it's just really the difference of that one Guardian. But still,
slowing Hex on Wraith. Here we go.
Opening performance than maybe was expected based on, you know, what we were looking at in the when we were talking about it in the draft. With that said, obviously, at this point of the game now, around the 8-minute mark, we've got a lot of roaming around, more pressure coming in.
Dude, I like how PS just invades. Like, yeah, I'll take your camp. See ya.
Against the Geist. And also the Mo and Krill on Zanya. But they're going to fall back away, so no action there. And in fact, it's
whoa, Yamato just ults fast to get reset.
Go for the chase on Taz, but eventually just
I thought he was going to go all in, actually.
For the dash here for a power slash. It looks like they will just kind of, you know, fall away from each other. But one thing I want to bring up here for Buff Enjoyers, one of the best teams when it comes to defending objectives, I'd say. They realize that they lose one more Guardian, well, we're going to lose a flex slot to the enemy team. So they're definitely trying to reinforce the lane 1 and 2 Guardians to make sure that doesn't go down. And considering we're past the 8-minute mark as well, you're not really sharing souls equally anymore. So they have to be very careful and very methodical.
The laning phase is over.
Yeah, this might be problematic here on lane 2 from Buff Enjoyers because they're...
I mean, we're going to have a bit... I think we're going to have a team fight. Oh, Mo and Krill! Oh, the cube, though. He got the cube before the wall came down. It doesn't matter. The wall lasts too long. He's dead. They got a swap, though. The counter pick from the swap. Okay, they did get it. Took a sec. But the Viscous is also in. Oh, my... The Viscous is owning. Wait, the Viscous is dominating. Oh, my God. He's absolutely steamrolling. Wow, nice wall by that McGinnis. I can't believe that last hit didn't go off. Here comes the Furnace.
As they're falling back into more defensive positions, but another 1v1 here, 7 against the Infernus.
I think that was an owl that just stunned him.
Durgy able to keep himself up here and just keep the chase.
The Abrams comes back. Abrams just respawns, runs back, kills him, and now they get the buff. They get to carry the urn.
As the fight still rages on, Jason, will you ever get a chance to talk? It seems uncertain as the action continues.
Hey, I get paid the same no matter how many words I say, which is nothing. So I really want to point out though that Listic.
And
that whole team fight, it's only 2k soul diff. It's still pretty even. Neither team has a flex slot. Like, it's very even.
Kind of even on the souls.
Nick, thank you for the prime. Sand Library, thank you for the prime too. Or 9 months rather.
Objectives, but the urn is in play.
Yeah, it's all about this urn here, right? Since we don't have too big of a difference, only 2k souls, it's not going to hit that 10% threshold, and it will be a neutral turn-in position. I'm also looking towards the ultimates here, since we did have Listic and Zergy both use their ultimates very late into that fight, which means they're not going to be up here when we go to the actual...
I think it was 7 stun. They always use quick on Abrams. Oh, yeah, I can see that. I thought it was the owl because he took a lot of damage, but it could have been the stun. Yo, picture new tech.
Same time for Buff and George, it's about, do we want to commit for the turn-in?
Here comes Ivy to turn in.
Because Podulai and Scumbria actually have it completely ignored, it seems like, for the most part. And instead,
nice. They tried to wall off the owl.
That's a big misplay out of PS.
PS didn't even try to contest. They're just like, yeah, give it up.
Hold that thought for a second. Lane 2 is seeing some action once again. As Buff and Joyce are just defending Podulai.
Ooh, they caught the Great Talon.
Perhaps trying to catch people coming back from the urn, or maybe catching people rotating to the urn drop-off point. It's hard to say, but I agree with you. Usually, if the urn is up, and you know, as you said, it doesn't give you a huge amount of souls off of the first one. So you could basically say, hey, the risk of actually team fight for this is too much. Let's just trade a Guardian or something instead. So you at least trade an objective, but
they didn't trade anything, I think.
And it seems like a great.
I think it was just they had too many lanes that were pushed, so they didn't want to give up the farm.
Into somewhat of a lead now, 5k soul lead more or less, as they continue keeping the pressure on here in the mid portion of the map.
Slowing bullets on the Guinness, dude. I like the Guinness build. Locket, slowing bullets, got 3 items. Think Divine Barrier, Locket, I assume. Not bad.
Which is exactly where Buff and Joyce had players. But PS didn't push any walkers off that. I don't think they got like a single point of damage on those walkers at all either. And considering you had Zenith,
the other issue is,
he wasn't really going to be there in time.
I mean, let's say they move to contest the urn, and Buff and Joyers are smart, and they realize the lanes are pushed, and they just bait the urn, and then push those lanes to the walkers, and put them in even a worse spot. Lanes are tough.
Teleport over to lane 1 to potentially catch off Demoff, who has no support.
Yeah, there's interesting
Divine Barrier, Rescue Beam, Nova on the Ivy now. My only complaint, I still want 3 gun items on Ivy. I'm not a believer in only 2. I really like 3 gun items.
It's going so well too.
I'm happy you didn't get away from it, like, because you've been doing most of the NA games and haven't had to say their name, but I'm so happy you got put on E for this one just to have to say it.
Yeah, and it's fun though, because I feel like I have to really get into it, and it's just I'm enjoying it so far.
Like a new
enjoying the
lane bait for
Pugilist
ending
Cumbria
patron?
action. And yeah, indeed, we're going to have an actual fight here on this 4th lane.
Oh
And
my god, here comes a
this
gank,
is
dude.
not looking
This
good
is a
right now for Buff
gank.
Enjoys. They get caught. There is
Okay, he shouldn't have been
lift.
stunned by that.
Concussive combustion might allow somewhat of an escape potential for Zergy, but he is now trapped in this little church, and I don't think there's any way to escape this one.
Infernus is
Surrounded by
crazy. Infernus
Pugilist
almost
Cumbria
trades.
players,
Oh,
and
Paradox swap?
eaten alive.
Even a swap happening here over in lane 3. This should be a pretty guaranteed kill. As you do see the soul swap
That bugged out. It looked like she casted it twice. The fuck?
Now, or maybe even turned it back on the face of Buffenjor. He's just diving and dashing around the statue as much as he possibly can. Eventually, he'll be finished off here. But still, I mean, like Hardeki, I think he did this last week as well, just really showing how
She got Sundering animation recasted. Oh, okay.
Long he can survive in some of these fights where he probably shouldn't be able to.
And what's really interesting, Jason, is that soul difference that Buff Enjoys had created, they've actually lost that soul lead of 5 or 6k souls. Now it's evened up. So
yeah, I mean, they got ganked, right? The first turn, maybe not a huge deal. The simply farm.
You haven't said PS yet, and that's the easy cop out. I go for that once in a while, so I'll give you that.
I mean, hey, 7 is farming, guys. And take a peek at 7 souls right now, dude. He's just slowly farming.
Mid boss is obviously going to be there, but we still see both teams pretty content.
Listic with the knockdown Hunter's aura.
Trying to, build up.
Zergy with the toxic.
See some of the tier 3 start to come through. Piggy did go for rescue beam. I'm waiting to see. Okay, so Litz has on the other side. I'm expecting to see that rescue beam specifically to cancel out the paradoxical swap like we had happen last week. But it comes down to like Litz being in the right position. Obviously, being where the paradox is going to be as well to counter it. And then obviously use that wall to potentially pick up a kill off the back of that. But I'm kind of surprised to see both teams just kind of farm it away and not looking for a skirmish here.
Yeah, and great work to Listic. Actually looking really strong again after having
he started off pretty bad at the start, but I mean, it wasn't that bad, to be honest.
The most souls on his team.
He was down 800 souls, then he got a gank. He was only down like 300 to 7.
Get some action here, an interception perhaps onto those Pugilist Cumbria players that are
Oh,
pushing
boom.
that first lane. In comes the gank, and it is looking fantastic here for Buff Enjoys. This is in fact looking way too clean, Jason, for them.
And what's happening on the other side of the map?
Maybe look for the Urn, maybe look for mid boss so they get themselves 2 quick kills. I did like the way D-Mob played that as well.
Oh, Buffenjoys are pushing a tower on the other side. Interesting. They still don't have a flex slot, so they actually do need it.
Just from his presence alone, not allowing to fight in lane 1, as we still see
Listic is trying to kite this out, but I don't know if he's got time.
Down 400 HP left and a dream as he
nice viscous cube into barrier.
It might buy time for the rest of Buffenjoys to rotate in to get a huge team fight.
Yeah, Shirik once again in the goo ball trying to do whatever he can to keep Listic alive there. And this fight now is
Listic did get out.
Full-blown team fight. It was a split push
barrier
scenario
and cube too strong.
The Buff Enjoys, falling off, or rather going to Pugilist Cumbria to punish them for that split push. And it looks like Buff Enjoys are taking a little bit of a lead. That push from Pugilist Cumbria in the split push attempt, Jason, it didn't really do what it needed to do. It was an effective defense from Buff Enjoys who were there present and ready to deal with that.
And Buff Enjoys got the buffs, and they got the Urn, and they got a bunch of kills, and now we're going to have an Urn fight. PS is set up to contest this now on the minimap. But Listic and Paradox are... I don't think they want to fight it. I think they're just going to bait it and push out the lanes. Paradox might TP straight into a Wraith. That seems like a really awkward TP. Oh no, the Wraith is ready.
There we go. He actually might get caught here.
Immediately caught and dead.
No.
Oh my god.
Goodbye, Mr. Michaelis.
Devastating. Absolutely brutal. That's not who you want to run into. And what a fantastic start to this entire scenario. That's going to mean that they can't deposit this just yet, the Buff Enjoys. So they're going to try to escape with it and just reset
No, they
the
can't do
positions. They might have to discard that one. This is getting kind of awkward because Pugilist Cumbria, they are...
I think they could just push lanes instead and chill.
Potentially continue to push the lane. Obviously, that Walker is still up.
Is this EU? This is EU right now.
That's going to be the Guardian going down in lane 1 here. That's going to be the 3rd for Pugilist Cumbria, meaning they get their flex... Or sorry, that was their 4th. Never mind. I always read the thing a little bit backwards here. But with him over in that lane right now, it means you have to send
UAV.
To prevent the wall from being destroyed.
Wave clearing.
Also at the same time means whoever you send over there is going to mean the rest of Buffenjoy is going to be too weak to potentially go for the turn-in. So I do like the way that Sunset, he's like, okay, forget lane 4. I'm going to go push lane 1. I'm going to force them to not be able to turn in the Urn just with my presence alone. So really well done. But I also have to give credit to Sharik, man. His cubes have been on point today.
Oh, they have alerts in top right.
They certainly have.
Nice.
And it's
a close
interesting that
game
we're
so
in
far. This is
situation
really
now
close.
where
EU has
Portugal
insanely
they
close
keep losing
games.
the lead, but keep bringing it back. And the story
Now
is
remember,
going to
the
continue,
urn
as
is
does
going to
this
start
urn
ticking.
story, as to some
So-
never turned in. And it's kind of an interesting
Eventually, they're going to have to do
because
something
Portugal
about
Escambria
this.
could just decide to pressure this side of the map and start working on the objectives. And if they get some pickoffs, then obviously they can push for the walker, or maybe they actually unlock their ability to take the urn as well. And this urn is a distraction to some extent.
You can see the
for Buffalo
McGinnis and the
as well,
Wraith are
having
set
to
up on
hold on to it for
teleporters,
so
waiting
long.
to see who shows
You
up.
can see Piggy's health is just draining away. I think this is where we really
They hear
see
the Abrams. They're going to go in for the gank on the Abrams right now. It's Wraith, I think, and McGinnis going for that
This
gank.
would be the perfect opportunity to use him to split push.
Maybe?
To allow
The Owl is
yourself
going in
or
on
your team to
Abrams
have
as
5
well.
players to look
They're
for
not going to get a
turn in.
buy. They turned.
But, you know, Portugal Escambria, they're like, you know what? Forget it. We're going to continue to push out. They push 2 players in lane 1, 2 players in lane 4.
Dude, the Ivy's
They
still
might even
holding this
teleport
urn.
over
How
the player
long?
over. It looks like it's
How
gonna be
long can you
Blitz.
hold this? This is
It's a 3-man
crazy.
Squad. But we're kind of in this standoff here. Like, neither team wants to make the initial move. Neither team wants to overcommit players to a lane that's
Buffs
too
are up
far
in
away
10
from these
seconds as
turn-ins.
well.
And we're seeing Buff and Joy's like, okay, we're just going to drop the urn for now. Like, Piggy was getting very low on HP, so he can't afford to take it anymore. And we're about to have buffs come up here in about a minute time. So I'm curious to see if that's going to be the next point of contention, which...
I mean, isn't there another urn in like another minute?
Positional advantage.
And it's interesting because it's worth mentioning how much map control was given up whilst Buff and Joyous are just looking after this urn. And you could just see it on the mini-map. So much control of the map was...
Losing so much farm?
therefore
Yeah, I think they are
Portugal
losing a
Escambria
lot
able to do pretty
to
much
not...
whatever they
Just
wanted.
to hold it.
And that map control continues at this point. We'll have to see
He
exactly
just drops the urn. He's like, yeah, fuck it, we don't care.
Of the urn here.
The urn's going home.
Allowing it to kind of return to its original
Dude, that
position
urn
now.
can move.
And I mean, all the time they were holding it, again, it's allowed Portugal Escambria opportunities to bring themselves back in the game, having a lot of comfort in their farming. And, you know, one player that we can obviously mention, or 2 players we can mention, is Together on the 7, farming really effectively. And then obviously Sunset, who has been...
I'm surprised to see Listic keeping up in souls with the 7.
Maybe the least harassed.
I think it's fair. I mean, he did have like a 1-for-1 trade in lane 1, but beyond that, that was pretty much it. And then obviously caught out
There
Michaelis
goes.
before.
And I assume this...
I think what we're seeing here, Dan, though, if I'm perfectly honest, it's the effect of this being a best of 1. You make that mistake,
True.
you fall behind, either team can close us out and they get their way onto that money match. But we do see Zanya be the first to go down here. The Solar, though, going to be on the other side of the map. So it's not like we're going to see a turn-in from this, but we could see some pressure. We could see them look to push a lane. They do get the last Guardian as well.
She's gonna get ulted and die now, I think. I don't think she can get out.
On the Wraith. And
I think he misclicked his teleport.
Just previously to set up that lift against Piggy. Wonderful stuff.
Oh, Listic!
Oh, here comes Listic though.
He doesn't have TP because he misclicked.
Not, oh my God.
Rescue beamed. Still dies. Damn, nice try on that rescue beam.
Still dies though.
Listic had a knockdown, and he hit the knockdown. Rescue Beam comes in from Litz, but Sunset still gets hit by something as he's escaping.
They're going to force mid-boss.
No way. Are they really going to mid-boss?
Yeah, they're going to force mid-boss off that.
Their big stun. They have Yamato. Zanya's back, though, so he could cancel that
I mean, there's going to be a 7. And or McGinnis stun? I don't know which one. If McGinnis max wall first could be interesting. Okay, no stun, no stun. This wall's half. Yamato's there. Yeah, they just get it.
Trade-offs, but it does appear that this rejuve is going to Buff Enjoy, as you said. No challenge from Portugal Escambria, which leaves them in a scenario where they actually have to defend. And this could just be a great opportunity. I love it. They're picking up the urn. I was going to say, Jason, this would be a great spot for Buff Enjoy to get the urn. But given the fact that Portugal Escambria can't do anything aggressively anyway, they may as well just sit on the urn and for as long as they possibly can whilst they're playing more defensively as the opposing team has that rejuve.
I mean, I was honestly expecting Portugal Escambria.
McGinnis at 12k. Yeah, it's a support McGinnis and a support Ivy. They're just taking no farm.
It with just 1 player down. Is that you go for urn and you turn it in. So you deny the objective for Buff Enjoyers who do have Rejuvenator, and you kind of get a little
now,
bit
Buff Enjoyers in the minimap is posturing at the urn turn in. This might be the next team fight.
Obviously, Dimov did use his ultimate.
And now with Rejuve,
secured the mid boss here.
Oh, no, they're gonna put. They're just gonna go straight for Walker. See ya.
They're looking for that first Walker. They also have an urn in close vicinity. They get the swap as well and into the charge.
Goodbye, swap and a charge. See ya, buddy.
Portugal Escambria, they just have to do a good job defending here. If they can just save the Walker as well, that's going to be fantastic. It might be a little bit too difficult. It's just looking very challenging from Buff Enjoyers, forcing their way forward. There's no wall available now.
Wow, those knockdowns.
Down, and 4 kills actually for Sharik, who's been insane, honestly, on this hole. The control on the Google is fantastic.
And there's another Walker. Oh, God, dude.
And off of the rejuve, they've lost
Wraith is split push. pushing on the side though to try and take a walker of their own.
This is a problem for Podula Escambria.
Semi-smart though, they did send out Sunset and Taz to actually go push some lanes here. Sunset's gonna be committed onto lane 1 here. But
Get swapped before he gets to the spawn. He has ethereal shift. I don't know if it's enough. He's a goner.
Shift comes in, and they're gonna have every player they possibly can to lock.
That's so sad.
This actually might be Buff and George closing out the game right now, especially with Podula Escambria.
They can't get picks like that before they respawn. They needed that great talent. I think for 6v6 here.
With the rejuve still up, they can just commit into this. They don't care at this point if they're going to lose some players. They might just be able to end, just as you said. Now Patron transforming into the
Silence into Wraith. Woo, that's a lot of Wraith damage. Oh my god, that's a shit ton of damage. Doesn't even matter though. Booped out. I got teleport.
Continuing to put the pressure on, and now the weakened Patron is
goodbye. Your Patron's here. GG.
And just like you said, Jason,
7 is ulting though. Wait.
The storm cloud.
Wait.
Might be doing some serious work. Look how low and everyone Buff and Joyce are. The storm cloud might have actually just saved.
Wait.
For PS.
The 7 ult just killed 2. Wait, they're turning. They're turning. They used all their knockdowns. They didn't have another knockdown for the 7 ult.
They can afford to commit to this as it's down to about.
They're going in. They're going in.
The knockdown comes in yet
Double knockdown. He's so cursed. They're just all going for the end. They couldn't get it. They can't get it. Lives with 1 HP. Oh my god, dude.
And Podula Escambria hold.
Okay.
Holy fuck.
All right, so
and now PS is ahead on souls because they all suicided for it.
To as close as you could possibly have it come, but it's not over here, Jason. What is the way back for Podula?
I mean, can they just go to the end? The backdoor protection is pretty strong though.
Win from this.
I mean, the crazy thing is
they have to be so safe
from this. I mean, obviously there's a lot of jungle to be picked up for Buff and Joyce, which should even things out. The way back, man, it's going to be tough because Buff and Joyce is not going to give you a chance to think about this. They're
just going. Abrams is ulting with Unstoppable right onto the Patron. He's ulting with Unstoppable right in. He's just going for it straight in. No fear, and it's game over. See ya.
We're gonna take the Patron.
What do you do? What do you do, bro? Abrams ulted at it and just fucking 3-shot it.
Wow, Buff and Joyce. In another
rat gameplay. It's not even a rat. He just ran it at him.
What a performance! What a performance from both teams. I think you made a great point, Jason. Just highlighting the.
That was a great game for Buff Enjoyers.
In the face
and
of, hey, this
again,
is a best of 1. And so
you know,
the fact that the reach.
If Great Talent is super good, this is another organized tournament game that I have not seen. Like, Great Talent does a lot of damage, but I don't see him having a huge impact the same way I see other characters. And that felt like a close game.
Frustrating to know it comes down to that best of 1, and that if you make that one mistake, it could cost you the chance to redeem.
Of course, he might be having insane damage at the end of the game.
Redemption from last week where they lost to DMS, and Buff and Joyce will.
I like the synergy a lot with the Yamato Abrams Viscus. I'm a huge fan.
And then also you consider, okay, Talon's really powerful. Well,
yeah, Talon does have a lot of damage. You can see it right there. The highest damage in the game. I mean, how are they going to contest it? The Yamato ults it.
Look at that last fight as well.
And the only thing they could potentially do is wall off the Yamato. But even still,
doesn't have to ult, and
it's just hard. It's like a low percentage play.
Well, the player of the match, if you must know, is going to be Sharik, and it's not just because we're trying to sell get gooped merch. Just to be clear, there's no like
okay.
bias going on here. But like, yeah.
I think he did win one of those early team fights himself with the Viscus ult, which was really important. Considering that was the exact fight that the Abrams got walled off and Wraith ulted and died through cube. Like this is a correct. This is absurd.
Just running people down.
This one right here.
Yeah. Viscus is just really strong right now. Great early laner, great disruption in team fights, great ability to save people in team fights. And look, this was mentioned to me by a friend recently. He used to be a coach in the OW days. Was just mentioning, hey, yeah, it's only a matter of time before we start seeing like Echo Shard on Viscus, just because of how good Cube is.
Dude, knockdown is so sick.
Playmaking hero. And you just saw
I can't believe the Wraith accidentally fat fingered her TP while she was carding. That's the only reason she died. That's so sad.
Might be one of the more glaring weaknesses in EU drafting, because generally speaking, NA will draft Viscus earlier, and I think it's for good reason.
All right, so that's the best of 1. The next match is going to be DMS versus Buff Enjoyers, which is going to be super hype in a best of 3. So we have first pick Wraith.
In these fights.
Ban
it's
Paradox,
really,
ban
really,
Pocket,
really
DMS
good
first
point.
picks
It's
Wraith.
interesting, though,
They
we're
counterpick
gonna
Grey
get the
Talon
7
Mirage
prioritized,
into
the
7.
Viscous, so it leads me to
Wow,
believe that
the
obviously
7
that
is
they
prioritized
feel
so
like
highly by these
maybe they've got
teams.
to play
This
as a
is
particular-
so
either
interesting.
a particular specialist, or they fear the buff.
To be fair, the 7 stun in a lot of these team fights is really nice. Yeah, Ivy. There it is. They love Ivy.
They know they like to play Ivy, but I'm assuming DMS is going to respond with the McGinnis themselves, which leaves buff enjoyers with their
DMS,
their
I
final
think,
pick.
picked
And
McGinnis
it's gotta
last time,
be,
or is
in
that
my eyes,
PS?
like another carry, probably another 6 pick in Furnace with the way they're going.
Listic is gonna be on the Grey Talon. Even okay, so you think they just want Warden?
Yeah, that's true.
Before the other front line?
Zanya was definitely the last player before. Not going to see it, unfortunately, since they did get knocked out. But do they want to go? I don't know. I'm trying to think, like, where are you going to play? Because Mirage obviously going to put in a solo. You could put Viscous in a solo, which we don't see too often, but I know it's very possible.
Kelvin support. There it is.
Man, I don't know. I kind of like a DMS's roster, to be perfectly honest with you guys.
Yeah.
Like,
I am a huge fan of DMS's roster. I do not hard believe in Grey Talon Mirage. I believe more in the
like DMS technically won
Wraith 7 stuns with Yamato.
Yeah, DMS's team makes a lot of sense. I think
The Viscous though is nice. I like the Viscous, Ivy, and the Mirage.
Also still
The Grey Talon Warden to me are always question marks. I know Grey Talon does a lot of damage, but still.
Here, which frankly is.
What is Zergy playing? In Furnace?
Like
there it is. Yeah.
Crazy
Last
right
week we had early pick in Furnace. Now we have last pick in Furnace.
And for all you fans out there, ZP, 56 subs left to go before he does wax his mustache live on air in the next broadcast for Deadlock Fight Night
Whoa, let's
6.
go.
So get your subs in there. Everything you guys do does, of course, go right back into the show. But about to kick things off here between these two teams.
Yo, Skeezy, thank you for 95
DMS
months.
Trying to hold on to their position longer than Puljulius Scumbria did with only 1 week. And Buff and Joy is looking to claim the title back. It's a perfect matchup here.
I feel like teams that CC heavy comps tend to do better.
It's going to be so interesting.
Yeah, CC in this game is really strong.
Off with what I think we all kind of came.
I mean, I'm a fan of just 7 stun, Wraithel, Abrams, Kelvin Dome. I like all these things.
It's definitely not a comfort pick. We'll be
Solo
interested to see how
Yamato,
they show
solo
us
7.
The value of Warden, especially given some of the changes that have made him less valuable. But just to quickly go over our lanes, we have the Infernus Yamato on lane 1, very common matchup that we see, and Mirage is against 7, and we saw in the previous game 7 doing very, very well against Listic on the Abrams in the early game. I'm not sure he'd have quite so much success here against the Mirage.
Yeah, I'm not sure. It's actually, yeah, so Wolfie here with the 7 up against KLS
Boom.
on the Mirage. And it's Listic going to be on the Grey Talon. That's so weird. I'm sorry to change the subject, but like Listic, his hero pool is like, let me get in your face. Like, I'm Abrams.
Well, kind of. Listic has played a ton of Grey Talon. Listic loves the Grey Talon. So it is interesting that he loves both Grey Talon and Abrams, which is what he's pointing out, because it is kind of funny. They're very different characters. Also, what's up, Retro?
Because to me, that shows he's an exceptionally good player and definitely someone to keep an eye on when it comes to months from now.
Yeah, and I'm going to be really interested to see also, speaking to players, in seeing how Michaelis performs on the Mirage.
50% of Listic's rank games are 1v1s, Grey Talon versus Mikhail. Well, what he's saying is, guys, he's not saying that it's weird that he likes Grey Talon or that it's unexpected. What he's saying is a player who can play 2 extremely different styles of characters and be comfortable with both. One's a Grey Talon backline carry, the other initiating frontline Abrams is cool. That's what he's saying.
Potential gank here onto Michaelis as we get the pressure coming in from Saf.
Because they're both completely different playstyles, that's all.
Okay, well, it was all a distraction for us because it's Play With Me getting the opening kill onto Demov on the Warden, it seems, on lane 2 instead.
I think that's the roughest lane.
Got the rollout going.
Oh, that movement tech so sick out of Play With Me, but the fact that you really can't poke too much with the Warden. I mean, Viscous can poke a bit, yeah, but you take so much.
Buy in Furnace immediately goes down to the Wraith Yamato, dude. See ya.
Such an insanely good Yamato player, definitely one of the best when it comes to EQ, and that's not what you want to see for Buff and Joy's already.
Wait, did he just say EQ?
I do feel like Buff enjoys that lane 3 that they have with Talon and Ivy against Kelvin and Abrams. I feel like it's a really nice lane. I
love that.
Really do much against like the Kudzu bombs and the power shots and stuff coming in from the Talon is pretty oppressive. So they have that going for them at the very least. Speaking of which, looks like we might have somewhat of a skirmish towards lane 3 potentially, as we do get a potential gank.
Grey Talon is waiting.
Across, but okay, maybe not. Listic is.
Grey Talon's on his box run, guys. He'll be back later.
not gonna work out, but he'll get back to lane in time to not really miss out on anything. I do like when we see teams like shove a lane like this, then get back before they lose any of the troopers, which is gonna give them a ton of souls. We did see last week, I think it was Play With Me, who was rotating constantly between lanes. It might not have actually been him. It was a Mirage player who rotated between lanes constantly and kind of like soaked souls in both lanes to really get ahead. And that was really interesting to see. I'm curious if he's going to do something similar.
Yeah, one thing.
Why is Yamato to do that much damage with right clicks early game? It's so gross.
Push coming in from Listic, potentially to that lane too. He's picking up all of the golden statues as well, getting them like right off the rib when they respawn. I think it's when they spawn at like 3 minutes, and I assume he's probably going to be timing those. I'll see if I can like keep track of that. I'll probably forget, but you know, 2% extra damage, all that stuff adds up. But speaking of which, another attack coming in here. What looks like this skirmish is
Wraith Yamato just took Infernus's tower. They double stacked him, so he had to give it up.
Enjoys with Listic once again, being somewhat annoying on that Talon, but they're going to make their way across potentially now to the 7 on that 4.
Now she's going back to catch her own wave.
Disruptive buff enjoyers now.
Yeah, we did see buff enjoyers get a kill onto lane 2. That was because we had Sharik and Dimov realize that Play With Me isn't here, so they just completely pushed down Prestus, who doesn't have ultimate yet. But Play With
Monster round slowing hex. There's the classic slowing hex.
Time ago, so you have to really worry about him. The poke he's going to do is going to be nutty here.
And slowing hex is such a good item.
Him roam a little bit here, knowing he has the ultimate up, trying to guarantee some kills in some other lanes so they can start to snowball those lanes as well.
Grandpa is such a lane bully, man.
I mean, you can see that Zergi's
got enchanters and long range. His damage is about to go crazy.
So deep in lane 1.
And potential gank here coming through onto Wolfie. Able to hit the Guardian there to keep himself safe. So it's like, you know, not too much will actually happen
lane 2
after
though.
all is said and done.
Yeah, lane 2's about to be a 3v3, I think. Oh no, they took the tower. They can just leave. They can just leave now.
Go down. Infernus could try to back away.
Viscous might go down.
Looking like they might escape the telekinesis. I haven't seen it go out just yet, but Listic able to get.
There's the owl.
Again,
Wait, they're turning? No. Doesn't matter. The owl was too good.
Fantastic turnaround of buff enjoyers who are looking very worse.
I thought the enemy team might be turning, but nope. Yeah, they just got ran over. That owl was so nice.
3, so the fights continue. Again, not sure if too much will happen here. You know, against Abrams and Kelvin, they have a lot of survivability between the both of them, so nothing going there. But we will have Sharik revisiting that second lane.
Oh, nice cube for the Wraith ult. Viscous value.
With his teammate.
Time to walk away. Good luck, Warden.
Now, oh, he's not going to be able to escape though. Sharik did everything that he possibly could to keep him alive, but that was a bit too much to ask. And DMS, you know, looking to equalize here. If we're taking stock of the Guardians, we've got one for either team at the current moment. And still early days, but of course, everybody's got those ults online at this point, as we are well in advance.
Shall we all got to learn the move tech? Oh no, he missed! Who cares?
Damage here. Then we get a decent amount down. I just want to point out as well, Sharik had a great cube.
You heard a healing right. He's gonna peek.
But
yoink! See you later. Bye to your healing right.
Aggressive here, where Charge completely ruined his day, and some good dodging by Saf so far. Newest addition to DMS. Definitely a pivotal point in their success last week, able to take home the title. But even, I mean, look where Play With Me is on the map, right? On lane 1. Like, he's consistently staying so deep because he's trying to gank. But what worries me, though, is he overcommitting to doing this?
Nah, he's fine.
Around the map somewhere else. But I know he's a very good Wraith player, so I don't want to knock him just yet.
Michaelis trying to find the kill there onto Wolfie.
Dude, that guy is actually 1 HP.
I mean, Mirage is very scary. The damage output can be pretty insane, especially if
he has long range kinetic dash, dude.
Just consistently connect with headshots once you get all of those
items
that empower it. But looks like we're going to fight on the roof, and that's in fact going to send.
I mean, the moment I think he saw that Kelvin was there, he immediately left. He's like, no, I'm good.
So keeping the lane 4 Guardian alive for now, whilst Wolfie gets back onto lane. Quite a few players congregating there, but at the same time, lane 1 has some action as well. As
Yamato gets chased out. See ya.
13 biting off more than he can chew, perhaps. Going pretty deep there, and not finding all that much.
Thinking back to the owl, the guided owl in lane 4, I feel like
Ivy, no!
Listic called for the
back
away after seeing where they were and seeing there's 2 players up there. We do see Pig unfortunately go down to Wolfie here, and of course Saf. But I feel like he just kind of fed information. We saw the chase and Michaelis looking for it, but he just like quickly turned around 180. He's like, okay, I'm not going to bother with this one, even though the owl did open up the potential for a kill. But in the other things, can we actually take stock of how many kills we've had and the ability points? That'd be really interesting to see between the 2 teams.
He just pushed for his tower. I don't think he's gonna go down or anything for it. I don't think he cares.
Psycho 13 actually falling a little bit behind on the farm, just ever so slightly. Oh, hello. Abrams flying forward.
Abrams is here.
The melee under the Guardian is taking a lot of damage actually by that Guardian, getting melee.
Wow, that Guardian did so much damage to him.
Off and away. The Jin's Mark not doing all that much damage.
It's fine, Kelvin's here.
There is the heal from Kelvin's grenade. So, very scary moment for Michaelis, but good for now.
I mean, that bird is nice if he wave clears it. Oh, Ivy. Oh, Ivy, no! He's getting bullied. Dude, nice. He stayed alive for a while.
Well, he's not. That's going to be another kill coming in for DMS's side. Getting good use out of the ultimates, but they're still going to be chased here potentially because we can still see Buff and Joy's looking for a fight there towards the teleporter. As in the meantime, a fight even breaks out in lane 2.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Dude, there's so many fights going on right now.
But it doesn't look like anything too much happened towards that. There's a disengage from DMS, so they get out of trouble trying to take that Guardian down. And everyone is beginning to return to lanes. And once the dust is settled, we can take stock and minute away from
time to start setting up for buffs.
Buff spawning, and it looks fairly even between the teams. But here are the kills, Jason, for you.
Okay, so just a 1 kill difference.
6 kills for DMS, 5 kills from Buff Enjoyers. We are neck and neck in souls within 1K difference.
Very good Wraith player. And every time I've ever seen it played,
Buff Enjoyers taking away their slot machines.
Buff Enjoyers trying to invade the jungle out of DMS, and well, if you're Michaelis, you got to be a little bit careful here.
He's chilling.
30 seconds time, so you're really.
Now the problem is he did get poked for half his HP before the buff starts, and 30 seconds, and I don't think he has the time to go heal, so he might have to actually start this slightly lower than full.
Yeah,
we'll
it's
see.
going to be really interesting to see how the teams decide to play it. Again, that first turn is not really worth very much, so teams might consider avoiding the team fight and just trying.
Hey, Wraith caught somebody with Abrams, right?
But we got a lot of team
wait, Infernus is here. Viscous is rolling in. Bye, Abrams. You're dead.
See who's going to come out on top here.
What? How on earth did he not get hit by any of that? Nice dodge. Still died, but still.
Able to take down Saf. So DMS losing out towards this lane 2 side at the moment, but there is reinforcements coming across the map. However, Buff Enjoyers are going to be falling back. The bird is getting sent out at the moment. See if the owl finds anything.
I feel like the owl is just all like half the time just used on cooldown for wave clear.
I might have used that once or twice. The guy to owl just to go farm a lane when I realized I kind of used it the wrong time. Ern's going to be picked up out of Michaelis. And he's going to retreat back towards his team as they look to set up towards his left-hand side.
The thing is, Buff Enjoyer still needs to get their flex slot.
Can they actually defend this? Are they willing
DMS
to
has their flex slot now, which is kind of interesting.
The concussive combustion's down for Zergy, knowing that last stand's down for
people in chat are mad at Mirage snapping his fingers and killing them like Thanos.
To force engagement.
Oh god, dude, he does a lot of damage.
Back to Piggy, which they did in the last game too. It seems like they want the support player to kind of hold on to it, so they leave the people who can put out damage to be there to be.
Here comes Abrams.
Oh. In the meantime, we do see a little.
He doesn't have flight.
Onto Listic, who's looking to survive, and nice little jump away does provide him the distance he needs, but it might not provide the survival.
I mean, he is shredding. Actually, is he going to kill them all?
Nice finish there.
Wait, what?
From Listic.
His team rolled in.
Quite a few kills here on
Here comes the owl to chase out the Wraith.
I'll go into that in a second because
he's on the teleporter.
Here on lane 1 at the same time.
I don't think he gets inside teleporter.
And the urn still in the hands.
Yeah, Wraith made it out via TP.
To deposit it just yet. It is not safe as the fighting.
Okay. Meanwhile, the urn fight.
Looks like Dimov is in a very, very compromised position, very deep.
Here comes Ivy.
In comes the bomb from Ivy, flying above. And Patrol reinforcements will be on the way soon.
Good luck chasing that Infernus out. I mean, I think Buff Enjoyers is backing off.
Walking its way all the way back to the original spot. Again, these initial urns.
He just ults him. He's like, "Yeah, fuck you, buddy." I have to reload? Nah, I'm just going to kill you.
To disengage there, but Jason, I just wanted to mention that lane 4 push. I don't think that was the push that DMS expected. That Buff Enjoyers.
Dude, he's so close killing this guy.
Players there to defend. I think they thought they could get away with that one.
Corner peeking Abrams, but here comes the TP from behind. Oh, he did manage to get off the thing in time. That was perfect dash. If he does not do that move tech, I think he dies right there. By the way, that was really clutch.
You're not wrong, because I did see was it Play With Me there and Dimov, and they teleported over towards lane 1. The Dimov was in the back line.
Ivy is like, hey, wait, I've been carrying this urn for 10 minutes. Now I go walk up. Here's another fight.
To secure the urn turn in, and as we can see right now, it would be the perfect time to go for it.
I think you can turn in right now for free. I think they got this.
Just trying to get this urn is so.
Abrams is ulting for it. Doesn't matter. He already got it. He got cubed just in case.
Coming in just to keep the protection there for Piggy as he falls off to safety. And we got I've got to keep my eyes on Listic here. He's starting to get kind of an insane lead on the souls for Buff Enjoyers on that great
Oh yeah, dude. Look at him, 15k souls. He is really ahead of everyone except Wraith this game.
And now it seems like picked every game Grey Talon.
Yeah, they left him in lane 4 while they were trying to run the Urn over towards lane 1, and he continued to farm away. What's really unfortunate was that he wasn't in like lane 3 to potentially push that Guardian down, because we don't have the first flex slot unlocked yet for Buff Enjoyers, which is obviously going to hurt them, especially when they're at 71k souls. So I'm expecting them to group up and look for a push, and with the powers you just pointed out from Listic being at 17k now, I mean, he's 3k ahead of Play With Me, who's the strongest guy on the enemy team. They might use that to their advantage.
I mean, hey, he's at a big advantage, that's for sure.
Yeah, the power spike.
I mean, just on the tower alone when he was popping off, it was kind of sick.
Power shot and everything else. It might actually be a huge problem. What to see?
Oh my God, Ivy! I think they found you.
Lanes 1 and 2 in Buff Enjoyers.
Wait, he's fucking running.
As the pursuit comes in from
Wait,
DMS, they want to
he got out.
These players. But Ivy Mirage there, but they're able to get out of the way, and Piggy with using flight to escape.
He popped Divine Barrier, dashed 5 times with all the infinite stamina, and just flew away.
Disengage DMS.
Classic Ivy.
We have a push once again on lane 4.
Looks like they're finally trying to make some presence here on lane 4. Like you
Boom.
said, we do see the guy out come
+5 boys, +5. He's at +15 spirit. Let's go.
Went down as they look to counter push now into lane 3. The Soul Exchange has gone in, trying to keep Prestus alive as long as he possibly can. But the Guardian's still there. They finally finish off, which means they get their flex slot. But will they get away with their lives? As Pig is being chased back, and Listic still in enemy territory with his 18k souls, looking for some more.
Dude,
kills here.
Listic just went back to pick up the money on the ground.
There's no need to overcommit this, especially since lane 1's being pushed at the same time.
These greedy fucking Talon players, man.
All right.
Just kidding. Here comes the Furnace. And first about to start doing Furnace things. Ethereal shifts the Wraith ult.
He's going to get burned slowly but surely. The dot is certainly doing a lot of damage. And you can see the heal coming in, keeping Zergy up. But it looks like it wasn't quite enough damage to finish off Play With Me. But no, there's the pursuit from Sharik, not allowing the escape to come to full fruition. In the meantime, we may have a chaser. Indeed, Psycho 13 able to escape. And again, oh my God, the damage from Listic. And also getting all those kills. I wonder how many kills with the ult has happened. It's been at least 2.
That's an early ethereal shift. Oh yeah. In comp, it's so useful though, because a lot of the time he's going to be the one who's getting all in.
I'm kind of worried.
And if he gets a bunch of damage off before he pops the E shift, like he can lifesteal back to full.
Zergy went with ethereal shift. So is he expecting Play With Me to try to gank him, or are they trying to use Zergy to kind of split push a little bit more? Because you obviously have the Viscous there with the Q to prevent the telekinesis, but going with ethereal shift as well is a great way to.
I didn't see that Listic has spiritual overflow until you guys mentioned that. It's crazy.
Later on in the game, I should say, when we get to more of these team fights. But the next turn has been
15 minutes spiritual overflow. It's game time.
Yet again, another neutral turn in, except you can see Buff Enjoyers are also really in position to defend this. Well, I say that, and I see Zergy, I see Listic, and of course I see Piggy over towards the right-hand side of the map.
So it's going to once again.
And Boundless. No, that was Surge of Power. It's Surge of Power and Spiritual Overflow.
Are in proximity to that deposit spot, so creates a strange dynamic. But at the same time, DMS do have some presence on lane 3 and 4, the farm, but unable to really put any pressure on those walkers just yet. So they don't, and they're not giving Buff Enjoyers much of a reason to move away.
I do feel like they need to buff the urn damage, because I do think these little rat battles back and forth of the urn, they really extend out these fights for so long. Like the timer feels like it's a little bit too long, or the damage isn't big enough. Because it's very common for these like urn postures to go back and forth. Each time like, no, don't turn in. It's like, okay, I walk away, you know, and they walk back and forth for like 3 minutes.
Which did draw across a couple Buff Enjoyers players, and now there's a window where they're starting DMS.
Like, look, they look at the damage that Abrams is taking.
I mean, they're set up for it. I don't know if I would want to put on Abrams. Definitely a person you need to have that seismic slam to help.
They just always tank it.
The actual turn in, but again, they're being very respectful here. They're backing away.
And because the urn posturing takes so long, it feels like there's always another urn. Yeah, that's true, because I mean, what? When's the next urn? Like 3 minutes or something?
4, and it's keeping 2 players back from Buff Enjoyers to prevent them from getting walkers for free. But it seems like both teams are just kind of content on just, all right, we'll just let the urn reset here. You can see that Saf has gone back to base as well.
And now they just drop it and leave it. They're like, yeah, screw it, who cares?
And I think they're just going to look for a potential fight here. I mean, as we can see, like the Urn is such an easy turn-in right now. Like this would be the go time for them, and it might be it.
They did drop it though because they were worried about the damage taken, and now they get to go turn it in.
Forward position can really allow them to know that they're safe to deposit this one, as we can also provide
Ivy flying out. Go up, go up.
In fact, able to isolate Demoff.
They're looking. He was the Kelvin was there to cover in case he had to dome him, but I think he just gets hit.
As well. So DMS behind that kill from Play With Me.
Didn't I just give him like 7k souls just for that turn in? Oh, we're unpausing.
Soul difference back then. That was like 20 plus K when that happened.
Also, slowing hex decay, the channers, etc.
Very aware of doing.
We'll watch the cast. They're on a slight delay, I think, compared to in game.
And it looks like Psycho is back in the game here, so we might be kicking things back off. And ZP, I'm sorry we have to kick you out of this one, but you'll be up next for NA. Don't worry.
Okay, so back into the action we go. That wasn't too bad of a pause. Nice smooth camming from the observers. That's lovely. Now,
all right, everybody walked away. We're good. I thought the Ivy was going to go down, but I guess we're okay.
The reset comes in, and hey, you gotta. I respect it. I respect it. And so, just taking stock of where things are, it does feel like DMS overall for me, from a macro point of view, is ahead as a team, but I'm kind of scared of Listic.
Yes. Now they're looking over the items here.
Crushing it.
Sharik on Viscous just finished up Warp Stone.
These opening engagements where he's set up well for his abilities.
Pristine Emblem also just finished for Warden. I think I'm decent resist now.
At 23K and
I mean, they're worried about Listic. I agree, but I'm worried about the Wraith ganking Listic, which is why I think he bought that ethereal shift.
Equal for sure. I think there's a slight lead, obviously, for Buffinger when it comes to the carries. I think it's all going to come down to like where this next bit of contention is going to be, and what do we have coming up soon. I mean, we do have buffs in a minute time.
Not another one. He's at 500 damage right now, but that's without spiritual overflow for another 50. So yeah, it is basically like 600 damage or something.
That you can see Tesla bullets and Shadow we picked up for Play With Me. So he's really kind of invested into like farm speed with Tesla, and then for the gank potential with Shadow Weave.
Okay, so it's interesting, especially with two pauses off, you know, one after the other.
Abrams, where are you looking?
Kind of get a very reset look at the map. Pretty even.
What is he shooting at?
At the moment, slight edge there to DMS. Now the question is, you know, where is the next point of engagement?
Dude, maybe Abrams bends the bullet.
Drivers of these team fights is the urns. That's something that moves teams and forces these bigger interactions. Most of these, well, all the tier 1
He's from the Wanted movie. Yeah, true.
Now we just have the walkers all up for both teams. So,
is that improved burst just picked up by Listic?
The jungle is completely absorbed by both sides. There's almost nothing left on the map.
He just got plus 9% health on his first arrow.
Either team is going to be kind of fiending for creating an engagement.
I buff time?
Oh. The walkers are the weakest they're
Wait, the right buff is untaken. I have a 2v2 on the right side of the map as well right now. I think Warden got it. Yeah, Warden got it.
To just one person pushing it down.
So I do believe Buff and Jory's got both buffs.
Urn's going to be locked in as well here. It looks like Play With Me is already teleported.
Oh, wait, they found somebody.
We can see a little bit of a chase coming in.
I don't know. There's not much you can do about it. He's just going to teleport. But he pops his ult in the teleporter so that we can chase him down. 900 souls.
He didn't even get out? I thought he did.
See ya.
I'm so confused. But hey, apparently he died. That's what the game says, at least.
Oh, nice ethereal shift for the Wraith ult.
So DMS in a little trouble, it seems, losing 2 players. And they're going to pick up the...
Now they're going to immediately push mid boss. 2 down, go mid.
Walker falls in lane 1.
Huge.
Yes, they're a little bit too late to defend that one. Mid boss is happening at the same time. Play With Me is going to try to get something back for DMS by taking out potentially the 4th lane Walker, but Michaelis is going to teleport to deny the Walker takedown from Play With Me.
Yep.
So
he's stopping the split push with Mirage TP right now. On the mini-map, the Mirage TP to Wraith to save their walker, so they can't get anything for it. And now he's running straight back to mid-boss, so he can stop the split push and still be there if there's a fight. Mirage is powerful.
Will be secured for Buff Enjoyers as they quickly push out of mid-boss to contest the turn-in on top of that. Buff Enjoyers letting nothing go here. Also, as a point out, Michaelis, another ethereal shift. That's 2 we've seen on Buff Enjoyer's side to really mitigate this telekinesis that Play With Me is honestly struggling to get a good ult off.
Oh my god, that damage! What? He just immediately pops out. He's like, this guy must die.
As well in the lane 2 and lane 3 and lane 4 drama, but over here.
Did he find him? I don't think he found him.
Pushing hard for this Walker. Our DMS, or rather, sorry, our Buff Enjoys and DMS trying to defend against this rejuve.
I think that was a healing Nova just went off.
They are actually forcing Buff Enjoyers to disengage, and at the same time, Buff Enjoyers respected the push on lane 4. They will deny it, but it had just.
That's gonna come back, I think.
Power behind it.
Calvin can't stop this. Yeah, even if he's not gonna dome, even if he pops dome, he dies because there's 4 people. So what's the point?
The second of the game locked down here. Another flex slot going to be opened up. The urn's still going to be in the hands of Saf though, as he's back towards his base. And now it looks like Buff Enjoyers might look to barrel down onto lane 3.
And that's such an interesting little macro choice there. The disengage, and DMS rotated instantly. They didn't even sort of entertain that it could be a doubling back, which is a thing, as we saw. And so now a really big advantage here.
I need to see the Talon stat line. Bro, I think the Talon is... this is the first game I've seen the Talon really pop off. It feels like it's hard to get Talon rolling because it's so like fragile.
Oh, it's going to be tough though. I mean, luckily for them, there is no Demoff here. There is no list.
Earn fight.
He does have his owl though, so he could apply some presence.
Right.
And yet, it looks like DMS are going to respect this still.
I mean, Wraith just TP'd out.
To go farm some jungle.
Building Abrams lead. They found somebody, maybe. They couldn't find a good opening. It is an Ivy, but trying to find Ivy is also tough when she has such high stamina. And stone form. She just goes under. She's dancing forever. How do you catch the Ivy? He has to get rescue beamed out because his Infernus is coming from spawn. Oh my god, dude.
From DMS. I would assume that Rejuve should be going down somewhat soon.
Ivy is such a rat in this game. How do you catch the Ivy?
Onto this number 3 Walker. So more Walkers to be potentially taken here. DMS going to be able to defend. If they can defend this successfully, they'll be able to get the urn off the back of it, and maybe Walkers too. So if they can win a fight here, that would be massive. The question is, will Buff Enjoyers overcommit to this engagement?
Demoff.
They try to fight, but they're forced to back away.
Demoff coming in with last stand. He's looking for a bunch of damage, and they're all grouped up as well. Demoff could absolutely shred them if he gets himself in the right position. The Storm God comes in, as you mentioned before, and DMS do get the 2 initial kills, taking down the carries with Listic and Zergy now out. Can DMS close out the rest of this fight? Even Sharik and Extreme.
I mean, can Viscous even get it? I mean, he died.
Down. There's nowhere to push for Mikhail S. And DMS against the Rejuvenator, which eventually did fall off, do defend, taking down 3 eliminations for themselves. But
I mean, that is a huge turn. That is a very good fight for DMS. Yeah, I was kind of wondering. It kind of felt like they're all over the place. The problem is, I don't think they can get this urn across the map before Buff Enjoyer spawns, so they can't really turn this in, and it's not the neutral spot, so.
The speed on the zip line to get to that urn deposit. So this urn is not... It's just going to be floating around again. It's not able to be deposited by either team just yet.
Has any been turned in this game?
Yes, there's been one.
I forgot if we had any pre.
There was one.
I think it was Saf, right? Yeah,
we saw one. Yeah.
Man, that's DMS. This has been the lowest urn
and now we have
I've seen
another urn turn-in.
For Deadlock Fight Night outside of my own matches, man. It's kind of crazy.
So of all of the urn fights, so far what happens is the team just jukes the urn over and over, and the other and eventually the next urn spawns, so they sort of give it up, and then the next urn spawns, and it's just a perpetual urn. It's very strange. Oh, okay, Mirage just found the kill. See ya.
But he's gonna be picked off.
Surprising actually got picked because he does have Ethereal Shift, but I think what happens in that circumstance is that the Wraith goes close range with both Slowing Hex, Ult, and Shadow Weave. Because I know he has Shadow Weave, but there used to be a bug that the Wraith could go up melee range right out of Shadow Weave and ult you. He has Curse now too. Oh, okay, that explains it. That explains it. So just instant Curse into ult, and yeah, you're dead.
As the urn is still being ferried, now this time by Demov across. Again, there's a lot of stake here, Jason, with the mid-boss up in 1 minute.
Yeah, the mid-boss makes this next fight actually kind of game-deciding almost. Maybe not game-deciding because someone can still throw, right? But it's going to be a huge advantage to whoever wins this next fight because they can immediately take the mid-boss.
We do see Michaelis respawning back in. DMS, they're going to be sending Play With Me and Saf on the right-hand side in lane 4 to look for a push onto their first walker of the game. And we also have to keep in mind that since we're at such a high soul,
there it is. Boom!
Souls, flex spots are extremely important. As that telekinesis is
he did not kill him in the curse.
Burst, and potentially Buff and George might go for the chase.
Mystic is somehow so tanky, and here comes the guided arrow. Is it going to find its way across?
How on earth did you try and stun him out? Damn. They got him. The burn got him. Nice. Huge.
Of course, even if he would have TP'd across, is good enough to finish the job. So,
dude, how did Grey Talon tank that Wraith? That's crazy to me.
On the Geist, but still unable to deposit it. Very annoying for both teams. I think this had the
that was the gank that I was specifically worried about. I literally, I said, I don't know if Grey Talon versus Shadow Weave Wraith, if he's going to be able to survive, and he just tanked it. Did miss a card and debuff reducer. Yeah, debuff reducer is pretty good.
0.4k for Play With Me. Prestus had around 2.5. Like, there's a lot of souls being built up that you cannot actually spend. Ooh, okay. So ZP points out that Play With Me has Curse, which stops Ethereal Shift from being used, which is probably why Michaelis died earlier on, which is such a great counter pickup for Play With Me to allow him to 1v1.
I mean, it's just... And now, look, DMS just noticed, careful, Grey Talon is debuff reducer. So they're pinging the debuff reducer. That's why he couldn't 100-0 the Grey Talon in his ults with Shadow Weave and Curse and whatnot.
The Curse, man.
Fucking debuff reducer is insane value. As a really, really smart pickup.
It's a good way to do it, but could backfire, it seems.
Oh.
Stealth is going to go back online for the moment. And
looking for buff.
So
Wraith is going to get the right buff for free. They're going to try and turn in Urn. Immediately gets hit by the Owl, so he can't turn in. Now Warden's here for the follow-up. Yeah, I don't know if this is going to work out. That seemed like he tried to rush it. Unstop. Oh, no. Warden is here. I mean, when his last stand runs out, though, he's probably going to die here, yeah? Oh, here comes Abrams. Oh, yeah. Wait, rescue beamed out. Rescue beamed out, but Yamato connected, and now he's going to chase down. He's a goner. Nice try. That was actually lasted forever. Nice. The Ethereal Shift does let him heal enough off lifesteal to get the 1v1. Wow, they are 3 for 3 trading, dude. Nobody gets the Urn turn in, and 3 people on both teams die. So I don't think neither team can... Are we going to have a 3v3 at the Urn? Wraith just TP'd in.
Trying to deal with Prestus at the moment, and they're both very low.
Why did last stand do no damage? He was in a Kelvin Dome, so it's big heals. Wraith TP's in, immediately ults him. Ethereal Shift. He's dead. Nice try.
For just a moment before eventually the inevitable.
DMS gonna turn in the Urn.
And the Urn goes to DMS. What a conversion. And that is...
Damn.
I've been waiting for this moment for 15 minutes.
So well done by DMS there, considering...
Dude, that was like 6k, and now they can...
Really well, comes into the fight
yeah, they can do mid-bosses maybe, but it's... They got 3 people coming up in 10 seconds. I don't know about that one. Yeah, they pulled off. Okay.
Pull off the steal, so just the presence of the gargoyle.
Ivy, you can see, was just scouting mid. She's just crouching up top, listening for audio. They also didn't have Abrams ult. Yeah, it's a good call not to do mid boss. A game that isn't a stomp pog. Dude, all the EU games for Fight Night have been insanely close to last week. Last week we had another amazing games. This week too. All right, now all the respawns for DMS are up, so they're going to force mid-boss right now. They also have Abrams ult soon. They have Yamato ult to secure. They have Dome, Yamato ult, Wraith ult. They have so many ults. Buff and Jurors, I don't think can contest this very easily. Yeah, Yamato ult gets in instant, and then they kill Piggy. They pop Dome. They get another kill. This seems like a really bad contest by Buff and Jurors. Their team comp is so powerful at securing mid-boss, dude. But I guess it's also, what do you do if you don't go for it? Can you stall the game out long enough? I don't know.
Surely you're getting everything, maybe even the game.
And they're going for the Urn at the same time. They get another flex spot unlocked where they were limited at 1 before.
Yeah. And the mini-map right now, you can see Abrams is running the Urn because they got 5 picks. And their Geist is hiding from Al. Oh, God.
He's at 37k. You remember when he was extremely far ahead of players like Play With Me, who's now rocking...
I can see the vision for Buff and Jurors here is like, hey, we're behind. Let's just try and steal. Like, what else are we going to do? But there should be one more fight here, I think.
think it's a great call up. Play With Me has done exceptional work.
They're going to lose Bowshrine's patron, but I think they'll get one fight at the down patron. There should be, I think, 4 up at least, so they might just leave. Yeah, they're leaving. Okay.
Though that there's a way that they could lose the game, and they could lose the game by overcommitting. They have created a 45k soul difference, and they've taken down all of the objectives. They don't need.
They're going to take their entire jungle on the way out. They're going to go probably vacuum up all of their jungle, buy all their items, come back, and just steamroll, because now they have a huge lead.
No need to throw it away.
I mean, we saw what happened last week with Deadlock dudes, and I believe that was DMS and
Deadlock dudes. I forgot the name.
And such. But look how much money they had to spend. 7.5k on Saf. They're cleaning up all their jungle. They're getting all these.
The Viscous only has 21k souls.
Buffs to clean up all the
oh yeah, that's true. But I think the Viscous is playing a support build with Ivy. I think they're playing 2 supports.
Every possible advantage to get them up 1-0 in the series. This is going to be so hard for Buff and George to come back from, especially with Play With Me lurking like this. The Shadow Weave, the Curse. He is looking to give his team that opportunity to look for that initial.
Yeah, the Viscous is playing Healing Nova Rescue Beam with Silence Glyph and whatnot. So it's like, it's still, yeah, I'd say half support or mostly support. And the Ivy's playing Refresher Ivy with also 3 support items with Healing Nova and Rescue Beam and Refresher.
Before we go to this point with a huge soul difference, of course, there are all of the many items now these players have been able to collect. And this could be the final push. Still a little bit of rejuve left to make full use of.
That's what they get for picking Warden. Yeah, Warden late game is tough.
Exactly is left in terms of time on the rejuve. Can't be too much more.
I'm very curious how much damage the Grey Talon has. The Grey Talon and the Infernus must be, even with the Mirage, like the Ivy too though. Ivy only has 25k, but her damage output's going to be absurd because that's just how Ivy works. Like, she's going to throw down, you know, 5 Kudzu bombs. There's going to be roots all over the place and farm a ton of damage.
As a team like Buff and George would be in this situation. I mean, to be fair, right, DMS hasn't really been on the top of EU all that much. They only just came to the top this last week, where Buff and George have been seen to be the top team in EU basically since, you know, Deadlock finally got announced.
What does the Infernus have this stage in the game?
So I think DMS just being really reserved here, being respectful, being careful.
Infernus will have Ricochet Toxic Inhibitor, which is insanely strong.
What's interesting now as well is we can benefit from the knowledge that they had about 20 seconds left of rejuve before they fell off to essentially farm the rest of the jungle and just clear everything out. And maybe there was.
I'll just show it on stream because I talked about it, but people aren't listening. The Viscous is mostly support guys. And so Rescue Beam, Healing Nova, and then he goes, you know, Improved Burst, Toxic Bolts. He just picked up Silence Glyph, Heal Bane. It's not. It's like half, I guess. And then Piggy also doing it with Rescue Beam, Healing Nova, with, you know, Decay, Rapid Recharge, Refresher. So Piggy has late game damage now. Infernus is the late game scaling with Ricochet Toxic Inhibitor, and then obviously also the same on Mirage with the Ricochet Inhibitor, Crippling Headshot. Listic also has Crippling Headshot with Boundless and Spiritual Overflow, so they do have a shit ton of damage.
Don't let Play With Me get a free kill. You have to prevent him from getting a free kill with his Cursed Shadow Weave, and that's gonna be very difficult to do considering you don't know where he's gonna be around the map. From there, then you have to look to somehow outplay them when it comes to team fighting, which is exactly what Piggy said they've been working on since their loss against Poggia's.
I mean, hey, they're fighting over this buff knockdown. See ya.
Weeks ago, the knockdown's gonna come in. Piggy's gonna be in a very bad position here. Use the Gargoyle the last time of D-Mob to help buy him some time here, but the fight is gonna be breaking off.
Refresher, new ult.
Play With Me,
immediately dies. Wow. Dude, they are just getting hard burned right now. The frontline engage of this team is so gross. The Yamato just walks in. Like, what do you do? Yamato with Refresher, Reverb. They just walk it. They just walk at you.
The respawns are like a minute each.
Like if we look at the front line here.
BMS.
Yeah, it's just tough.
BM in this game, I don't know.
No. Buff and George said GG's as well before. So
okay.
Yeah, it's just a GG. They know they lose.
Sure, there's nothing gonna stop them. It's Listic and Shuriken, and if
they're just on the base,
able to do it, it would be probably the greatest single-handed play I've ever seen in Deadlock. But that's gonna be.
Check the damage. Grey Talon, 42,000 damage.
Taking out Buff and George here in this first map of the series.
So I mean, hey, that damage is disgusting, but they don't have a strong enough front line. The enemy team has an Abrams late game with a Yamato Refresher running you down with a duration. So, you know, a solid 15, 16 seconds of invulnerability essentially running you down. Like, I don't, like, it's just tough. And I don't see
30-minute mark, all of those earn dynamics.
The Viscous support build's a little bit weird to me when you already have Piggies also playing support, and then also the Warden. It just feels like you don't have enough damage or tankiness to really handle that. The Geist is quietly doing great every game she's played. Not wrong, Geist went 6-1, 25k damage. Highest damage actually for DMS. Has Colossus, Leech, Frenzy. Like, good luck killing the Geist. Right? Like, there's just so much tanking. I mean, let's say you get through the 15 seconds Shadow transformation or double ults on Yamato. Then you got to get through the Abrams with Colossus, Frenzy, debuff reducer, improved armors, metal skin. Then you got to get through the Geist, who's got Colossus, improved armors, Frenzy, Leech. You know, it's just a lot of HP, and all of that with Kelvin healing.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, not wrong. The Kelvin sitting there with rescue beam and stuff in the back. The heals are definitely, they're strong. I would say at that stage in the game, not quite as important as the raw survivability of a team. It's just intense. And also, I would say...
Wait, I can't hear ZP.
Wait, hello?
Can you guys hear ZP?
Hello?
I can hear ZP.
I hear him.
Okay.
Yeah, I can't hear
Well, it's only Dan that can't. Dan can't hear anything.
Yeah, back to the game stats, though. I mean, the Grey Talon did have disgusting damage when 6-2. I can see why people pick the Grey Talon.
We'll trust Dan to get his tech in play.
But I think you need like a strong front line if that's going to be like your back line big dam. And the front line of, you know, Infernus going to be another, you know, whatever type of hard carry character. The Mirage, Ivy, Warden, in comparison to the Yamato, Kelvin, Abrams, is just so... It just doesn't feel like it has that type of front line. I don't know.
There was a window about 20 minutes in the game where it was way better for buff enjoyers on all angles.
It is true. I think early game they are definitely stronger, and then I felt like DMS Yamato late game is so strong with Refresher. I feel like a Warden's items. I mean, he's Kevlar with Duration, Slowing Hex, Enchanters, Divine Barrier, Pristine, Soul Shredder. So, you know, his ult does do pretty good damage, but it's just late in the game when everybody is that tanky, it's just not that much. Also, I do think it is kind of weird to have too many. So they have double Ricochet inhibitor, and then they also have 2 crippling headshots.
So
I think it's actually okay.
Engagements that buff enjoyers is going there.
But
I mean, I think
it's usually I don't see people doubling up that much. Although I can see the argument, especially it's just that late in the game, every fight is 6v6. It feels like. So when I think of this team comp again, by the way, chat, and how we saw it play out at in game, it's legitimately kind of like a death ball front line of just straight up Yamato, Abrams with Kelvin to support, spamming heals, and then Geist. And they're all so tanky, and they just run you down as a death ball. It was crazy. I'm super interested to see the draft next game. It's funny because, okay, all this is kind of funny because literally just earlier today, we were talking, waiting for the tournament to start in a training range. And so we had Sure4 and ZP were both in chat talking about Warden. And ZP was literally just talking about how, like, hey, I love Warden, but every time it goes past 20 minutes, I feel like I'm not a character anymore. He was literally raging about it in the game, in my chat. And Sure4 is like, yeah, you kind of need a team after in the late game as Warden, which isn't very nice. It's something like that. And it happened literally today in the tourney. But also, when we talk about these deathball comps, and I do want to say it's not just the Warden. I also want to talk about all of these characters in general. So you have like a death ball sort of is like they have a strong front line. Like it's a very strong frontline comp. And you have essentially, I feel like you were lacking damage if you have both the Ivy and the Viscous who are going for big support builds. And then with a Warden late game who is naturally, like I feel like Warden old late game, like his damage overall is actually pretty good. Like it's really not bad at all. He has more damage than the entire enemy team. Outside of Geist, I guess. But I think it's like a combination of all those things. Not because we talk about the Warden, we yap about the Warden a lot, but I want to talk about, and I'm yapping here specifically about having multiple support style builds and the Warden. When the enemy team has a super strong front line, it's like hard to punch through. Late game. Early game is not a big deal. What super late game though, as we got to, it feels really hard. That's all. That's a crazy first match. Goddamn, dude, Jason, that game was actually sick. I really, really enjoyed watching it. It just kind of felt like slowly the front line for DMS got too big for them to punch through. But it was fun seeing how much damage the Great Talon did, though. Post-patch meta prediction? Meta prediction post-patch? I don't know. A lot of the time, I'd say my only complaint about the game, I don't really have that many balance complaints. as much as I do, so like for example, Hayes early game probably needs a buff, at least a little bit of some kind, right? But for the most part, I think the game is okay. I would say the game just needs more options, but that's a totally normal thing considering how early in development this game is. I think the sweet spot for this game will be between 25 and 30 characters. And then after that, I would actually say I don't want to see that many more. After seeing how games end up after adding, you know, hundreds of characters, I'd say like 25, 30-ish feels pretty good. DMS with the Grey Talon this time, guys. Let's go. Grey Talon did pop off for Buff Enjoyers last game. Listic was nasty. Abrams. There it is, the front line, boys. Viscous Abrams. Let's get it. I would rather have a Moen Curl than Warden, but I'm biased. Warden actually, Warden does not do that. Warden actually did really well for the first 20 minutes. It was only at the very end it kind of fell off in terms of damage. And Warden actually had good damage throughout the game. I think it'll be easier this time because they don't have the support Viscous and the support Ivy and the Warden. Now, instead of that, now you have the Pocket and the Geist, which are giant damage dealers. So on top of the Infernus again. So I think it'll be much different this time. All right, everybody swapping lanes. Where are the solo lanes? Solo Pocket versus solo Abrams. Solo 7 versus solo Infernus.
Enjoyed many a title. We'll have to see how this is going to shape up here.
What time is considered late game? I'd say like 20, 25 minutes. I'd say 20 is like borderline. I think 25.
Because that's going to be one of the initial questions I have. Because as EP said, right, you're not going to expect too many difference in terms of play style or itemization when you see someone play the same hero multiple times. So it's going to be Shriek this time. So maybe Shriek will go the Majestic Leap route. I'm not sure if he'll go the utility route. We're obviously going to find out. We'll keep our attention on that as the game progresses. So that's kind of like the up or downside of having such a small amount of heroes in the game that you can obviously rotate who plays what.
I'm super interested to see how the Hayes does for the first 15 minutes of the game, chat. Hayes is notorious for being terrible for the first like 15 minutes.
Walking that balance between farming and being useful to your team in the key moments is very, very hard.
I like Warden's spot right now on this lane for pressuring. That little head peek is so nice. Until Grey Talon hits level 2. It just flies at you, but you know.
I'm looking forward to putting that spotlight on Play With Me once again in this game to see if that impact is there once more.
I mean, Hayes does have one of the
not in voice WTF. Maybe he just restarted everything.
3 wins, 5 losses, so not 37.5% win rate, which is definitely down there. Unfortunately, Warden actually, funny enough, has a worse at 23% win rate for us here at Deadlock Fight Night. But also, we'll see how this is going to play. I mean, I'm not really going to say the win rate is exclusive to how the result's going to go, especially with the caliber of players we have. But Wolfie able to recheck back in and get
100 HP.
And this is not an easy lane for him to win.
I mean, dude, Wolfie's laning has been insane at 7. He beat an Abram solo lane earlier, and he just got a kill on an Infernus pretty early too. Oh, but Listic just walks over and ganks him. He knew he was shopping, just hits him with a quick nade and finishes him off.
Very well done.
By the way, one interesting thing that we see when someone's low on HP like that in North America, it's become very meta to just, you know, deny yourself on a tower after waiting out the assist timer. I think he would have had time to actually wait out deny timer and deny himself on the tower in that case. It's to get a full reset.
Just can knock you 3-4 times in the air, and you're just like, all right, just kill me now.
I think you'll see that happen a lot more when people are just, you know, 1 HP after a trade.
Play With Me looking for early rotate though to lane 1. Just looking to have some impact here. Maybe a sleep dart could lead into something.
How long is the timer? I don't think it's that long.
Team up will back away again, kind of realizing that potential could come through.
I want to say it's less. I want to say it's less than 10 seconds, but I'm not sure.
It does feel like the Pocket Infernus combo could be pretty scary later on in some of these team fights. So much damage over time. I mean, if the thing with Pocket is if you can connect an Affliction, let's say there's a big gunfight coming up, you can connect that kind of just right.
What is denying yourself on a tower mean? Let's say if nobody kills you, nobody does damage to you, and you die to a tower, who gets the gold?
That's the kind of dynamic that
no one.
would have really changed the previous.
So if you're 1 HP, just go die to the tower after waiting out the timer. So that way it doesn't give the kill to the player.
So I feel like there's more options in this game for if we get into a similar scenario for how those teams can manage it.
Let me ask you a question about Pocket, because for me, I've always hit or miss with him.
What happens if you go back to base and heal? It takes longer.
If the fight's over before your Affliction can really do any damage, Pocket becomes kind of low tier in my eyes. But as you're saying, like if you can get an early Affliction off, and then your team can kind of push the fight off the back of that, or the fight gets dragged out, you really see that usefulness be amped up, especially if you do invest into the old early where you can deny any sort of.
Are we double soaking Haze, by the way? Is that what's going on here for Haze to be a 3.1? I haven't been watching minimap. I assume that's what's happening.
McGinnis heals to do anything.
Yeah, and I think the thing about Pocket is that he has the tools to get in and get out. So if, you know, that's one reason why the Majestic Leap is so nice, because you get an item that gives you a tool to kind of get in, so you can kind of throw your cloak away and do your barrage.
If I remember right, Haze does have pretty good move speed to do it.
And then you just cloak out. So that, or, you know, if you get into trouble, you obviously have the satchel too. So there's so many ways to like potentially turn a high risk scenario to get the affliction off into something that has the risk mitigated like sufficiently that it's worth going for. And that's why Pocket, I think, is really interesting. But speaking of which,
guys, moving towards 7 right now on the minimap.
Here, and Play With Me on the Haze also has drawn his attention to this lane, actually.
Yeah, you could see the Haze walked over, soaked that wave, and is running back. So yeah, the Haze is double soaking. The guy walks up, double soaking for buff enjoyers, I assume.
Double dipping in lanes.
But seriously, look at how well they're doing it and executing with the Haze. Look how far ahead the Haze soul count is right now. 4.3 to 3.0 of some of the players. That's crazy. Just straight up 30% more.
Lane out there as well. So he's getting so ahead in souls that he could have such an earlier impact that normally a Haze wouldn't have until later on in the game.
Okay, this is cool tech. This is really cool tech. That's what a great highlight there.
And Dan, he's the only one that's done it so far that I've seen as well when it comes to Deadlock.
Yeah, this is actually really sick. Because you're right,
it's okay.
The difference is tangible, and it's also like pretty safe, and also allows Haze to be sort of active in both lanes. So if a kill is to happen, Haze might be able to actually benefit from that. Obviously, unless the kill goes against the Haze, but
well, it's like if you're that solo laner, you never feel safe because the Haze is just bouncing between your lane. Well, it's Haze, it's a Wraith, whatever. It might
and
be,
the Haze has sleep dagger, so if she sleeps you die. So it is spooky.
Without that threat of potentially dying yourself.
It just takes that one sleep dagger to connect to you, and like let's say then the Abrams can walk up close to you, you know, melee you, and then charge you. You know, you're suddenly in just a devastating position. So you do really have to respect the Haze's gank potential there. You're totally right.
Well, once you hit the 8-minute mark, of course, that will stop. Just trying to get an early lead here, which he's still going to be holding over everyone else. He's got to continue to farm up that jungle in the meantime as well. But a pretty slow game. Like no kills just yet. We're 1 kill each, but we're 6 minutes in. Both teams being very cautious about this. I'm kind of wondering where's the first little bit of action going to be coming as everyone's going to start to pick up their initial like tier 2 items. We can see
this is actually a very passive early game for Deadlock, that's for sure. Usually you see a lot of kills at this point.
Mobility a lot earlier on.
Indeed, nice to stay safe. That flame dash and
Seagull, will you play Marvel Rivals when it comes out? I'll probably play for like a day. Sure, I'm not opposed.
So last week as well, we saw Lady Geist. I can't remember who.
Bullet Lifesteal on Geist.
But they leveled their 2 first, so they would get the silencing effect off of the 5 points, right? I wonder if we're going to see Listic do that to have utility in these fights to shut down, like Play With Me or shut down
Sleep,
Staff in particular. So
charge, punch.
Sleep dart into the charge we were talking about, and Demob forces the satchel and the cloak to get away.
Yeah, you can't really stop the pocket unless you have to precast slowing hex in that case.
That chunks Demob down to half, and it's Pocket. So it's like one of the.
If the Haze had slowing hex there after the dagger, probably could do it.
Going to the satchel and then TP out, but Mikhail maybe in some trouble. He gets bounced up by the puddle punch, just so irritating. A high-level viscous player is just nothing to be. I mean, you got to be very cautious. Mikhail able to put the pressure back on with the help of Kelvin, played by Hapex, but yeah, this is looking pretty good right now for DMS off of the rip. Obviously the souls are pretty close, but I think for me, Jason, it's
dude, what a punch! Here comes a.
Okay, you know, hold that thought because
immediately Haze is here.
I was about to mention the success of Play With Me. Maybe even getting a
nice try on the dude. Mirage NT buddy. Win a nice little loop-de-loop. Hit the tornado, try to get out, but nope, dome too strong.
To get kills and still farming everything.
This isn't good, Dan. I put all my channel points on buff enjoyers here, and they're starting to get wrecked in this game. I'm getting a little bit nervous. But
Warden just popped ult to kill the tower. Let's go.
You got to be careful here, Shuri, because you don't want to get too much lower, or the guy.
He's got spear shield. He's vibing.
And this allows now Play With Me to like kind of have free farm over a lane and also have some impact or even further.
Oh my god, dude! Another 2 kill. Wait, Abrams might go down though. Nice.
Oh my god.
Sure, he got the trade.
Great start so far for DMS. Again, we're really going to keep a close watch on Play With Me. The star carry of the team for sure. And had a great first game, so looking for that MVP screen. We get more pressure now coming in from Buff Enjoyers onto lane 3.
Oh,
gotta really respect this.
here comes Abrams, boys. We got the swap. We got the swap. Is he gonna trade? Nah, they have so many. It doesn't even matter if he does the swap. Kelvin's there with the heal grenade. Nice timing on Kelvin. He was waiting for it.
I mean, it's only a 3K solely, but it doesn't really reflect how this game's gone so far for DMS, as they're just looking to put the pressure.
I mean, okay, a lot of these early kills don't matter that much in terms of soul count, but they will start mattering once you start snowballing a lot of these early towers.
The synergy they have
so
between a lot of these ultimates.
Then you get your first flex slot, then you get more power, you know, then it starts rolling a little more.
How quick the farm can be for Haze, that gets a good start. It's definitely, you know, quite different when you get those items online quickly, because you got to think about it from the.
Oh, nice sleep. He's gonna walk away.
Me getting in some trouble, but nice connection.
The Warden tried to dodge it right there.
Might have been okay or anyway, but that just keeps it safe. Able to get the healing right online, and yeah, I was just gonna mention, you know, Haze is gonna be able to make better use of the jungle cams if you're able to get obviously your power spike a little bit earlier. So
buff time.
That said,
wait, did he pop cube on the buff to get it as it spawned?
The map, as it's gonna be spawning, the frozen shadow is gonna be.
And the Kelvin dropped the dome.
And DMS.
Oh my god, dude!
Great position surrounding.
Listic is just getting run down.
I don't know that there's any way to escape this one. 3 players in hot pursuit, sliding down the stairs, and
nice.
Listic will finally go down. I honestly don't know how Listic got that far. Honestly.
Yo, shout out to the Viscous right there, by the way. The Viscous is running melee charge, melee lifesteal, Spirit lifesteal. I like the melee charge. I'm a fan.
So another kill going the way of DMS without any sort of reprieve.
Nice sleep.
Buff Enjoyers, even the sleep dart being landed as well. I think what's so deadly about this comp is because Play With Me, why didn't you get the kill onto him as well? How does that happen? Now D-Mod, the Affliction has gone in, again, the satchel and the cloak to get away. But with Play With Me having 10k souls, he can almost be left to start split pushing here, where on Buff Enjoyer's side.
What exactly did he pop Affliction on? Unlucky. I think he thought he was getting hard chase close and he was gonna try and blow him up, but they were mid range.
One lane to group in for team fights.
Well, the urn is up, which is going to be interesting now. There's a 10k lead this early for DMS, and they're going to be taking
that's
down the
insane. See what?
Back onto the urn if they'd like to do that.
This is insane early game. This is actually really scary now.
DMS also have Psycho 13 on the Abrams.
But hey, just don't pick up the urn.
Too as well. So.
Oh, sorry. They do pick up the urn.
So
I was saying don't pick up the urn if you're Buff Enjoyers, or if you're DMS in that case. But they're going to do it anyway. Oh, Abrams is here. He's back and he's like, hey, buddy, how's it going? Ivy was there, but I don't know if they can turn it. No, they just got stat checked. Honestly, I think they could have turned that if they weren't so far down in gold.
We can see it's still in the hands of Sap, who's going to be sitting towards lane 2, and this lead, it might continue to grow. This is... Buff Enjoyers need to figure out something, and they need to figure it out.
Are Buff Enjoyers bad? No, they are not.
Well,
there are 3 really good teams in EU, and they trade off. It's Buff Enjoyers, DMS, and PS. I've seen all 3 win the weekly tournament, and they are all 3 very, very, very good.
Which is something we were speculating about previously.
Yeah, I don't think can really kind of even afford to invest into that with the way this game's gone. I mean, 10k lead 12 minutes in is really such a massive lead.
I mean, here's the problem, right? Like, they're just going to hold the urn and try and protect it, so that way Buff Enjoyers can't use it to use the comeback mechanic.
But because the lead we have,
and the urn doesn't do enough damage to prevent them from just holding it the whole time if they want.
I think that they're picking up this urn and kind of holding it on their side of the map, than more so looking to actually turn in.
Yeah, and that is annoying. It's definitely quite annoying. I mean, DMS with full control really this situation, and there is
a nice chase, nice affliction. I don't know if he can. It's just
getting that in early, and
he just walks away. He's just Abrams, bro. He doesn't care.
Affliction is gone, and the urn still needs to be collected. I wonder if there's any world in which it's even worth trying to do this. It needs 4,000 souls.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. Like I said before, I think it's just to deny Buff Enjoyers from getting it. As we heard ZP mention, like the urn we saw at the 15-minute mark was a big turning point.
Yeah, they're just keeping the urn to make sure they don't get comeback gold from it, and they can extend their lead. You're gonna see a Viscous is dropping it off and spawn. They're stacking this side of the map so that way, you know, if you want to take the urn back, you got to fight us, and they're just gonna keep holding it.
So much more on Buff Enjoyer's side. So I think it's a smart play, honestly, out of DMS. I think it's a really good indicator of their understanding of like what they need to do right now to keep this lead and prevent Buff Enjoyers from getting back into the game.
Look at the urn, how fast it is.
Indeed. Now Buff Enjoyers,
it's running.
Only have one tier 1 tower down at this point. So there is definitely some souls to be recovered with regards to that. So the difference in the lead doesn't, it looks perhaps a little bit more stark than maybe it really is. And we've talked about this in a previous matchup where we're saying sort of,
oh,
well, hold that.
I sleep.
Another dagger
Oh,
coming in.
they woke him up slightly early.
Here comes the last stand attempt. It is.
Dude, they gave a lot of respect for that Wardenal life steal, by the way. That was a lot of respect. To pop Hazel, when you have 3 people there anyway, you're like, no, we are not letting this guy maybe turn this.
Did you almost call me ZP?
I almost did, and I'm sorry for that.
American to you. I get it. Very good point, and I feel like we're hitting that point in Soul as well, as we're approaching like 80k, 70k for buff enjoyers, that like you kind of really want that flex slot. And buff enjoyers still don't have it open, which again gives even extra power to DMS's side here. So I'm kind of curious, will DMS look to defend these Guardians to prevent them from going to buff enjoyers to get that flex slot? Because as we can see, like with the way the teams are positioned on the map, like DMS kind of have a lot of control here, and buff enjoyers are given a lot of ground out of respect to DMS because they don't want to have another fight happen.
I mean, you can see what's clearly happening in this case is DMS is stacking the left side of the map to prevent them from getting comeback gold, and they're extending their lead by just farming and just having a good time. And like, if they come back for the urn, they're gonna fight you.
All of the fights, it's not really a conventional sort of what you would expect.
They're just stalling it out, because the only way buff enjoyers gets a huge comeback here is if, like, you know,
Player is actually present in a lot of those engagements.
Picky, they just ganked Abrams though. They did get a pick.
Daggers, setting up those ganks, getting the extra DPS in.
He picks it up again. He's trying to run it back to base, right?
If I'm not mistaken as well, he has slow. He picked up a slowing hex. So
oh wait, they're actually gonna push it. They're grouping on this Walker. Affliction. It's 3. Nice affliction to hit 3. I don't think it's enough though. You might go down here.
They're really not taking too much damage because the affliction doesn't do too much just yet, and that's gonna be the first Walker of the game going down for DMS's buff enjoyers. In the meantime, are pushing lane 4 for their own Walker.
Yeah, they just dropped the Walker, and now they're just going straight from mid boss. They're gonna force mid boss.
And DMS like,
wow.
Mid boss is here. It's
okay, they do have Kelvin Dome and Sevenol and Hazel for mid boss. Buff enjoyers only has Wardenal and Guy Swap. There's Dome, there's Great Talon. They drop Dome, they kill him, they get the free. Yeah, Dome is so good for mid-boss contests. Holy shit.
Chasing down buff enjoyers who were trying to stop that, were trying to steal it potentially, but now they are having to retreat, and this is where kills can happen.
And now it's just chaos.
DMS's benefit as they keep themselves pushing forwards into these walkers, and again with the rejuvenation as well, they're going to be able to take some serious objective milestones here.
They have so much damage.
The Warden engage though is kind of nasty. Great Talon is actually 1 HP walking right now. Look at that. He's legitimately 1.
Be careful as well, because the lane 4 is still pushing into their own base. And it looks like maybe Zergy was trying to set up for
man. That Warden engage almost turned that. That was really close.
They have a lot of souls to spend here, and they can come back even stronger. We're at the 6.
2 people on DMS for 1 HP from the Warden engage.
Yet to have 1 earned turn in. But D-Mob, like, if you pick it up and just go run it,
a guy salted Talon, he had a bail.
Like, that's a lot of souls to get back into this game.
Even still.
Yeah, and you know, it's so key that they were able to defend that number 3 Walker, because of course that keeps the Suns safe to be run in this fashion. And on the other hand, DMS, they're going to push every single lane, which is really smart, especially at this time in the game where the Walkers are not as resilient as they
-2
over time. You might be able to get every
metal skin versus oh shit.
It's like he's trying to do the damage there. Oh,
goodbye.
Dash not able to get out of dodge in time.
I guess he thought he was alone. Walked up to try and engage him 1v1. Immediately got blown up by 2 people around the corner.
Taken down as well. DMS cleaning up.
They got to be careful. They cannot afford to be caught here. And we can see Seven and Viscous looking to back away. Looks like they will create some distance, and Buffender's not able to capitalize off the back of this. So phenomenal job by DMS, attacking from many different fronts at the same time. They still have 1 Walker to take down before they get their next flex slot. But look at this, like, look at D-Mob. 0 flex slots, 17, almost 18.
I don't even know what you do with 0 flex slots. 18 minutes in the game. Somebody's got to take the hit, boys.
And he might get ganked here. He's for sure getting ganked.
He's dead. He's just popping affliction, but it doesn't matter. You're just dead.
Shelter just locking in, no escape. Good night, Pocket. Ooh, this looks very convincing, Jason.
Like,
this is tough.
Got so fed early on. Sergey went for an early metal skin, delaying his damage even further.
Yeah.
And the thing is, you can't afford to be doing that for buff enjoyers when you're already this far behind.
Whoa, well, they've got a couple picks on the Abrams. The comeback gold will be nice, especially on a furnace, but
that is brutal, Jason. I can't believe you just told me that.
I mean,
oh no,
it's a good counter to play with me, yes.
Well, last game, remember, last game the Infernus did go early Ethereal Shift as well. So I don't think it's abnormal. I think he probably just swapped out the Ethereal Shift for Metal Skin in this game because they have a haze.
Kind of what we saw last game, right? The Ethereal Shifts, we saw 3 of them.
Kelvin pick seems so nuts. Yeah, Kelvin is support, but has so much value in securing ganks and objectives with the Dome, especially in these choke points.
Yeah, and you can see a big difference on kills, but most
it's just a lot.
16 to 5 on the kills, 109 to 101 on the action points. So everything resets after the rejuve has worn off.
Mirage again doesn't feel that useful.
And what the next objective might be.
I don't know. I haven't seen super big value from Mirage this game, but also it's possible that he's secretly doing a lot of damage, and I just haven't been watching him that much.
Yeah, 3.5 minutes away. The bridge buffs are coming up though. That's something that teams are beginning to fight more on over. North America, at least in particular, I've noticed that for sure. So another item note coming in from ZP. Man on the street, ZP, has informed us.
Dude, 0 flex slots.
Lucky shot has been collected on Haze, so looking to focus on damage first.
Lucky shot's a big power spike for Haze.
Protecting your
same time, we have buffs in 10 seconds. It's a perfect timing too.
I think with the way he plays it as well, he doesn't necessarily need Unstoppable.
We also do have Leap on the Warden. I haven't seen too much from him yet. We have Crippling Headshot on the Mirage for big damage now.
A little bit of adaptation in terms of how he builds it versus
Viscous Kevlar Warpstone.
To that point with Surge of Power.
Casting buff on Viscous.
I mean,
all right, see you later.
Superior stamina, that's kind of expected as well. Rescue Beam out of Hapex.
Wolfie soul count's nuts. Yeah, he's at 26k souls, but that's 7, man. 7 is a natural farmer.
Just looking so confident. However, the snipe, the pickup out of Cherie, getting the urn might be exactly what they need to get some souls on their side. But can he get away?
Dude, he's just trying to run. Look at him. Look at the mini map. Everyone's just trying to converge on him. Ivy tried to slow him down and popped ult to try and get him out. This comeback gold from this urn will be huge if they actually manage to turn in.
Stop it though. In comes a guided out. What's it going to find?
Clipped a box.
A bunch of boxes, it seems, as DMS and Buff and Joyous begin to converge.
He's going to get the turn in before they get there. That's a huge amount of souls. Chat, they just got 7,000 souls from that turn in.
Jason. Negligible.
Huge.
That was so smart out of Buff and Joyous to just know when the urn was going to respawn and be there in time.
Dude, Sharik, managing to sneak that urn is so huge. The problem is they can't really spend it. Like, you don't have a flex slot, so what are you going to do? Upgrade something, I guess?
5k souls between the two teams now. It's just about Buff and Joyous getting some items online and getting to the point where they can afford to fight against DMS and have more so the confidence to be able to fight against them.
I mean, soul-wise, the game is very even. The game can very easily go either way, especially since the mid-boss is in a minute and a half. Like, if Buff and Joyous wins the big fight before mid-boss, the game is completely flipped.
This game, it's crazy how one-sided it has felt, but you look at and take stock right now.
It feels one-sided because it is in kill count, 16 to 5 kills, but the soul count is relatively equal now. Viscous, where are you going? Oh, it's he's like, I'm out of here.
Should be able to escape here with the Google, indeed. Can't really do too much against that. And able to get some information.
Oh.
Finds 3 heroes on lane 1.
Did Geist just run it down to secure a tower to get themselves a flex slot? They got a flex slot. They got a flex slot, boys. He ran it down. They got a flex slot. Worth. It's time to buy. Okay, 3 of them died. I thought it was 1, not all 3. No, it's bad. It's not worth because mid boss is in 3rd. Okay, man, they're fine. They're fine. They'll lose a last. They'll lose a flex slot though. They're gonna take the walker.
Yeah, it's looking pretty good to get that pressure on. Buff and Joyous are looking.
They gotta lose their walker and their tier 3 camps.
Just still hold on to all the major base structures. They'll be all right. So just a fall back here from DMS. They don't have the rejuve, but it kind of looks like they do. If you look at all of the lanes, they are very gold.
I mean, mid boss in 5 seconds, and they all know it. They're already grouping mid. Here we go. They're gonna force mid boss. They have Kelvin Dome. They have Owl. They have Viscous Ult, and they have Hazel. The Haze just, I believe, finished Ricochet because she had 6k before she came to this fight. Affliction comes in. Hits only 1.
The
Dome comes down to catch the pocket, I think. They're finishing off mid-boss? Okay.
Now the Rejuvenator's going to fall. Nobody's dead just yet for either side.
They don't have dome. No dome, no Abrams. This could be 50-50. Hazel, 7-0. Everyone's dying. Chaos. No one knows what's happening. Buff Enjoyer stole it. Buff Enjoyer stole it, boys.
Or rather, 5 of the 6 players for Buff Enjoyers. And Listic is not long for this world, but they stole.
Okay, they stole it, but they all died. Was it worth it? Probably not. It probably was, actually. I'll take that back. It's going to stall out the game.
And you lose the series up against DMS. They lose every single person.
They were within 10k, now they're 20k down, but they got mid boss,
which I think is definitely going to be a big win for them in the long run. But again, a lot of souls still going the way.
They did a good job baiting out the Kelvin dome before the fight too. It's just,
and I'm curious what items will be coming in as well.
It's just so difficult to push into that team. They have like 7 and great talent on high ground. Hayes ulting the rejuve, so even if you steal it, whoever's in the pit dies.
I mean, not to mention Wolfie.
It's like I said, look, she has ricochet. It's ricochet, lucky shot, swift striker, active reload, all the classics, all the fire rate. Oh god, dude.
Yeah, play with me. Just incredible performance. You know, previously a PUBG professional player, Chad has told us, which I did not know.
PUBG
you know
Pro, damn. PUBG gamers.
Just say yes, just to look smart. But
nice.
But no, I didn't.
I was ready to accept it. I accepted your answer already.
I can't lie. I think that mid boss though was like super risky. I mean,
the 2 still have rejuve.
Shelter
yeah, it's fine.
The boss, I feel like that should have been okay,
the rejuve buff isn't that big of a deal. It's about the lanes being auto pushed to help them stall out the game.
Push it past the 60%, so I believe it's not going to yell again when we do see a team go for it. So
and buffs in 10 seconds. Here we go.
We can see Buff Enjoyers are looking to set up here.
Buff Enjoyers, their stacked is 6 on this buff, hoping one person shows up. But it's a Hayes who's scouting while invis, so they know they're stacked on this side. They're not going to take the fight.
I mean, they are down quite a bit of souls. Will it be the 10% though? I can't do
Hayes, dude, they're still stacking this side just for the urn. I thought Buff Enjoyers are going to contest this urn with 6 and just leave, but they... It looks like 3 of Buff Enjoyers went back, and now they can't secure the urn. There was a timing there where if they didn't back up, they could have 6-stacked the urn and then gotten out, I think. And now DMS takes the urn, so there's no catch-up.
As a method back into the game, and that's a sad state of affairs for Buff Enjoyers.
Oh, no.
Yeah, indeed, it's a defensive, or rather, an urn that's leans towards Buff Enjoyers. So, not sure if DMS actually want to try to capture that one.
Nah, they're not. They're just going to take it to base. They're going to hostage the urn. Why is Talon popping ult? No one's low on health. He's popping it so that he popped it because he thought that Buff Enjoyers was going to go for the urn, and he wanted to interrupt the pickup so that way they could contest the urn pickup. But Buff Enjoyers gave it up.
We're going to be looking for a Walker here in lane.
Walker?
We do see the Affliction coming out as well.
He popped Affliction. I don't think it hit anything.
That's going to be, well, play with me getting 1.
I mean, this seems like a kind of a crazy fight.
With the last, or the dance, the blade dance. And that's going to be DMS picking up 3 kills.
3 down.
In total.
All right, well,
the Affliction hit nothing, and then Hayes ulted, and Dome came down, and everyone died.
2 players will be down at least. Michaelis with a fast respawn. Okay, interesting though. Listic is actually, he's in the enemy shop at the moment. Uh-oh. Where is Listic? Is he gonna get discovered here? He's got us surrounded. I'm a little bit worried for Listic right now.
And mid, I mean, you can see him on the minimap. Look at Listic on the minimap right now.
I think he's just trying to be as quiet as possible.
He's just crouching a corner. Oh my god, the whole enemy team walked by him and they didn't see him. Holy shit.
Should be able to jump in there.
I mean, if it was a different hero, I'd be like, okay, this is not bad because you're behind the team. But luckily, he does escape. 3
Are they turning in the urn right now?
Zergy for the respawn.
I assume Kelvin's about to turn in urn. Yep, Kelvin just turned it in. They're getting even further ahead now.
Yeah, not up just yet. A little spec bug there. And I mean, this is where DMS is going to slightly struggle because they have no objective to really play after. I think they did go for the urn turn, if I'm not mistaken.
Well, they can just group and push.
But they have nothing to really like force a fight for Buff Enjoyers other than them just hard.
They just got to push out
it's gonna be tough, I think,
lane 1, and then probably group and just start running them down. I guess they gotta force a fight somewhere.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of, what could be a team fight scenario that would be like an opening that would give Buff Enjoyers a way to get that early edge in the team fight.
And also that last team fight, we didn't talk about it, but remember they all just kind of took a team fight as Buff Enjoyers on that Walker. That did secure Buff Enjoyers' second flex slot. So I understand why they took that fight. They wanted to make sure they could actually scale into late game, at least a little bit.
And typically, there are definitely methods to do that. And if you've got burst spirit damage, if you have like a disable, let's say, for example, what we've seen with DMS, they'll open up a fight. I think we've seen that a couple times with Frozen Shelter. shelter, and then Play With Me pops the Hazel inside there. And okay, that's a good combo that's going to instantly burst down, one or two players. So Buff Enjoyers, they need to find a team fight that gives them that early edge, but it's very hard to engineer that, as you say, Jason, when there's no objectives on the map.
I mean, it's got to be mid-boss in 40 seconds, but what's so worrying, though, for Buff Enjoyers, if you lose a team fight and it's pretty clean, you're going to lose the series. So they have to be
this is like this mid-boss is it.
Like how cleanly they can win the fight. I don't think
they're all just, look at the mini-map. They're all set up looking for picks right now, crouching in corners.
A lot of things to go
just
through.
Ivy's sitting on the building rooftop, scouting,
finish it off in time.
and they're all just playing so safe because everyone knows the mid-boss respawns in the next 30 seconds.
And Buff Enjoyers,
the problem is,
some ground, trying to get an avenue to play from.
It respawns in 30 seconds. They still have Haze,
like, still
Seven, Abrams, Kelvin ult. And you need like the god tier affliction. You need to hit like a 6-man affliction, I feel like, when you're this far behind. And I pick.
Be cautious. I like that. And the game take longer.
Is this a scouting?
Be too risky and lose.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you there. I think he was just scouting, trying to get some information because again, there's no wards in the game, and there's no creep or troopers in middle, so you have to use some sort of way to get that vision. And his ult will be back up in time before they do go for the mid boss anyways. And DMS have already given up the ground around it. I
assume they're still going to be posturing mid. Are they going to fight for buffs or not?
They do look to push out some lanes here before they do go for the mid boss.
It's a really good point about getting that info, because at this point, you're looking for those, like, how is the other team positioning, how they set up, how many players are where. That information is vital at this stage of the game. It's a really good call out. And okay, we've got
Rat Gaming.
What are we calling it? The human ward spot? Yeah. The Buff Enjoyers.
Like, hey, stop shooting me.
Coming through. He backs away in time. Like, this is such a tense moment. And buffs are going to be back up. Both teams immediately going to be going for those.
They're trying to secure buffs.
DMS going to secure left. And it's right back to middle here. You can see the lane 4 wave is pushing, though, up against Buff Enjoyers. And they're going to have to back away.
They do. They're going to force mid-boss off that lane, I think. I think they can force mid-boss because they know one person has to go back to catch the wave. Immediately, Hayes starts it.
And we're seeing Play With Me just try to solo the mid-boss and get it down to 60%. Try to force a mistake out of Buff Enjoyers.
Okay, they didn't hard force it. They said there's gonna.
Yeah, you need one player.
Wait, I didn't catch this. There is an urn.
Wait, no way.
No way. He just runs it down right now, right? He actually could have done it.
Towards this.
Wait, is he trying to bait the urn so his team does mid boss?
If they don't contest it, he gets a free turn in.
Yeah.
Wait, he's doing it.
Interesting, because that turn in, it's probably. I would give it up if I was the other team, because that level of souls you're getting from that.
I mean, you can't give a mid boss. He just gets a free urn.
Trying to turn this one in, but they're not.
Because they can't leave mid boss. Oh god, that's a good play.
They have to take the team fight whilst Abrams is not there. Neither of which already happened, and now Abrams will rejoin the fight.
You know, Abrams is back. They could have taken the fight 6v5, but I guess they didn't have a good opening. Grey Talon peeking the Infernus, who has metal skin. The Grey Talon just died. He just ran it down. He's feeding. It's game time, boys. It's game time. Abrams is unstoppable with ult here. They pop dome though. Finds the guys.
As well as so much chaos, and
this is pure chaos. Rejuve is sitting on the ground right now. Who gets it? Parried. Buff Enjoyers got it. Buff Enjoyers got it with the parry.
Unbelievable steal.
Oh,
and 3 of them are still alive here, Jason.
Don't tell me they're going to escape at this as well.
No way.
Rejuvenator as possible. Listic and Piggy going to have theirs still online, as it looks like they're going to be finished off. Listic, the last one remaining, is being chased down by Play With
guys,
Me here.
DMS, what's going on here, guys? I mean, what's going on here? They're all dead again.
The frozen shield out of Hotpix.
Okay, they're just going to run down their shrines, right? Yeah. Okay, still though.
8 seconds left on Michaelis.
I still think they lose, but it's definitely the best stall you can imagine.
You back out, and I feel like you're going to have to play for another mid boss here. I don't think you can commit to this. You do not want to get caught right now, only having 4 players left alive.
Yeah, after Patron, they're going to leave. They're going to get Patron and run.
That's really nice. It's just going to be the weakened Patron left. That's definitely good.
Hayes finishes it up. Gets booped out by Viscous. They're gone.
And this is problematic here for Buff Enjoyers.
They might catch somebody here with Ivy. It is a knockup.
There's quite a few players.
Oh, dude, close.
Here for DMS, so there's not really a fight to be taken as these players disengage.
They're just out.
You might find a quick kill in pursuit, but that's not going to be happening here. Saf is fairly low there, but it doesn't seem like he's in any danger at this point. So farming it is here for Listic.
So Dan, I'm gonna put our observers team through the ringer here, okay? Can you go to every player on Buff Enjoyers one by one? Because they have 2 flex slots. Now I want to see how many souls they have a piece. 4K for Listic that he's sitting on that he would like to turn into an item. I want to see the other players and how many souls they're sitting on and not having the slot suspended. Okay, so 1K refresher picked up for Piggy. So he's gonna have double ultimates. With the
double ult is so nice with Ivy late game. Huge silence.
He's still kind of limited in what he wants to build or what he can pick up. 3.5K for Sharik. Like, it's tough, man, because you have to make these decisions of like, what items can I afford to get rid of and what items do I
Is North America playing today? Yeah, they're doing an NA tourney right after this.
In the game. They are down by
we do EU and NA back to back,
and they have to make the
and by we I mean them. I just watch it.
Way of the game if they want to be able to get back into it and take it to a map 3. Thank you, observers, by the way.
Ghosted. Yeah, Wolfie's farm and Play With Me's farm. That's where that's where all the difference is essentially between the 2 of them. Otherwise, the averages are basically the same for both teams. It is just Play With Me and Wolfie. So that's actually, I think, good news for Buff Enjoyers. If that soul difference was spread across all of DMS, you know, there's a world where I think that's a lot more challenging to deal with than, you know, Play With Me and Wolfie. Obviously, you'd have to actually either isolate those players or take somehow a fight without them.
Oh God! Oh God! Warden! Warden!
Play With Me trying to find a kill.
They just immediately teleport onto the haze, but I think the haze just might kill everyone.
Well to try to punish.
Oh, Warden ult comes in, but she's out.
As well.
Or is she? Majestic Leap follows up. Haze ults.
As they are falling back, it is Buff Enjoyers trying to take the engagement.
They dome the haze to save her.
Frozen shelter to
wow,
save
the dome, the haze was 1 HP. Immediate dome, full HP.
They only had 3 players there to defend against that push.
Clutch dome by Kelvin.
5 players against them. The frozen shelter just forces a reset, and more importantly,
buffs in 10 seconds.
DMS to rotate to help out. Like that ult out of Hapex might have just saved this game for them. And I might be over exaggerating, but it definitely felt like it, because they would have lost 3 players for sure, and that could have been Buff Enjoyers turning it into flex slots. The moment they lose Haze there, who's their big late game carry, they run the urn and they take that walker back to back, and immediately they're even on souls, and the flex slots are still in their favor. But the 3 flex slots is really nice.
All the walkers are down, and it's a quick dash across the map. Now this is interesting because you don't necessarily have to commit to the urn,
here we go.
but you are forcing your opponent to react to your movement, because after 20 seconds they can see the urn on the map, and so with that you're able to manipulate their movement and then sort of play against that.
Can they still see the urn on the map? I'm trying to remember.
Well, the question is, do you want to be in close quarter combat against DMS right now?
I don't think you were revealed anymore, right? It's only after 20? Okay.
The chase on lane 1.
I know they tweaked that like 2 or 3 times now. Veil Walker pocket.
So it's not like you can
sneaky, dude.
Force an objective right now. And I think we're seeing like DMS just kind of be at a standstill. They're just kind of hoping for like 1 pick. They're hoping for 1 mistake, 1 overstep.
You know what's crazy? That 1200 item decay probably about to do 5,000 damage at Abrams. Let's go.
I think he's looking for a 1v1 potentially, but he's not going to be given that opportunity, as it looks like Saf's going to rotate in from lane 1 with the teleporter to rejoin his team in lane 4.
Permine.
Indeed, and the mid boss comes up again. Will it be stolen?
Guys, it's just another mid boss, guys. It's just another mid boss. What can go wrong, guys?
Are they gonna what are they gonna do here? I don't think they're gonna feel comfortable taking the mid boss fight, or like trying to weaken it, as we saw DMS.
Hayes is just invis and scouting out mid boss right now, seeing where they're going.
As he has been the one.
All right, guys, DMS, this is it. This is your time to shine, guys. Just take mid.
Right now. Neither team really wants to make a mistake, obviously, and
this is awesome.
Whilst DMS have a much better position to be the ones doing the bait for mid boss, it looks like they're feeling a little bit shy about that. And let's not forget, the urn is still in play as well, and they definitely need that to not go to Buff Enjoyers.
Yeah, and I think DMS, like Psycho, you have to be very.
Why is the urn so important?
Careful about how
because the urn has a big catch-up mechanic in it.
He goes for the
where essentially, like, if Buff Enjoyers gets it, they're going to get a ton of money. So DMS tries to play keep away, where they take the urn and keep it away from Buff Enjoyers. And it's like back and back.
One of the carries from his team. He went for the
I love catch-up. I also love catch-up.
Vulnerable to being attacked, and the entirety of DMS swarmed all over the rest of his team, and then they lost the map because of that. You don't want to see that happen again. DMS being very aware of this as they're looking to get some ground.
It's ridiculous to keep it hostage the whole time. Yeah, I think it'll probably get tweaked in the patch, to be honest. It wouldn't surprise me. It does feel like it needs to do a little more damage to prevent this type of cheese.
As the urn has been dropped, and it will return.
I mean, there's a lot of shenanigans going around the mid-boss area right now, but no one's taking a fight. It's so difficult.
40 minutes almost in this game.
If you guys see where Buff and Joyers is playing around that veil on the bridge, it's so hard to take a fight around there.
It's still competitive here, despite the soul difference.
Nice ult by the Ivy, but
Ivy bomb coming through there.
Are Buff and Joyers just starting mid?
Again,
Were they?
To really commit to the fight,
DMS did back up.
Favorable.
Is it possible for Infernus to backdoor the Walker? Yeah, you can backdoor.
This was reversed, right? In the
Oh, they're gonna force it to mid. They're gonna force it half and then back up, I think.
Right now, like this would be the ideal situation for Buff and George.
All right, here comes Abrams engages. We got Abrams is all in. Holy shit, gets rescue beamed out.
We start a rescue beam going to be used to rescue Psycho out of this one. Both teams just going to back away. Mid boss not going to be finished off just yet, and maybe an overextension.
Abrams still has
how we see
an opener here, I think.
Yeah, DMS are still looking for an opportunity to look for a fight. And Piggy, I think that refresh now is going to be on cooldown here as he did fly it yet again.
Dude, both teams are so scared right now.
Trying to use the mid boss to bait, then withdrawing from the fight.
The mid boss is half though, which means now they could just finish it.
Bait the other team into a fight.
Affliction comes in, hits 3, I think, 2 or 3.
We are going to get a commitment
maybe only 1. It depends. There's 2 or borderline. Here comes Dome. They pop Dome. Pocket just goes down instantly. No. Here comes Unstoppable ult. Abrams. Abrams got it. Abrams got it that time. DMS finally secures their first mid boss.
As they can now charge their way forward, quite literally, as we try to get those finishing shots and run this into the base.
The guys pop Colossus. This is GG.
Finish the game off finally here, Jason. It looks like it might be over.
D-Mob tried to go in. He got caught out while he's trying to go for his Affliction, Frozen Shelter to lock in.
Man, I gotta say, by the way, why did it take them this long to Abrams ult and just secure that rejuve? When you have rejuve and Kelvin and they lost the first 2, that's tough.
And he will fall, and
that's GG.
do it then. DMS
honestly
defended their title against the previous champions of Buff Enjoyers and hold on for a second week victory.
Such an impressive performance from them. Again, they proved themselves last week, and we had some questions going into this week. And map 1, it felt like, hey, they had a combo
I'm in game.
advantage,
Let's check the stats here.
Great versatility from DMS. We saw great carry.
Great talent damage. Haze damage. Big damage.
Honestly, the haze that they brought.
The haze is hype, dude.
Kind of lane switching
DMS has won 2 weeks in a row now in Deadlock Fight Night in EU using Haze. But Haze is considered to be like a meme character in North America. We got some region-specific gaming coming up here. Now Pocket, now Ivy was playing Rescue Beam, Heal Nova with Healing Booster. Dude, the Refresher Ivy goes hard late game. The support Ivy almost outdamaged the Mirage, Infernus, Warden, and Pocket on their team.
When he went in, so he couldn't escape, and then that just was the down.
That Haze double soaking early game was big. Yeah, the double soak early game was big. Also, if we go look at the heals by Kelvin, 40,000 healing by Kelvin, essentially healing the same as 2 enemy players combined from Buff Enjoyers.
Absolutely, and we're going to bring CP back in for the post-game analysis for the wrap-up.
Ran Healing Nova, Restorative Lock at Rescue Beam with just full tank and curse.
It's going great, and I feel like
Abrams also Majestic Leap, double armors, full tank. 7 with Unstoppable, double armor, escalating. God, 7 late game, dude. We didn't talk that much about 7, but 7 late game with this many items is kind of disgusting. Is this 60,000 souls?
Play with me, redefine some of the
Bro.
rules that we usually see with Haze in these higher level tournaments. Haze for
Sharpshooter, Lucky Shot, Pristine, Spiritual Overflow. Yeah, the Great Talent did do a lot of damage, but a lot of it
tends to take a while to come online.
Great Talent does do a lot of damage, but I always feel like his damage is inflated. 60k souls in 39 minutes, by the way.
Forced the entire game, and it quickly led to just
Man, Mikhail with 0 and 7 Mirage, but they're early picking Mirage, and I think last game he also went 0 and 5. I don't see much value in the Mirage pick. I do agree that Crippling Headshot Ricochet is really good debuff though, but I just didn't see it work this series. Dude, Ricochet, Inhibitor, Infernus.
Immediately out of Zergy on the Infernus, right?
Also, the Pocket was 0 and 6 this game. The Pocket felt like it was really hard to get value too.
I guess him and the rest of the team a little bit behind.
We saw the pocket get picked, I think, 3 different times because the Kelvin just ran at him and dropped dome.
Play with me at 55k souls.
It's just insane. I mean, I gotta say though, the overall macro play from Buff Enjoyers is pretty good. Considering they held on for that long, when if you just look at the total kill count, like
exciting times. So cool.
it is 8 kills to 40, right? Is this not 8 kills, 42 fours? Like, wait a second, guys.
But just like the innovation, just understanding
the 10, 13, 20, 30, 34, 40 versus 2, 4, 6, 8. Yeah, 40 kills to 8 in 40 minutes.
I think what's also important that we can't forget about
that, dude. And they held on for 40 minutes despite being down that much. So honestly, respect to that.
Really has to have his back.
But damn, that's rough.
How he approaches the game on the characters he's playing and be able to help facilitate that. Like, you can't play the way he was playing in a random game or in ranked and have it work.
Oh yeah, we saw at the end. Honestly, I have a lot of respect for that Kelvin player too. That Kelvin player felt so high impact.
Play with me looks so good.
The entire game
well, I think the other thing in this
with dome, like the domes that were coming out and the non-stop saving.
Very long team fights, right? In terms of jockeying for position.
Like even at the end of that game, guys. Remember when Buff Enjoyers baited mid boss and the Abrams just immediately dives in? And Kelvin's like, hey, where are you going? Get back here. Immediately rescue beams them out and resets the fight. And they don't commit.
Meant that a really well-farmed Haze
with talent, the DMS is insanely strong as a team. I really like that Kelvin, whoever they really I don't know all the players.
In those longer fights.
There, have a good look.
They had the hope to just find like very specific windows
DMS
where they
happens.
land in affliction.
This guy owns. Wherever you are, you own.
Clean up. The conditions for victory for Buff Enjoyers,
and obviously play with me playing Haze is also hype as hell. Inhibitor, Toxic, Ricochet, Lucky Shot, Unstoppable, Metal Skin. Dude, what a late game Haze, bro. What a fucking late game Haze.
Right level of burst coming in from your Infernus and your Geist. But the way it really panned
out, and we had the Viscous with Echo Shard, Knockdown, the Kevlar Rescue Beam, and Soul Rebirth.
In this game,
and he also has melee charge. I am a huge fan of melee charge. There's gonna be more melee charge in this game.
And as anyone knows, if you're up against
Echo Shard Viscous sounds hype. I like Echo Shard Viscous.
So, I mean, DMS played this patient game that made it so hard.
I mean, how do you even win late game though? You only have 2 flex slots. It's tough.
Moment to turn it around. I mean, they got the steals on the region.
Can you show Haze's damage? Oh yeah.
If you run that back multiple times in those situations, the rejuve stuff was maybe like a 20% chance every time, and it just happened to pan out for Buff Enjoyers to keep them in the game longer than it probably should have been for how all the early game transpired.
Exactly.
Dude, look at the damage from Kudzu Bomb out of the Ivy. Decay did 14% of his damage. How funny is that, dude?
Delivers some of the best games. DMS now
Splatter and Goo Ball improved burst. 16% from improved burst.
Do you expect DMS to
wild
to the title based on what you've seen here today?
Haze had the highest objective damage. Yeah, it's probably the end of the game. The Haze at the end of the game is just clicking all those buildings back to back. I didn't know improved burst was this good. Honestly, DMS did an incredible job playing keep away with the urn from Buff Enjoyers. It was really good.
Know what is coming up, because we're going to be switching into the North American portion of the broadcast.
It's NA time.
Definitely features different metas, different approaches and styles.
We watched the EU games, and now we move to the better region, the higher skill region in every esport, guys. North America, known for our legendary prowess in every game from Counter-Strike to League of Legends.
There's been a problem in North America.
Here we go.
This mythical creature where when you cut one head off, another grows back.
It's a recap from last week, guys.
Have gone undefeated 4 weeks in a row here at the Deadlock Fight Night.
Jason, quick, link your channel.
Be able to take them down, right? With all the changes in the latest patch, we finally see a team not wanting to deal with the man in the sky as TF2 boomers ban away Great Talon. It took the Unknown Omens a while to get going as they
This is a recap of last week, chat, and then in the NA tourney if you missed out.
They catch back up by taking the other 2 in the next 30 seconds. The Unknown Omens play mind games using the urn to draw TF2 boomers to contest, all the while pushing 3 walkers at once. Once TF2 boomers back away to defend, TUO gets the easy turn-in.
I think they're in the range where the urn is actually ticking damage.
TF2 boomers look to keep the lead as they use some spicy rescue beam action to get the urn across the map before TUO.
Oh yeah, dude, the rescue beam flings are sick.
And it doesn't look like there's going to be anyone here to do anything about this.
Well, they're not expecting him to be this far. They did the rescue beam slingshot, so the timing for Unknown Omens, I think they thought they had more time than they did.
Being in the driver's seat, TF2 Boomers look to take a massive lead by killing the shrines. It seems they may have overstayed their welcome, though, as a giant goo ball runs them down, turning the match around.
HP getting awfully low. Pressure in from all sides. Looks to charge on out.
I mean...
Elion off the goo ball, out of spot, and running them on over. Sets of vengeance.
Oh, no, dude. This was a tough one to watch from TF2 Boomers. Basically, they got a bunch of picks, and if I remember right, they overstayed for shrines, and they could have taken mid-boss.
To allow them to split push as
it was just a big throw. It was like a giga throw.
Yeah, Unknown Omens, they don't want to turn in just yet.
While TUO,
if I remember right, that's the game.
Of the urn, peer content drops it in favor of team fighting. Boink, on the other hand, commits his frozen shelter
to secure the urn. He drops the shelter to take the urn.
In fact, Kelvin might do so in the cover of the frozen shelter, guaranteeing the urn pickup for TF2 Boomers. But he's isolated from his teammates, and his teammates are getting wiped.
Yeah, I was gonna say, at what cost? The rest of your team is just getting jumped on. You're safe, you're trying to get the urn, but the rest of your team is dying, TF2 Boomers.
Even with Panda Cat being charged and
it was a tough game.
Hold on and win the fight 5-1 and push the base to a finish, advancing to play against Hydra Nation.
Panda Cat very, very low. Tankman taking out, both teams down one. Tornado in on the outskirts. God, he's salty right now. Ducking and diving, charge back up. 7 right at his flank. I knew able to take down Deathy. Unknown Omens.
No one sub to the YouTube channel. I'm going to delay the NA matches. Oh god, quick. Chat, if you guys ever need a recap of these games, by the way, it's called @LockedIn_Deadlock.
After a failed gank on Lefa.
They are posting and posting, literally just, they're posting these recaps on this channel, so if you ever don't know what's happening, go to _Deadlock. It's a channel just started by Mitch and Jason.
Same time the fight breaks out on lane. In comes the frozen shelter, the affliction. I think the affliction was blocked by the.
I am leaking it in the chat.
Right now, the Unknown Omens are going to lose 2 players from this engagement, and that is not a
good
outcome.
After losing the urn in the previous fight, TUO are able to catch out 2 players from Hydra Nation.
No more shelter to save. Hydration trying to be just a meat shield in the most literal sense. Instead, Quick goes down. Pressure now back on the Hydration. I don't think Burrow is back up here yet, Dan, and Hydration.
With the early investment in Phantom Strike, Hydration is able to catch out Sizlucky in the air, confirming 2 kills and the second walker of the game.
Top right off, Hydration, combo in progress. Sizlucky low, falls. Hydra Nation. Finding a few picks here. Hook comes in from Pure Content. Pure Content, though, under the gun. Down at the same time. And now, Dan, here comes the walker pressure from Hydra Nation.
Oh, no. Internet check?
Hydration catches out Sizlucky once again.
My internet check?
Will stall out long enough, though, for his team to collapse on TUO and turn it into a...
Chat, a flashback right there? I thought it was my Intel CPU. I'm not going to lie.
Looking for Hydration. Into the double vault room. Up and over the chase.
But then I realized I'm not on that CPU anymore. I'm safe.
Struggling to get away, but if anyone can't get away, it's the mole.
Okay, but seriously, when my 13900K was melting, it did shit like that. Like everything would start to just slowly lag for like 3 seconds. I'd be like, oh no, what's happening? And 2 seconds later, blue screen. Like you could just see the corruption happening live. It was insane.
Here comes the telekinesis. They're looking for more, Dan. 3 dead in Hydra Nation now with a
the CPU on right now. I'm on my old 9900K on my other PC. Because I have a stream PC.
Buff, Lefa becomes a raid boss as he's able to lead his team to 2 kills and a map 1 win.
Yeah, Lefa just farmed. He got 28K souls at 20 minutes and killed everyone.
Yeah, Dan, this is a raid boss. This is no longer a player. This is a force of nature. A 3200 HP in Furnace, 29K. Who's going to tell
Inhibitor Ricochet, 20 minutes. See you later.
And just rolls up to the patron. Unknown Omens down 2.
9800 X3D soon. Hey, tomorrow it opens up. Apparently, we'll see if I get lucky enough. I'm just going to refresh and buy at 6 a.m. and hope I get lucky.
Between DMB and Lefa, Flash for Flick goes to.
That's my plan.
People. And now Patron taking damage from all ends. Dan, this looks like the end. Unknown Omens, just no firepower to stop this assault.
Wanting to not have a repeat for map 1, TUO banned away in Furnace from Lefa. But this leaves Paradox open for Flick to secure. Similar to the last game, Hydra Nation are able to get 2 early kills onto Flick and Rocker.
And before it's all sold out, yeah, it's gonna be. I'm not gonna get anything. It's all gonna be sold out too fast. But I'm gonna try.
Both down, Hydra Nation. Basically.
As if the first match wasn't punishing enough, Sizlucky continues to feel the pain as he gets ganked over and over.
It's true, this guy actually got bullied. He actually got bullied, bro.
Hydra Nation forced.
Dude, an Ivy picks up like an Abrams, throws him at him, and just explodes.
Lane 4 to contest the push.
This allows them to push down the lane 2 Walker and get in their second flex spot.
For this one with the cards, but okay.
Intel Ultra, if you miss it, oh, definitely not. The Intel Ultra is probably, I would say, like half as good. The reason is because in the Source engine in particular, it loves the X3D line of CPUs. And so not only do you have to deal with like the benchmarks or the average comparison between one CPU series to another series, but also because I'm mostly playing Deadlock, that's what I'm min-maxing for and optimizing for. And so I'd be better off with the 7800 X3D.
The frozen shelter and the seismic slam, but it's not going to be enough.
Not wanting to let the game go late against a hazing Grey Talon, Hydra Nation managed to catch out Dapper and Venenu, which results in the longest winning streak in Deadlock Fight Night to continue for the 4th week in a row.
It's true. Hydra Nation has won 4 weeks in a row, which is why we now cheer for them to fucking lose. Let's go. Yo, I got a minute and a half. Time to grab water. Be right back.
Swap. Dead. Once more, Flick setting the stage on the Paradox, and you see the Patron exploding before your eyes. Hydra Nation going for the finish here and now. Unknown Omens stuck in their spawn. Last gasp here from Elion, moves on out, immediately burned down. The telekinesis in, so is the GG well played. The Patron burned on down here. Full mode krill action at the end. Lefa though drops a storm cloud, and it is over. Hydra Nation, your 4-time champions of Deadlock Fight Night North America.
Infernus and NA, really early picks. In EU, they like 7 more.
Which could very possibly happen.
McGinnis, what the fuck is that pick?
Potentially. But then on
that is weird. That makes no sense. Also, Viscous Kelvin is an insane comp too. Bebop. Let's go. Let's go, boys. Let's go. This draft phase is agonizingly long. It's because it's agonizingly long this time because they aren't using the website. They're doing it manually, so it's kind of scuffed. Okay, that's why it's kind of scuffed. NA is crazy. What do you mean, guys? You don't want Warden, Bebop, Shiv with an early pick McGinnis on your team? I don't believe in this draft. I'm sorry, I don't. Where the fuck is Wraith?
He's fallen off at the moment. So
thank God they picked Wraith. Okay, thank you. I'm all in on Patron Pulverizers draft-wise. But honestly, my heart is with the Bebop McGinnis. Sorry, guys. Bebop McGinnis, 100% about to steamroll Patron Pulverizers. Memes have power.
Yes, there are ways that Pass can win going into this game. I mean, Pocket could be an absolute menace in early roaming, and Warden and Bebop, if you put them in a lane together, also very scary. In general, very early, the mid-center team with an Infernus just because for Pass.
No Ivy. Yeah, that's true. That's also true. No Ivy. Wraith, the last picks.
If it goes late,
let's go. We saw Kelvin have insane impact the entire EU finals, every game. Kelvin goes crazy. The domes are crazy. The beam to catch people. The ice path rescue beam combo, so you're in the sky when you rescue beam somebody. The constant healing with a max dome, max grenade.
Really interesting. I really like.
And also, can we stop for a second? No Grey Talon. I also forgot. I just keep assuming Grey Talon was banned. In EU, they first pick or ban Grey Talon. In NA, they don't even ban or pick him at all. What's going on here? Here we go, boys. It's game time.
Now that we're getting into the action, I'm curious on what the Bebop build might be, because we've seen 2 takes on it.
Producer, observers.
The names updated at the top for you, but we've seen it be the case that Bebop
replay producer,
build, which is what Walex
Salmon is like that
when he was using his Bebop,
the head producer behind the scenes. But we have a many people. I thought it was only one at first. I was spreading misinformation. I suck.
I've watched players on both sides of that.
Show me the Bebop.
God, putting Warden in the solo lane versus Abrams. You can survive, but you have to play perfectly. That is going to be Yagu's lane to lose.
I thought Warden versus Abrams solo lane.
You know, I feel like this is something for Mercedes.
Warden solo is a little weird.
Calling for rotations early, like this is a lane.
But Bebop McGinnis is also disgusting, so kind of surprised. Not surprised, rather they put them both in.
Come on over here sooner rather than later. I need the help.
Yeah. Okay. That's a really good story to keep our eyes on. And we got the Mirage in the solo lane against the Infernus instead of having the Wraith there.
I mean, Infernus is a bully.
What are your feelings on that? Any strong feelings towards the choice between the Wraith or the Mirage?
here, I think I'd rather have the Mirage in the solo lane, and Mirage versus Infernus, I mean, that's a pick 'em. It truthfully can go either way. Both can be bullying in their own right.
On their team, Mirage Abrams solo lane is totally normal. I like both those picks.
That is a pretty honest lane matchup. The Warden Abrams matchup, basically, there's a million ways that Mercedes can lose it, and by comparison, Yagu just has to play solid, and opportunities may just appear.
Yeah, and one thing that's interesting for me is that obviously Wraith, we think about Wraith as this hyper carry. Okay, you want your Wraith, like any hero in that description, to have a good early game. And I feel like this is a dangerous lane. You know, you've got the hook, you've got the wall, so there's a lot of potential to get picks.
Yeah, Bebop McGinnis is actually cancer. Nice I say that he might die.
I don't know if he wanted to pull a play. He's so low, but hey, it worked out. Got some good chunky damage in there as well. So we'll have to see. You know, how that dynamic's going to play out there, ZP. But for me, it feels dangerous to be a Wraith.
Yeah, I mean, look,
getting wrecked. Nah, that was just one tournament organizer. I won't watch their stuff, but
player in a duo, 2 or 3.
These guys are chill.
Cards are scary regardless if it's duo or solo. Still has like really good last hitting ability. And also, speaking of rotations,
he's sneaking.
This is just cruel. It's already a tough a matchup for the Warden, and you got Lash just creeping up on top, going, "Yep, I'm a slam on in." Lands a slam. Lands
big slam.
Damage coming
it chunks him for like 3/4 of his HP.
Not necessarily there to help on the follow through, but just losing that amount of HP, Dan, now means that Abrams can freeze out the lane and just prioritize his better gun.
And dude, Cube is OP.
As a friend, the big brothers arrived.
Viscous versus Bebop McGinnis is strong. They need to have a full wall set up on a hook in order to do anything.
And well, so there's not too much to be done. So looks like Algae's going to actually fall off. I feel like I built that up, and it's amounted to really nothing. So that's great.
Uh-oh. The fuck?
Just feast. It was Lash who started it.
Did my browser just crash?
The damage onto the Warden, and again, it just puts it in a mission impossible where you either
die
back. Or get repeatedly denied, or get repeatedly denied and die. Like there wasn't a lot.
I think my browser crashed. Sorry.
For Warden in that situation, I'm gonna be honest.
Absolutely, yeah. It's got a brutal lane to be sure. Okay, wall goes out. And it does definitely seem like McGinnis and Bebop definitely having a nice time of this lane. You can just tell by the
download more RAM.
And also, I suppose,
also
the health of their opponents. Not having a good time over there.
Sound like Warden died? Yeah, I think one person died at the exact moment as my browser crashed. I'm sorry. I think it probably was Warden because he did get ganked earlier.
Pulverize is somewhat across the board here. Except that Bebop McGinnis lane, like
got dive?
And here's a dive.
Miss a dash, doesn't matter.
Nice opening there.
Shiv's pretty weak though. Wait, Shiv, you just walked in the tower?
As well, but
okay,
Salty's able to
it's fine, it's fine. Holy shit.
Oh, rather, sorry, Walex, that is.
Again out there, and Infernus under pressure.
Goodbye, Infernus.
Pop on the Mirage, just landed a few extra hits.
Nice all in by the Mirage there.
But you look at overall at the lane, slight edge right now.
The fuck?
For
I heard pause. Oh, they're talking in game.
Also, we're hearing the in-game voice.
Yeah, they're hearing the in-game voice. I was like, huh?
I was talking through it, and it was just, you know, they're using in-game voice.
It's uncensored. Anything can happen at this show. That's why you should be watching and subscribing.
Anything can happen here.
So the dive coming through, but it looks like a disengage.
Wait, they're talking in game because their Discord crashed.
The bouncers are not working out.
So now they're just calming in game, but the casters are hearing it.
Well, Goober playing Viscous.
This is awesome.
Name, I should say,
they literally said, "Should we pause?" And then someone said, "Nah, let's just talk in game." I think.
On lane 3. And for now, you still have to be really careful going against McGinnis in this situation. It's still easy to go a little bit far up, get walled off, and things just end poorly.
It's kind of cool though. Like, you know, normally you'd ask for like to cut into the team comms, but here at Deadlock Fight Night, we just have them on, and the players probably don't even realize his EP. So that's how you make sure that it's like really raw.
You know who doesn't realize it? Warden. You got Lash on top. Well,
oh, true. Warden is about to get ganked. Look at the minimap. Oh shit. He's fine. He's fine.
Saying, hey,
they walked by because Pocket was rotating and Shiv. They called off the gank.
So it is gonna scare off the gank attempt from the back as Alju just continually bouncing between lane 1 and 2.
Yeah, and after all is said and done, we've obviously painted a picture whereby Patron Pulverizers are definitely taking some edges, getting some good ganks already. The Abrams Warden matchup seems to be a desperate one, and all of these different factors we talked about. Yet the salt differential is actually even, and there's no objectives that have been taken just yet. So good work here for Pass to be able to hold on to.
Shiv, what are you aiming at?
In good contention, despite some of these early scenarios that haven't been super favorable for them.
Looks like their Discord came up. They stopped talking.
Lane one, where it's continuing now, as you see both Warden and Pocket getting into it. Abrams down and dirty. Last stand.
Oh, it actually hit him. He killed both.
And it's Mercedes with 2 in lane 1.
Warden kills both with his ult. Holy shit.
And for Mercedes, he was down almost 1K, now pretty much evened up with Yagu.
Yeah, I absolutely love that. I think that's one of those engagements that has kind of had to happen to continue to keep this game close. We don't want the Warden, if you're Pass, to fall off early. That's like the worst thing that could happen. And we've got Wraith coming across to lane 4 to assist in the Mirage versus Infernus battle. So Patron Pulverizer remaining active here. However, that's drawn some attention.
I hear Bebop.
The Bebop and the
I hear Bebop.
Pass.
He sees a Mirage. Here he comes. Up and counter gank. Yoink. A Wraith found you.
The sticky bomb is connected. They're getting punched.
Wow.
Wraith is going to go
He
down.
just dies instantly. See ya.
There, as Bebop also gets taken out. So Pass and Patron Pulverizers coming away from this one somewhat even.
It's looking like a super clean
Salman tried to run
zone.
an and crash the stream. I got it back fast.
What the still in progress here. Poshipop not able to evade the pocket for too long. But now we go back to lane 1. The hunt for Warden continues. Lash back on the rooftops.
Oh, didn't connect. They're fine.
Kind of like evil Batman here that Warden has had to deal with.
Evil Batman coming from the rooftops. He's bullying Warden on cooldown. This guy's getting chain ganked, but Bebop's here to counter gank.
Love it. All right, well, looking to defend the Guardian here. Oh, hello.
Wait, Abrams starts it though?
Straight to the face, and the charge comes through. And
somehow he's just dead.
But Seismic Slam should surely finish this one off. Warden is just sent to space.
And now they can, I mean, they can just take the jungle. Bebop's going to clear wave on tower.
Even though they have the technology.
No. The return technology.
Wait, Shiv is doing a jungle camp. They're going to gank Shiv. Oh, so close.
Get in under hot pursuit here.
He got trolled by the railing. I think the railing slowed down his punch.
Just too many people there. The parry sends a message.
But in the meantime, Patron Pulverizers takes the first tower. Nice.
3 players on both lane 2 and 3 for Patron Pulverizers as they try to pressure these objectives.
The buff's up in 1 minute.
The 9 to 10 minute mark is interesting because the teams are starting to take more of the Guardians and they're starting to set up for the urns and the bridge buffs. And hello, finding word, they have to run away, but look at that gun go. This is top tier. It's a top tier gun, isn't it?
I mean, hey, early game Warden, man, he goes hard.
Well, look, it works out well. He landed slowing Hex to start that out. Lash couldn't grapple the safety at all, and he's still walking on in there is Mercedes. But now you see the rotation coming on in. Viscous saying, all right, but calm it down a bit. Both teams looking to reset, and you look between the two teams right now, Dan, 44k to 46k. Specifically, though, you look to the hero farm, it's also pretty even. The most farm player on Patron Pulverized.
Very even game.
However, it is a little bit worrying when you look at the least farmed on Pass, and Salty on the Shiv, not quite on the trajectory you'd want for a Shiv at 10 minutes into the game.
That's a great point, actually.
Oh no, here comes the Lash. Yoink.
As possible. Mercedes
boom.
I mean, no choice in the matter, getting thrown into the Guardian.
What? He was popping his ult and then just lost 500 HP to like a Viscous or something? What was that?
And the fight continues here as Patron Pulverizers try to continue the action. Obviously, the pursuit off of the Viscous is strong. Puddle punch into a mid-air combo with the primary fire. The Divine Shield comes through to just persist.
Nice.
It's beautiful there.
Dude, Viscous is owning.
And from Goober on the Viscous. Great work to follow up. And that's 51k to 50k souls, so still pretty close on the souls.
Look, Dan, at this point, I think I'm emotionally
support
invested
McGinnis.
in the idea of a player named Goober having a great game on Viscous. To me, it's far too fitting. But look, Goober's been in the right place, right time thus far for Patron Pulverizers. And, you know, look, hey, Viscous or no, I still do a lot of damage. I can chase this down and make it work.
We should get Goober on the payroll that doesn't exist, because then we could have like get gooped by Goober.
Yeah, that's true. Look, 1 year from now, when they end up being the best Viscous and Deadlock, that's a signature collection right there.
Exactly. I'm sorry I interrupted you with just with that nonsense.
No,
Please go ahead.
No, we add on to it here, but now 10-minute earn is in play.
What are you buying?
57K,
Life Strike or something?
Oh. 10-minute earn not as impactful as 15-minute and beyond. Oftentimes, team will
Beginners?
use as a bargaining chip to get
slowing bullets. Let's
go. The question is going to be for pass. What do you do in this instance? Do you contest on neutral? Do you go for Guardians or Walker?
And the McGinnis has basically finished her support build, but she honestly
really is to me. It's an investment of resources.
Could still have one more gun item, but you know, good enough, good enough.
And the earn is just kind of the playing chip that you use to set it all up.
Yeah, in terms of, you know, game design and so on, in competitive games, you often want to have some mechanic that forces the teams to move. That's very important, and the earn is really the epitome of this. As both teams are now wondering sort of, you know, how do we approach this? We don't have information. Obviously, there's the fog of war, so you can't see where all of your opponents are. But obviously, after 20 seconds of holding the earn, it pops up on the map. So you get.
Is there a gank going on Warden?
And it looks actually like Warden might be in for a sore
He's popping ult though. Warden popping ult. He's gonna turn.
At the moment by Lash. Last stand comes out.
Nah, there's nothing you can do.
That actually, I don't know. There's 4 players.
They might chase him down. I think he still dies. He's dead.
Really want to kill Mercedes.
They're stacking this Walker.
Why their hatred is so strong, but hey, it is what it is.
Been on the receiving end of a lot of these rotations. Telekinesis now, though, onto Bebop. As you see Spooky try and get away, and no, the damage from Wraith overwhelming in the moment. But now Infernus.
Oh, nice double stun by Infernus. Oh, there's 3 or 1v3, man. I don't know.
With the Mirage. And both teams now saying, okay, that's enough. We're done. And it's Patron Pulverizers, Dan, that end up ahead on both sides of the map with the rotations that were coming into play there. But also, tough times for Warden, where there's a world where you can trade out with Last Stand, but not when the person you're going on to that you could have kept up with and regained your life gets cubed. Viscous just, again,
gets cubed.
For pass.
Yeah, Viscous is such a, I think you said earlier, such an important playmaker. I'm not sure if it was you or Jason, but yeah, really in a very, I feel like must-pick hero. Just so many amazing options. So the sole difference, I think, looks worse than it perhaps is. Obviously, one Walker is there.
It's a pretty significant soul difference. Earn time
against pass. It's only a 6K.
It's still neutral on earn though, so they can force it.
It's going to be collected. It's a neutral drop-off location.
Close.
Ooh, narrow miss from the.
That was really close.
Fantastic. It's been a really big pick to get. But alas, it is not to be, and it does.
I think I take teleporter to contest this.
Positioning here for pass to defend against this earn. They're going to go for a push
Improve
instead,
burst on
so
2 people, Headhunter, Surge of Power, Rescue Beam.
A good amount of sense. Also, you talk about early game scenarios here. It hasn't been the biggest game for Bebop in terms of big game-changing hooks here thus far. Also in terms of items, Mercedes.
A nice slide. They missed the hook. That was a free pick for sure.
Saying, nope. Do not want a part of that. Earn gonna get turned in, and the price for this earn, Dan, looks to be a Walker, perhaps. But pass, they haven't gotten it.
No, it's not a Walker. They can TP and 2v2 them if they absolutely have to, or defend the TP and gank them.
They don't want to stay here at all.
Oh, they're gonna get ganked on themselves. The 2 of them are gonna take TP and gank them right now. The Abrams and 7 are in big trouble, I think. Bebop comes through, but Abrams is gone, but the 7 isn't.
Wraith has collected the Tesla
Abrams is fighting now.
And that's going to be a slower burn then for Scout. Patron Pulverizers.
Yeah, so they walked away. They didn't fight. They walked away. Here comes another Warden ult. Dies. Brawl. Improved burst is so much damage.
I'm going to channel this and then instantly die is often the case. Telekinesis meanwhile onto the Infernus.
Hello, Wraith.
In from Scout. Quick pick off and done. And now if you're past, this is starting to become a trend where Scout gets Telekinesis, walks in, and now has enough damage to blow someone up, even in Tesla Bullets build. So a solution needs to be found for that, or at least caution needs to be employed.
I mean, they're going to have a nice earn, right? Yeah, earn's on their side. Super nice.
It feels like should, you know, submit a bullying in the workplace complaint or something.
I cannot believe there is a team called PP.
So often in this game.
Oh, the wall.
Not over the wall. And is there an escape possible? Yes, just about. Look how many people are ready to just destroy that player that got hooked. That's just ridiculous. I mean, that wall. Imagine, can you actually get it over the wall? Sometimes it looks like you can. Sometimes it doesn't look like you can. It's just very odd. It's very hard to predict. But
here's the crazy thing.
Push should be rejected.
That is 2 uncontested earn turn-ins back to back.
Yeah, I mean, Heavy Barrage comes in and slows things down.
That's
a bit.
wild.
To the last shot, it's all a matter of elevation, Dan. You just gotta be high enough to cross the wall. In that case, was a little bit off. But now you look at Wraith. Shadow Weave has now been bought, and the income of Scout definitely going to be a bit of a problem, because as was seen from our EU games today, once you get to
now they're almost equal on
Wraith
souls. Well, the Urn is a huge comeback, so
Tesla bullets, and now has Shadow Weave as an option. Well, guess what? This is now threat number 1, and I'm curious for Pass if they start investing in Ethereal, because they should. You need Veils versus this. You need to not be free every time.
The McGinnis is rotating into turrets, boys. Let's go.
Alju is
she has heroic aura,
keeping his farm up at the moment, which is definitely a must on the pocket. I mean, Alju especially is quite the specialist. So, you know, the way that we were talking about play with me, you know, for Pass, Alju could be that player for them. I know he's trialing on the team, but that said, usually when players trial on teams, they overperform. So hopefully that is the case here today for Alju.
Dan, is that your GM experience coming in, where you're just like, oh yeah, this player looked really good, Trouts. Now I've signed him to a contract. Oh God, what happened here? Like, I've been sold a false bill of goods. I don't know. It seemed a little bit personal.
It's just this funny thing that I don't think people know about as much. That, like, especially in like Counter-Strike and Valorant and so on, there's a common complaint that teams have where they hate, like coaches hate trialing, because like the player that they see in the trial is not often the player that exists outside of the trial. So like, you know, on their best behavior and all that, and then they're actually a bit of a menace, you know.
And then they turn into
so yeah.
NA.
Yeah, day one of the players like, oh, thank you, man.
Holy shit, Scarabs and fucking Mirage is pretty hard.
You're the worst player ever. Get off my team. But speaking of get off, Mirage right now trying to get off this planet under heavy pressure. But here we go once again. Telekinesis going to the pocket, who is able to get to the same spot. Meanwhile, Goober,
wow, he hits hard.
Into the fray.
The Goober is in. Rescue beam though. Rescue beam to save the Inferno.
Goober dive gun in, Braden looking for the exit.
He's gonna die.
Back and forth now.
NT.
Fire onto the Viscous, and it's past Dan. Getting the better of this so far.
The McGinnis is in, boys.
Literally, heavy barrage in play, looking for the Wraith, as Wraith falls in turn. Patron pulverizers getting crushed.
The McGinnis actually clutched that fight, by the way, chat. Save the Infernus from Viscous. They turn kill the Viscous. She all-ins with zipline ult. Actually sick play.
Now, of course, there is perhaps, I mean, can they defend?
They wiped the whole team, but I don't know if they could force mid-boss. They're too far away.
Doesn't really want to have anything to do with it.
And now they're ahead after being behind for the entire game, I think.
Interestingly, it's really felt like Pass have not been in a good position for most of this game. And if you really look at how desperately bullied Mercedes has been on the Warden as well, that prospect, you know, we've talked about how keeping Warden down can just really make their hero somewhat useless. So many things seemingly going against Pass, but yet still. And also, we brought up all the stats as to the fact that most of these heroes that they have chosen have like the lowest win rate percentage in.
It's true. Memes have power though, dude. Look, Shadow Wave Bebop. What do you even do against this? Invis Bebop, bro. You missed! Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god.
Seven had no idea the Bebop was there. And,
god damn it.
Just thought there'd be a dodge. Doesn't happen. But I do love the Shadow Weave Bebop build. You know, it's something that's actually been in Deadlock for a while. Wallux was terrorizing people with it months ago. Don't see it a whole lot, but often can be very playmaking, Dan.
Guys, I've had that before. The enemy can't see you, so they're harder to hit. I understand.
Interesting to see. It's not a build I think that we've seen so far from the Bebops. We've seen, again, like hook builds and the Wallx Hyper Beam builds, but haven't seen the Shadow Weave yet. So that's a nice little wrinkle to the different ways that you can build Bebop. And the hook is definitely a very good ability overall in terms of, you know, let's say, like if you guys are familiar with Dota, Dendi initially making his name with Pudge, because if you're really good with the hook, it makes that hero kind of
ooh, nice survival rune.
So, but to be that good with the hook, it requires insane game sense.
McGinnis got Mystic slow.
Hold that thought. Scout just picked off. It's a little bit of a back and forth here in the lane 4. Now looking to Braden on the Infernus, trading out shots with the 7. Concussive combustion over and in, says get over here, burn to cinders. However,
classic Infernus, boys.
The life leech though, incredible, Dan. And Pass still making this a good.
He misses one, I think.
Braden not done yet. Looking for the Viscous. More pressure on the Viscous. Parry not gonna amount to anything.
He's just killing everybody. Doesn't matter. He's fucking Infernusing.
Yeah, Braden doing a really good job there, and this is going to be a problem. And are they going into mid-boss here?
I'm really curious to check the McGinnis' stats after this game. Their build is really good. I like their build a lot.
It's going to be up reasonably quickly.
Support turret builds are cool.
They can definitely go for it if they want to. There is time to do it, but actually the mid lanes are actually...
They can force this with a... I don't think they have like turret setup. They don't have rapid recharge or anything, but I think it's still fine.
That is very unfortunate. Really good call though from Pass to immediately go for the mid boss.
Walls off half. See ya.
Make sure that they can get that rejuve. No weird steal attempts to come into play. And suddenly, after all of this, I say,
this game has been completely turned around.
15k soul lead, and they've got the rejuve. They're gonna have full map control.
They've really brought things back, and now you take a look at how that developed too. The reason why the mid-boss call was such an easy call is that even though you had members of Patron Pulverizers coming back up, they were drained on ultimates. I don't even think Scout was going to have telekinesis back up by the time the Rejuvenator was coming down. It was very, very close in any case.
The Shiv doesn't have a single tier 3 or higher item?
They just didn't have the resources to do it, Dan. But it does make this next urn interesting because I think it's at the point where, yes, it is going to be in Patron Pulverizer territory. And Pass, you've had some good team fights here, but overconfidence is killer. And trying to go in for this urn turn in, even with the McGinnis on your team, you got to be careful going into enemy territory.
I mean, yeah, this is definitely
very
interesting.
With the last stand up, it should be a fun one for Warden.
I think they're just gonna take, dude. Look how fast they shred this walker. Oh my god, 3,000 from Bebop. The gun bop goes hard.
Okay, yeah, we'll take another walker as well. So walker number 2, looking to be taken.
They're just taking all these things. They're like, oh, this walker's next. Let's take this, take that. Cool, get another flex slot. Good job, team. Huge. They're carrying the urn with them as well in case they have to go turn in, but the Wraith is split pushing, however, but the Wraith versus Shiv might be in a 1v1 on the split push in a sec. I think the Wraith will always win this.
And Scout says, I want to take this fight, Shiv. What are you doing? I'm going to fight back.
Or, well, the Shiv had return fire, so during the ulti, the Wraith actually did like a third of her own health. Return fire is a great counter to Wraith ult. Wraith goes down, gets caught out by the rest of the team. With that pick, they could probably force the urn fight now.
Kind of min-max telekinesis, but maybe would have been better to just drop the telekinesis and run. Urn, though, in contest, Spooky able to take down Goober.
They get the Viscous, and they turn in urn. Wow, this game is turned around.
And now that's a 20k soul lead, and they've taken down all of the walkers as well, so they have obviously an advantage on the flex slot, and they're going to be taking some more here. They still have a rejuve to burn, and it's definitely worth trying to go for this. They've got to...
Can you show us the build? I can't, because I can't connect to the spectator for some reason.
The Wraith and the Viscous
it just keeps timing out. I tried.
So might be able to take a shrine as well.
I mean, this is also potential game winning. You have everyone with rejuve in stock. If you get
I think
stagger here,
they're going to definitely take both shrines for the slot.
I do think you can
then it's going to be a team fight, I think.
In the situation, but
they might leave.
To be measured. Both shrines going down.
Yeah, they left. They left. Just both shrines for the slot, immediately left.
You have rejuve.
4 slots is huge.
However, it is
that is massive.
It's a little bit more conservative.
2 to 4 extra, 2 to 4 flex slots now.
That might be the logic.
Who just got hooked?
However, the chase down's happening.
Oh, it's Viscous. He has cubes himself. He's fine.
Indeed, and one of the reasons this might work is because you got that Bebop.
Wait, the Pocket's trying to re-engage. Wait, Pocket and Warden both do the re-engage, but Viscous just rolls away. I think they're okay.
It looks like Pass were ready to
that engage now, at least on the Warden's behalf, is mostly gone.
And this is a little precarious now. Okay, so the rejuve has worn off. But
God, Shiv escalating exposure. He's up to 13 escalating exposure stacks on that guy. He almost killed him.
Because your opponents can have a much better positional engagement.
Bobby set to private. It's not private because in private it's a different error message. I think. This one is it's just stuck on this connecting.
You disengage for a little bit and you set up in sort of an encirclement type maneuver, and then they come into your grasp and you kill them all. So you got to avoid that.
For Patron
Buff time!
Walked out. Sometimes teams are kind of messy when they disengage, right? They're hoping, okay, maybe they're just like not in the proper position, and maybe there's
Tay with the 70-month resub. Thank you.
Get a good death slam and open something up. It didn't quite work out that way. Both teams able to walk away relatively unscathed, but take a look at Scout right now. Going in for the telekinesis. That's exactly what we're seeing. Besides Warden, let's dance here one more time. Death slam, telekinesis, death slam, the punishment.
See ya.
Mercedes continues where, look.
Damn, that's a really good pick.
That's a bit much, Dan.
It does seem. It really. You just got to feel for Mercedes. I feel like we should give Mercedes the MVP in the grand finals, just to like.
I mean, that's huge. Those two picks now they get to turn the urn. The urn is a massive catch up in terms of gold.
It is like gets knocked down, gets back up.
That's true. That's true. And I mean, the Patron Pulverizer is going to be able to pick up an urn off of the back of that engagement where they get those 2 kills. So
yeah, they can't contest this one.
The soul gap a little bit.
Let's see, 147 to 170.
Walkers, which they're currently trying to do. They've got that push
147 to 157.
How much they
158.
Like it
So they got 11k souls out of that.
Is in a couple of minutes, so that's
not probably like 1k from the rest of the team in that time frame.
Fall back from that lane.
So you say about 10.
Perhaps they were expecting some reaction and rotation from their opponents, then they kind of quickly zip out.
Apparently, they were the 71 month resub too.
I think the key thing here too, as you look at the rotations, look at the overall state of the game. The fact that
Gunbop is hunting
into lane 3, onto the Warden, set up Patron Pulverizers to get the urn, and what was once a 30k deficit now, Dan, is a mere 16k at 27 minutes. That's effectively nothing. That's effectively an even game.
It is even, but the difference is they have 2 extra flex slots. Oh, curse into Gunbop.
Sets up the sticky bomb. The fall through's there, but he's able to tornado away.
Wow. Tornadoes the bomb, gets out, and McGinnis wall there too. McGinnis wall. Pretty strong.
And he ends up getting blocked. And Alju is worth, I don't think we've mentioned yet, has the soul rebirth, so we'll be able to come back alive after going down. That's actually at this stage of the game where the respawn timers are huge. That's a pretty huge pickup. Oh, nice patch.
Oh no.
Nice. Punishment is perhaps nicer, where you got me, but did you want me? Is the real question that Spooky has to be asking there. And now, Patron Pulverizer is looking to take advantage. Bebop out of the fight. Zersby, a little bit danger here at the 7, low HP, ground slam coming on in.
This is chaos. What the fuck is happening?
Gets stunned into the corner by Abrams. Down he goes.
What is going on?
Salty gets one with the killing blow, and this could be killing blow after killing blow if Patron Pulverizers is not careful.
And Alju's back up because of the soul rebirth as well, so that's going to enable them to continue the aggression. And let's, again, I was about to say, let's not forget mid-boss.
I mean, they're even now, and mid-boss is up. Both teams down 1. No Abrams with Abrams ult to secure.
Or they could just go for it.
They don't really have any ult to secure.
Which one do you want to see?
Well, they're going for it. They don't
Nobody really has ults. This is straight up. I mean, if they get there, it could be interesting, but
I just don't know if they're in position.
Yeah, they're too far away to contest, I think, but I think it is doable. They could do it.
They can get there in time, but the rejuve is already coming on down.
McGinnis is going to be really important here to wall them off, I think. Walls them off. Yep, that's huge.
In play. Wall is out. Who's going to secure by pass? Secures it. Comes on in.
7 ult in the pit. Dude, he did a lot of damage.
They lose Zerbzy in return. 2 down. They get McGinnis in turn, but
oh my god, they're all dying.
By one, Dan. And with all the damage that's already been done, this could be game.
They went all in, and then they just, it's over.
Wiping the entire team, just Yagi on the Abrams are remaining.
I feel like they didn't have to go that all in, but I guess that's the nature of these contests, right? You are just 50-50. But they were so set up, and they had a McGinnis.
The patron will go down in 10 seconds
like,
to get it
it's hard.
In the weakened form.
I'd have to look at the McGinnis's items, but a lot of the time what happens in this case is the McGinnis will have rapid recharge at this point in the game, and if he has a lot of turrets down, you're all in. Those turrets just are shredding.
Patron Pulverizers is not going to have people up, so it is going to be pass. Likely moving on here to fight Hydra Nation, and I just wonder, Dan, given the level of income between the two teams,
I really enjoyed Pass's comeback this game. The early game was really sketch. I am a fan of, you know, you pick your own characters that you like. Shiv, Bebop, McGinnis. They even picked McGinnis early. All of that is really, really awesome. I like that a lot. That is awesome. This is a 1v2. I put the Warden back in the game. Super far behind, just gets out 1v2, immediately equalizes the souls, and it's just boom, chasing them down.
Said about the dynamics that we saw, because you've been someone that's played a lot of Warden, and you kind of understand how it can be when you're getting bullied like that.
Key thing here is that even though Mercedes was the target in a lot of these fights, I think it's fine to be the target and put into the ground, as we've seen in every hero shooter, so long as the rest of your team is getting work done. And Brayden, especially on the Infernus, look, if you're going to a team fight and you're getting Death Slam, you're getting telekinesis, you're getting the kitchen sink thrown in the Warden's face, but he's able to use last.
Dude, look at the healing in the McGinnis. Not bad, but it's not as good as Kelvin though. But
you're still
it's not bad.
Warden. You're not shooting the Infernus. You're not shooting the Shiv, the Pocket. You're not on the Bebop a lot of the time. So, you know, essentially,
the interesting one to me is
this game and fulfilled his role as kind of a lightning rod
probably the 7 damage and the Abrams damage.
Really shine.
Imagine being Walex and losing to a Bebop that's using a build that he used months ago.
Dude, actually true. Walex used to play that every game.
So that's the thing. But yeah, really, really impressive. And I think the utility.
The Bebop not all once? I don't think so. I think it's just gun bop. Ult's not that great for him. Maybe early game he ulted. That's about it.
Issues with the composition, but they did such a good job as a team utilizing all of the utility really, really well, inclusive of the Bebop. Because Bebop, despite people not getting picked a lot, I think Bebop is one of those heroes that will always have value because of the hook. And
he popped it for tier 3s. Yeah, I think he just used it for farming. That's it.
You can catch opponents, leaving. You can, save your teammates.
Also, damn. Looking at the items, by the way, I got in game. Dude, that McGinnis built double improved armor, heal bane, return fire, mystic slow with max heal station and wall. Literally just a debuffing machine just running around. That's it. And a full tank. Just impossible to kill. That's awesome. Warden with Majestic Leap, Reach, Slowing Hex, classic items. Mirage.
I don't know. Pass shouldn't have really won.
Toxic, no ricochet.
Obviously, the Infernus helps quite a bit. When
Interesting.
We saw the wombo combo come out of Patron
Lash, improved burst, 7, escalating enchanters.
Like, if they could get that on a larger scale,
Viscous.
I don't see how past
Rescue Beam Viscous with Divine Barrier and just Torment Pulse run around with burst for duration.
Very important if you notice there.
Gun Wraith, I mean.
Where there was no real healer on the enemy side.
Titanic, intensifying, escalating, Shadow Weave, Tesla.
Obviously help mitigate a lot of abilities. I don't know. I feel like Pass showed some good signs. It was really weird for me to see that
Abrams Life Strike.
Just in
I like all this. It's cool.
Shadow Weave when we had so many.
Isn't Boundless better for 7 before escalating? I thought so, but I mean,
Hyper Beam. Now I'm thinking about it. I don't remember.
I don't think it's the end of the world either way.
I do think, though, when you go back and you look at how this game panned out, the reality is, especially with how far ahead they were at points, this was Patron Pulverizer's game to lose. They came in with, on paper, a stronger composition. They had, overall, a better early game. They were at points where they were significantly ahead within the game. And they weren't able to just hang on to their advantage.
It's true. They were ahead and then they kind of threw it.
Realistically speaking, it was avoidable.
Even if they didn't like throw, but they didn't convert it into the mid and late game.
Pass, chip away, get back in, and then when Pass got ahead, they kept the lead and they finished it out.
Yeah, it was around like the 18-minute mark what I was looking at when we saw Patron Pulverizers go for a big push onto lane 4, but they kind of overcommitted as we saw Goober rolling around under the walker, going extremely
Goober
deep.
rolling around. What a name.
And that's where we really started to see the turnaround come in for Pass, that paired with like an Urn eventually happening. Actually, the Urn actually happened at the 23-minute mark.
Also, I think the most interesting part about this is the Viscous had top damage for their team. Almost top damage in the whole game.
Was Goober, and then the Urn got turned in against them. It was kind of like 2 bad decisions, I feel like, really put Patron Pulverizers on the back foot that Pass was able to capitalize off of.
Well, any final thoughts, gentlemen, before we go into a break? Because I kind of...
The finals are coming! Dude, I am hyped. Dude, I hope these guys pick really awesome fucking McGinnis, Bebop, and all the and Shiv and all these other cool characters in the finals versus Hydronation. That'd be hype. Hey, they early Infernus in NA. And EU, they'd go fucking...
On the really quick with the note,
I don't even know, like IV7 or something. Okay, I got the pocket for Viscous.
I get it, because they really wanted to secure it.
It's frontline time. Somebody's got to start working in frontline, I think. They don't have pure initiators, but they have Warden, Abrams, Viscous as a death ball frontline who are running you down. So it's kind of spooky.
All right, well, we say goodbye to Jason and we say hello to the first map of our best of 3 grand finals.
I'm back. Oh, perfect time. Let's go.
Defend the crown. Now, Pass with a pretty good performance in the previous game.
Overwatch mentioned? What I missed?
They managed to do in the early game because they got kind of bullied in the early game in the last bout. So, okay, we've got 2 players on lane 4 right off the rip here, ZP. Something we see in North America, but we don't really see in Europe.
Yeah,
oh yeah, we do that a lot. It's
into Hydronation's playbook. What we're seeing here.
They do this every game. They double stack the 4th lane to push fast, and then one person goes to the 3rd lane to catch it. It's an easy double soak and get priority for your Infernus early game. See, now look at the Viscous. Flies over.
Yep, it's having a bad day, but hey,
might double soak, might not, but whatever.
Able to kind of just reframe it. If they're focusing on me,
Might just be a thing where like maybe they just don't like level 1 and furnace something. I don't know. You get the idea.
Reframe it so he doesn't lose his goddamn mind.
Well, he's lost half his goddamn health to add on to that.
Overwatch callback ZP talking about how unconventional teams like the Hunters. Oh, Chengdu. Okay, yeah.
For Mercedes in lane 4.
I mean, when you think about it, in video games chat, we saw this actually recently at League of Legends Worlds. When people play their own like game and their own picks, you gotta believe in yourself.
Shiv, with how good his shotgun is.
Yeah, and I'm going to do a quick shameless plug here. I featured Leffa on one of my recent videos talking about tracking aim because his tracking aim is probably some of the top that's actually in this game. His tracking is incredible. He's a very good carry player. And so Left is very, very dangerous.
Believe in the heart of the cards.
I'm going to keep an eye on as far as hydronation.
Well, it's mostly that
to just make sure that he's not getting too.
You have to believe in your own vision of the game, essentially.
The burn damage will finish off Mercedes, and we'll go down straight away. I'm not. Look, I guess there's a.
Oh, pockets here though to clean up.
Dive, though, so
wait, we literally just pulled away the camera at the worst time. I think he died. Yeah, the Infernus died.
As well,
1 for 1.
Maybe put the pressure on to Algae. So that lane 4 really seeing some action early on.
Everyone, party in lane 4, get over here. But look, that is
Goober
really
40
important
months,
to happen,
thank you.
Leffa is still gonna walk away with about 300 soul lead, but it could have been a whole lot worse if he didn't die, absorbed another wave, and it was a 1,000 soul lead, right? So the rotation from Alju, really, really important to stop Leffa from getting his ramp into beast mode status, which we've seen Leffa do a lot over the last month.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to get there eventually. He's just got to slow it down a bit. That's the key. And so just looking at some of the other lanes, we've got the Abrams Wraith on lane 1.
Ammo scav charge Wraith, classic.
And as a newfound Abrams player, is that a matchup that you've experienced with?
The playing here, is always better than the one you are new on. That's true, but
it's a more even matchup overall.
What we're talking about is more deep than that. It's more about believing in your own vision of the game, essentially, and not getting sucked into what everyone else is doing by the nature of just because everyone else is doing it.
Focus down in turn, so long as she doesn't do something like push away too much and get to a zone where Abrams can freeze and deny her. But overall, I would expect that lane to be largely even until ganks come into play. And speaking of ganks, lane 3, 3-man rotation right now from Pass. Hydronation on the Mirage and Visca's just gonna back up a little bit, and it's Algae right now, Dan, that's really trying to be a playmaker.
Yeah,
Pocket is it coming?
Here to try to find an opening pick, but it looks like Hydronation are going to be able to withstand that push. Now, do you not finding really the love that he's looking for?
Hey, Pocket's just going back and forth, double soaking everything, right?
His teammates though take control of these lanes.
We're trying to.
Alleviate some of the pressure.
Nobody's really that far ahead in souls.
My team won't let me hear the end of it.
Well, you see here,
I like the early stamina of McGinnis.
McGinnis right now just saying, I'm gonna drop a turret up here, and you still have to be careful pushing McGinnis in lane just because of all the ways that wall can really work against you, especially when you have the burst of a Talon here. So, for Pass,
one bullet
this lane, especially with like Warden Ivy, to be mostly neutral. You're not gonna have tons of playmaking from those two. Again, it comes down to rotations, and speaking of rotations, Leffa, public enemy #1. We've seen 3-man rotations onto him in the past. And instead, though, they decide, no, he's backing up. We're going to go back into lane instead.
Yeah, I like the timing of that because...
Here comes a gank.
Mercedes has a
They're running at him.
Hold that thought.
Paradox on the run.
Coming through here.
Paradox went up. Oh, shit, wait.
As Paradox, Salty is going to be able to make the escape. Kinetic Carbine coming through.
He just pops ball and leaves, huh? He doesn't want. He catches the wave instead. Mirage is still chasing.
We still have the pressure on from DMB up on the rooftop. Have to jump away, and this is kind of a precarious scenario. Left has joined the ranks now, looking to try to take down Mercedes again.
See ya.
Mercedes cannot avoid the bullying. It is actually outrageous, and in comes Alju to try to make something happen between the satchels and the cloaks. And
wow, this is a bloodbath.
Is coming to lane #3 to show their hand, and it looks like after all said and done, ZP.
I mean, Viscous did get to push the tower, I think, for during all of that.
That's the scary part. It's still
Leffa does miss out on a little bit of farm in the side lane.
Lane 3 to an extent here. It might now be heading to 4 done, but no, as I say that, Owl comes in, blows DMB, the Kingdom Come. Now, Paradox, Salty, under pressure. Dives into the subway.
Acer has really good rotations.
Paradox peeking out of the subway now. Drops the carbine.
Is that too huge?
Taken out once more.
I was gonna say really good rotation, but they just overstayed that time. Oh, Mirage got walled.
The NA special right now. We
NA special. They run it down, boys.
Neither side letting it go here just yet, Dan.
It's like this Brawl Stars or something. I don't know if you even played that game. I don't even know what it looks like, but I assume that everyone's fighting all the time. And this is actually quite wild because now the push from it was Hydronation's tower, but now it's come all the way back to past the side of things on lane 3.
Is their stream okay?
Continues. And I mean, they should at least potentially be able to get a little bit of damage.
Deep fried Deadlock.
Substantial. And we've got a fight here. Leffa fighting on lane 4, and he's going to be able to take down Mercedes, but off of the zip is going to be Alju, who's going to try to finish off Leffa.
Leffa's out. Damn, dude.
This is beautiful.
This is huge. This is what they need.
Having problems, but I feel like the communication must be really good, ZP, because every time Mercedes is having some trouble and getting a little behind,
his non-stop kills is crazy.
Come in at the right moment to either trade the kill or to
I'll never forget. I think it wasn't it like a month ago when one of the first tournaments we saw? I think it wasn't it like 40 or 60 kills or something by 10 minutes, and the whole server. It was actually absurd.
To a point where they hear a ribbit or a croak somewhere in real life, and they just immediately start shuddering, just without any abandon, because of just how Alju has been going out of his way to limit Leffa with rotation after rotation. And look, I think you look at the map movement that Alju.
And Leffa's gonna go farm anyway, but
it's been pretty solid. I think Alju's been one of the key members of keeping pass in this early game. And hey, Dan, maybe it's like you said, it's a tryout buff.
Yeah, but what he doesn't know is he's actually trying out for Hydro Nation, because we know what they're up to.
Oh no!
Oh.
Also, historically true.
See ya.
Takes down DMB in the Cosmic Veil Cubby, but more pressure coming on the Mercedes.
Boom.
Goo Ball smashes into him against the wall.
Ivy flies in. See ya.
So once again, another trade.
Hey, Quig with 4 gun items as a support early game.
Here,
feels good, man.
The game, and all of this trading out has made it relatively even, Dan. Everyone at 6 and 5K respectively. Swap in progress here for Salty. Looking for extra damage.
Wraith ult.
Damage going
interesting.
Into the Abrams.
And Furnace diving.
Uh-oh, here comes Leffa. Concussive combustion.
Misses the ult. Misses the ult. Wraith is going to go down regardless. Paradox should get out, though.
Round and round the statue.
Yeah, Paradox out. Paradox out. Wait, why is Paradox going the other way? Uh-oh. Not anymore.
Abrams gets the hit of...
Oh, wait.
Oh, no. Gets a hit of his
No,
own
you
parry.
did. Dude, he shot one time too many. He had the double, but either way, Infernus is going to parry for him. He has to do an immediate parry and bait it. It's the only way.
Oh, man. North American Deadlock goes. It's just so hard.
It is. NA Deadlock's fucking crazy.
Hard. I don't know what else to describe it. Okay, so lane 3 just seems to be an absolute war zone, and somehow that the Guardians are still up on both sides. It's unbelievable. There's the parry for the Guardian on the dive. Mercedes trying to make it happen.
Here's Quig.
In comes
Quig's appeal. See it, boom.
Well, 2 extra players at the very least, and Mercedes goes down. It seemed like a dive worth a shake, but it's Mercedes that ends up going down. So okay, all right, okay, some breathing room for maybe about 10 seconds. So we take stock. 44k to 41k. We've got a slight edge here. 3 Guardians down in favor of Hydronation. They are 2 Guardians in advantage over Pass. So
NA is clearly miles ahead of EU in terms of gameplay. Honestly, true.
I think Pass is not really out of it, or even really tangibly too far behind. The last sequence of tradeouts did give Hydronation.
What do you think about it? I mean, why doesn't Europe? Why don't EU teams just try like killing the enemy?
The time that you get an extra 3k item
like NA teams.
So there is a little bit more of an advantage than it might seem, but it should be a pretty ephemeral one, unless Hydronation
so buffs in 15. Let's go.
Team fight soon, which might be the case, Dan, as buffs come up in 10 seconds.
Okay, so looks like we'll get a fight here over the lane 2 bridge. And,
Pocket just wow. Pocket was trying to do the teleport away as a buff spawn. Got 100 to 0 instantly.
In that location as well. So Hydronation taking quite the edge now. And this could begin to become problematic. Now the question is, how does Pass decide to respond to the urn, which actually hasn't been collected just yet? To be honest, CP, it feels like the teams that collect the first urn actually end up being at more of a disadvantage. Oh my god! Like he's been pushed into the bathrooms. His head's like they're pushed into the toilet. They're flushing it.
You're not having bullying with that a little
time.
You're not having bullying without a little bit push into the bathrooms. But yeah, Mercedes down. And the question is how the urn is going to be used here as a bargaining chip. Brayden, though, that's the classic.
I mean, are they going to pick up the urn?
Telekinesis, walk away.
Or are they just going to keep killing each other?
Both teams lose one. Hydronation, though, getting the walker, and the urn right now not really being used as bargaining chip whatsoever. It is urn number 1. The 10-minute urn distinctly worth way less than the others in terms of net effect of the game, but oh boy.
Oh, baited the parry.
Goes for the charge. Does it connect it to the wall and says, you know what, Talon? You get to live this time. You live another day.
Indeed.
Headed to York.
Okay, so Pass, actually, or rather, Hydronation managing to kind of just like they're very good at finding good timing windows to just push something, and they managed to take away a walker. So their objective edges are now starting to compound, and Pass is starting to get further and further.
Ivy's a little bit spooky.
To go their way.
Ice Cube.
Some pressure onto the Ivy here. Pass. Can they find a way to finish this one off? I don't think there's
Viscous with the healing Nova. Nice.
And they may end up losing everyone they've invested. Mercedes is here on that Shiv, and is going to try to escape here, but there's Flick with that Viscous. Oh, trying to dash away, and there's no escape. Mercedes goes down yet again. And indeed, the urn, they're not really looking to pick it up.
They don't want to take the urn because the urn will go to their base.
Though, you do get to a point in the game where if it's at around 14 minutes, you just kind of let it go because it's not worth the most soul-wise, and you know a new urn is going to spawn. Or if you want to be cheeky, there is something else you could do here, Dan. Is you could grab the urn and just hold it until
that is what the Ivy's doing. We saw this happen to you. Same thing.
The urn too. I don't think teams have really done that a whole lot, but you can sort of mitigate the impact of the 15-minute urn if you just make sure that this urn is being held before a new urn would spawn.
Ooh, that is devious. Well, it's an urn location at least that is pretty favorable to Pass. Obviously, it spawns towards.
Yeah, they're not even going to run it. They're just going to sit in base.
Interestingly, had the urn been picked up earlier, I actually believe it would have been a neutral location, but maybe it won't really end up mattering too much.
Under attack. I see biscuits.
Well, we're looking at Salty now. Paradox playmaker.
Oh, found that. Wow, they found that Mirage.
Mirage going to try and tornado away, but very, very wounded in process.
See ya.
Brayden, they're on the finish. So Paradox.
Oh, they might find the Viscous. Big cube.
Carbine over and in. Cube
Have it. He's just gonna roll away.
Goes for the goo ball on the
Let's go, McGinnis.
Just comes in from the back. Flick not wanting any part of that. Hey, you take a look at the situation. Lefa says it's go time. Concussive combustion in. Focused on the McGinnis. Gets Carbine. Pressure coming in. McGinnis in their own health station, not able to live. Lefa.
I mean, hey, what are you gonna do? It's Infernus, guys.
Too, and
Infernus with infinite lifesteal
here, Dan,
and reactive barrier.
In a good spot. Urn, meanwhile, back at its usual location.
Urn's back, but they're not going to pick it up because they're ahead.
I think it's the best game to get like high level aim. I've talked to some aim training coaches about this, and they agree about that. I don't have time to really get into that, but if you're wondering why Lefa's tracking aim is just unbelievable, that is the reason why.
Some good aimers will come out of that game regardless. You know, think back to the glory days, you know, when Defram was in competition making French players.
Alright, about Overwatch? Oh yeah, it's one of the hardest games, aiming.
And getting that sort of, you know, confession out of a French player, it's not hard. You have to be really, really good, as it turns out. But the urn, I think they are just trying to make the urn.
Yeah, going back to base with urn again.
On to 30 seconds. Pass doesn't have a great urn to use for the 15-minute urn. This feels like urn sabotage. I'm gonna be honest.
Yep.
They're seeing this every game. They're probably gonna just speed it up somehow. I would hope they change this on Thursday. It seems like kind of like degen strat.
All right, well, Mercedes actually, honestly, given how much punishment Mercedes takes, I'm always surprised at like how well Mercedes is able to kind of just stay in the game in terms of souls.
Yeah.
Big movement. Oh, go ahead.
No, I mean, it's interesting, especially on Shiv, where sometimes you get put into a hole and it's bad. Oh, look, Dan, they held onto the urn until right over 15 minutes and they dropped it. That urn is not a very worthwhile urn right now.
Yeah, that's a good point. Forgot about that. And we got a push on lane 4 happening at the moment. DMB is on the receiving end of 3 players looking to get that walker down. At the same time, Hydronation are trying to push that lane 2. So split pushing happening. 3 players on either side.
Oh, Wraithhold. Is he out?
Coming in. Looks like Hydronation will try to disconnect themselves from that lane 2 push, but at the same time, lane 4.
Is this a patch
Walker,
week? Yes. There should be a patch on Thursday. It usually is.
And the telekinesis is still there. Brayden got stunned, so the telekinesis never left her hands. And Hydronation, I mean, if they look at the ults, they'll see it's still up, but they might not realize it because it was going on the rocker. Walker, though, finish off. Brayden says you can't cast telekinesis when you're dead. Leffa dropping the fire on the ground, moving around. Now laying the damage in the Mercedes. Mercedes as a card.
Dude, melee shiv. He's just like, what if you just don't parry me?
I got news for you. You're about to burst into flames. Leffa finishes it off and says, oh, and another one. Paradox, let's fight. Will they live? Likely, with hydration coming from the back.
Now he's going to have Ricochet.
That's so difficult because Leffa knows that
so much lifesteal. Yeah, Infernus's lifesteal is crazy strong.
At the same time, there's one way to get the killing blow.
Insanely strong.
Like the melee charge. But the Shiv knows this. Mercedes knows this. So I think what we should have seen is like a fake melee charge. Might have gone pretty hard there.
That's why I countered heal ban.
Force the parry.
They might have had heal ban on him that fight.
And then you get them to kind of miss with the parry. But yeah,
he probably would have lost HP at all if they didn't.
They're really like high level stuff from Leffa, avoiding that situation, and it's getting worse here for Pass as the push comes through on this lane 3.
Oh, Paradox missed a swap.
The fight
Shiv is kind of running it down. Shiv's dead.
Pass, rather for Hydronation, before the re-engage comes in after they recommit Mercedes into the fight. And right now it looks like Hydronation are beginning to run away with things here, ZP.
The gap is getting bigger, and you take a look. They don't care about the urn. This was a sabotaged urn. That's a 10-minute urn being delivered at 17 minutes. And truth be told, it's still
basically fraud.
Yeah, I mean, it still has some degree of comeback mechanic to it. It does even up the souls a little bit, but Hydronation is still nursing a nearly 20k lead.
Hey, the supports have their beams.
I think it just comes down to the fact they didn't care too
Hydration
much
is still building leap on Warden.
Nice.
Nice.
And
it actually makes so much sense now that you've explained it all, ZP. That if you want to like reduce, if you're winning and there's a comeback mechanic and you can make the comeback mechanic worse, you should do that.
Yes.
Yep.
I mean, the real test for me is that if they didn't do urn, would they?
Is Inhibitor better than Leech on Infernus? Absolutely, yes.
Like, we want this urn to be.
The reason is that there's too much diminishing return. If you get Leech after having that much Spirit Life steal, you're probably only getting like 10 or 15% of the 35.
Life strike shit,
so it's just kind of pointless.
It's an old favorite. It checks out, but hold the phone. Engage coming on in. Flick.
What is this, dude? What is this owl?
Here by Hydronation, and it collapses directly on top of me. Mercedes getting the brunt of it this time. You look here in the Warden, dashing through, getting stymied a little bit by the time wall. Spooky though down, pass down 2. All you falling in turn in this fight around the moat. Scrappy as Hydronation picks up 4, and when you lose 4 in mid, Dan, that's a mid boss.
Yep.
It is indeed. Yeah, you were talking about that earlier.
If they die, go mid. Honestly, he should not have popped out there. He should have just been in the fight and popped out later.
If mid boss is up, you know, you have a protocol where you just don't take committed fights. In certain locations.
Imagine getting paid to play and you throw that out. Bro, they're not getting paid.
But like protocols are really important at the top level, and it's something that obviously it's very early days. So I'm sure we'll see that in the future.
I don't think anybody's getting
Jason
paid.
in our channel also brought up something. It's like, wow, hydration with most souls in his Warren. The one thing about hydration, and why you'll see hydration regardless of hero usually get ahead, is that hydration
went like $100. Yeah, the attorney is like
than most.
Oh,
but hold on, gets a stun.
oh, he actually stunned it.
However,
Rescue beam went out.
Pressure, the telekinesis eventually hits. Goes unstoppable off the seismic slam.
What the fuck? There are so many people going in on him. He got beamed and barrier. Didn't even matter.
Came in for the assist. Also getting thrown into the dumpster. Pass up 2 right now in this fight. You see Salty working around the time wall. Gets him up from Mercedes to finish off hydration, and this is a very nice fight for Pass here so far.
Yeah, this is a crazy fight for Pass. They try to all in off the. They should have just let Abrams go.
Oh wow,
it's super sketch.
Important to be on the killing blow. Oh, it's not going to be able to connect because the cube is going to block it, trying to slide through the veil, and there's a insane parry to finish off Mercedes. But these are key fights here because they got obviously the rejuve. You're trying to prevent them from taking major objectives with that rejuve, and a straight up fight might be the one to do it. But you don't want to get wiped. 3 players you were killed with the rejuve.
Raj like hello.
Action right now. They're on the zips all the way across to the fight, and if you're past now, you just have to prevent the bleeding. You can't die at this point because you have to be able to defend the base and prevent the progress of.
More importantly, look at the urn.
That rejuve on 3 players still.
They're running the urn right now. Everybody's dead.
After getting back up after getting hit by the killing blow, says, okay, you guys push lane 4, keep everything nice, warm, and toasty over here, because the urn is coming on in. And for Pass, you don't want to give up this urn. Already, you're behind around 25k. The damage to your economy is going to be incredible should hydration turn in. The problem is the map presence from
another
hydration
plus 7k for hydration, or actually maybe even 10, I don't even know.
And now, Dan, that deficit has grown to nearly about 35,000. So the window of opportunity for Pass here is starting to close. And I don't know entirely what they're going to be able to do to bring it back into play. It's turning in the Hydra Nation's game to lose.
Absolutely, and one of the scary things also is, you know, we talked about it earlier, it's like we know that Left is going to get ahead. You just have to slow him down so you can make it, you know, stay competitive and still be able to be good.
And Leffa is just farming with hydration. They both have 30k.
Left is now in
the carries on Pass only have 20 to 22. There's just, what do you do?
Pretty hard in the Infernus, and that's very worrying because there's not really all that much to really deal with that. There's so much of a front line and that can be in front of Leffa as well. It's going to be hard to even single him out and so on if he's smart with the positioning. So lots of problems right now, and there's another one flick.
Dude, the viscous POV is so goofy. And spectator, like the camera's too close.
Mercedes has been the target of a multi-person gank here at Deadlock Fight Night North America. But I got news for you, Hydra Nation, they're not necessarily done yet. Swap though, in on the flick, Flick in danger, taken on down. Paradox still deadly, even when this far ahead. But now we look to hydration, a very fed warden. For now, just looking to get shrine damage. Drops the
holy shit!
The finishing blow on the spooky.
That thing hit like a truck.
Only 2 members left alive as Hydra Nation go. We're taking down the shrines. We're taking down the patron. And Dan, even without a Rejuvenator in play, this could be GG. We'll see what Hydra Nation does.
Yeah, it's only looking like it. They don't really have the issues, even if they're up actually at this point. Hydra Nation is so far ahead.
I mean, I think the Infernus can solo the whole team.
You got Leffa here, he's not going to die. Just the nature of the lifesteal, the spirit lifesteal. So this is looking pretty desperate indeed for Pass.
They're just focusing the throne. They got this. Patron, sorry.
Dive comes in, it's still sustaining some damage. Pass still down 3 players. Everyone GG. And that's going to be it. Map 1 here for Hydra Nation in the grand finals, looking to I don't know, what is it called when you win 5 times in a row?
Quintuple.
What's
quintuple. It'd be a quintuple.
5-peep.
Yeah.
The 5-peep.
Speaking of good urns, we've got Jason Kaplan here for his thoughts.
Okay. Whoa, what is that in the background, Jason? Whoa, hold up, Jason. What's going on there?
What the hell is that?
Okay, dude.
So confusing.
Pandering,
like
Jason.
It's bad.
I don't know what you're talking about. Siegel, what?
Okay. He's farming.
Like 10 minutes of straight fighting. Lane 3 was like, I cannot. Like whoever was cleaning up the trash on that lane was like, there's just too many dead bodies. Like, what am I supposed to do with this?
You think I'm kidding, but the stuff does escalate as time goes on. But you know what? Also,
he's not wrong. It does eventually, but we're so early that everybody, nobody's even getting paid.
Definitely a Hydra Nation staple. But Alju did his best to continually rotate and make Leffa's life hell in the very beginning.
True, trying to make him gonna reuse the joke, trying to make his case for a spot on Hydra Nation. But Alju has been a pretty consistent performer on this pocket. I don't know that we've seen Alju on too many other heroes, but yeah, it's so hard to keep Leffa down.
Unpaid pro team getting a staff of 25.
Really good.
Hey, everybody wants to volunteer.
Like Leffa, who's playing a carry, and he's extremely
a lot of unpaid
interns. He's also
very.
He understands the meta of the micro decisions in these fights. How in these certain matchups, how you're supposed to get ahead, the expected timings on maybe the melees or the distances that you have to be wary of. He obviously has so much experience that he's going to be pretty menacing in those scenarios. So this is definitely not the style of gameplay I feel like is good against players like Leffa.
I'm gonna answer that question for you, by the way, on if he has played, because you said that and I'm like, I don't know. Alju has played in Deadlock Fight Night Pocket 5 times and Yamato once. That's it.
Wow. That's a lot of pocket.
I just wanted to look it up because I took the time to like go make a database for it. Yeah, I mean, I think Alju should be like, if we talk about like Ido as well, if we're talking about like pocket one tricks, like you need to be able to extend your hero pool to be able to play at this kind of level. You can't just bank on the fact that pocket's going to be your one trick. I would like to see what else he's playing like more actively, because he's typically being like the solo lane player. You have to be able to obviously like do like Wraith.
I mean, I've seen Alju on pocket a billion times in my games too, but
I also want to see like his Yamato
chances are he has other picks.
Played against Hydronation once, but obviously that was a loss in the end.
If you keep getting pocket, then why not play pocket?
Watching the stream and just wondering, whoa, I'm catching strays here. It's like I've expanded my hero pool. You can't just throw that on me.
I haven't seen him in a long time. That's the problem.
No, I know. However, I do think in Ido's defense, word on the street is that he has expanded his hero pool because he was pretty well aware that he got the reputation of being just the most obvious pocket one trick in the world, pocket and paradox. So, you know, players eventually they adapt, they evolve. But
stats.
Speaking of adapting and evolving, and just also high.
That's a lot of damage from the Warden and the Mirage. Okay, he's running just normal gun build with toxic crippling headshot but no ricochet, and instead he goes headhunter, kinetic dash, long range.
What a game with Mercedes would look like.
No ricochet though.
Just this insane amount of like, but because I feel like Mercedes almost like treated like it's some.
It has a Wraith of 0 objective damage.
Carry, like a specialist or something.
It's tough,
like that,
bro. That's
like
tough.
Oh
my goodness. Oh, it's a support build.
Still like magically run, because I feel like that's what Mercedes.
It's pretty normal support.
Well, you break it down by knowing there's a flock of seagulls behind Jason and his shameless.
Okay, guys, what is this pandering?
Multiply. Hex himself will come on to lay down the law. That's it. That's the final word on that.
To be fair, I am adding 1 seagull per every sub he gets. So
I get. What do you mean? Did you do it per Yuri? What you get? You have a sub button.
Just to be clear. But as we go into the act,
prove it, Seagulls chat.
Okay,
Make me run out of room. I dare you.
Chill. Ooh, ban Bebop again. Ban Paradox. See ya. And Furnace 7 pocket versus Mirage Wraith. I like this.
Also one of the biggest.
The 7 pocket I like. But they already picked support McGinnis, so I don't think they have to worry. They can do Kelvin last. Kelvin last and pick. All right, never mind. They want to know. I mean, they're gonna go Spirit Vindicta and it's gonna have Crow, so you need debuff reducer. Debuff reducer is also great versus Furnace.
I think Hydronation, there's an element of experimentation. I feel like I go here, or it's just a hidden comp where they've already tested.
I agree.
It's really good. I mean, again, I feel like the problem here for team fights or Pass is going to need quick team fights. They need good, quick, either Abrams kills or Wraith telekinesis kills. You cannot take a long team fight versus Pocket, Vindicta, and Furnace, particularly if.
Why did Mirage say loser?
Build, which
I assume. Wait, who's playing Mirage?
The main build you see Vindictus go at high and Mar right now.
Hey, it's Braden. I don't actually know why.
Horrifyingly annoying.
And you know, we get the Vindicta on the 4th lane to add some assistance to just damage the Wraith down a little bit to make Lefa's life.
They do the usual. They push out first wave for Lefa.
Flick on the Vindicta. The Vindicta is also going to be able to have a lot of control potentially in the mid 2 lanes because of the flight. It allows you to get, you know, between those 2 lanes and get really good angles. Stake ganks as well are really can be really effective.
Dan,
Pocket's getting chunked.
DMB pressured Mercedes all the way back to lane. That alone is going to be about like a wave and a half.
Actually, true, yeah. You know, the Wraith had to go to spawn.
Oh, well, hold the phone. We do have.
But we have Abrams ganking level 2.
Recover something here, pressuring DMB down. Can we get a charge?
He did get the charge and the parry. He parried.
Oh,
the 2 punch.
The health is very low. The car's going through, but it's not going to find the kill onto.
God, Inferno is such a brilliant character.
First blood. Oh, comes from left.
Meanwhile, Moen Krill goes down.
And Rocket taking down Alju as well.
You know, the interesting thing there, Abrams didn't actually charge Infernus into the wall. He did not get stunned there. So if if DMB was smashed,
he thought he was stunned. Huh? Oh, that's a huge crow.
Hydronation already up 2. I mean, the 7K, the 4K looks horrifying. It's not, you know, lanes will be pushed out soon. It shouldn't be that bad. So long as
it is that bad. No, it's not that bad. I take it back. It's over.
But regardless, it's not a pretty start right now for Pass. Hydronation, everything that could go well early thus far has.
Oh, Mercedes really feeling it here as well. It's a very difficult lane.
He's right. Yeah, it's 9K to 6K. Still pretty bad. But it's not as bad as we thought. Okay, he's got a point.
DMB, right? You're right.
Yeah.
Surely.
Gets the Infernus prio in this instance. Lefa gets stuck on eat the jungle duty.
I even called it in the draft. What am I doing?
You did. Yeah, but we've also seen like 8 million games left on Furnace, so it's a hard habit to break.
It is tough in this game. You get those associations and you get betrayed. Well,
I mean, man, it's kind of crazy. DMB just gets the advantage on Infernus in that lane.
To make of that lead
So much from the duo that came in. Like, they just 2-stack him and they leave, and then he had to go back to base. It's just like, if you're never going to get 2 stacks, there's got to be a better way to play that somehow. I don't know how, but
so really creating
like maybe their team should double stack him because they know they're going to do it and just have the duo lane be there for a minute.
Assistance there to deal with Leffa.
Any plans to commentate attorney in the future? No.
I get followed actually by
I don't think so. Oh, Quig got meleeed. He's out. He's out. I can't believe he got meleeed that high up.
Quig going down, not a bad yet. The thing that worries me a little
Pocket?
bit.
Pocket's dead. Pocket's dead.
Pocket under a whole lot of pressure as Mo comes in.
Bro, just reload and chase. Oh my god.
Actually, might have been true 1 HP. But the thing I worry a little bit about.
How did he not die?
Situation here, the Infernus Wraith lane has gotten a little bit out of hand for Mercedes.
And why do you let him go? I guess it's because he knew the Kelvin could be coming, but still.
Which kind of means that Mercedes.
I think he still gets down no matter what.
Contest DMB in lane anymore at this point. Infernus can just sort of stat check Mercedes until help comes in, and it's a rough spot to be in, and it means that Mercedes has
healing right, classic,
is more likely to get denied. Speaking of passive and setups here, hydration, just looking for the perfect puddle punch.
Boom. They changed shaders again? Not again. It's been sunset for like a week or two now.
Oh my god, he's going for it. Oh my goodness.
I mean, hey,
a card coming through, but
it doesn't matter. He's just Infernus. Actually, this is the most insane character.
Is impervious to damage.
What do you do? He doesn't take damage.
Very scary. It feels like each game it gets worse for Mercedes.
Yeah, I mean, and also that was just the nature of how the lane started off bad. DMB was able to get a head up on the Infernus, and it's a stat check in the end. When you get that far behind in lane, you need help or you need to swap lanes or anything is, it just goes from bad to worse. Things explode over here in lane 3. 2 kills, blink and you miss him. The hydronation, 24
minus 25% spirit damage is OP. I really think a huge part of Infernus' strength is in that one trait. For those that don't know, the level 1 upgrade to Infernus' dot, like the dot he puts on you, makes you do 25% less spirit damage. So Wraith cards, Yamato, anything like that, the Infernus can't face tank you. It's just insane. And it gets at level 1.
This is just getting grim.
That's why a lot of people like to put Infernus' soul lane.
No, 2 Guardians are down for pass though, so you know.
Didn't they nerf it? Yeah, I think it used to be 30.
So, and with that gank onto DMB, that's definitely encouraging for pass and their chances to bring themselves back into this one. Just slowing down DMB ever so slightly. Already at 5k, but so is Rocker and Flick and Quig and Leffa.
So yeah, I mean, that's a pretty big nerf.
Time on the farm there for hydronation overall, as they have a really strong early game.
Dude, they are getting absolutely stomped early game. This is crazy.
And Dan, when I look at this here, I look at, okay, who can make a play right now in hydronation? And the number, for the most part, you're looking at Spooky. And as I say that, well, the combo begins. So Spooky says, yeah, you're right. I can't make a play. Heavy damage, though, going on the Salty as you see DMB rush on in. Braden also incredibly low. Cube out from hydration, saves him from Braden. Braden falls. And again, these are not trade outs like last game where Pass had the paradox. This is just
this is a stop.
Kills.
this is tough.
Yeah, it's a huge. It's really.
This is cyberbullying.
Problematic. Okay, and another gang coming in from BNB, getting behind Mercedes on lane 4.
I mean, he's just gonna dash after him and kill him. He doesn't have a tower. Like what? You're just gone.
There it is. Mercedes going down again. This is feeling very bad right now for Pass.
I mean, I guess I can see the idea from his POV now. Hey, I'm so far behind, I'm not even worth money anymore.
Oh my god, they're bullying so hard right now, DP. It feels like they're able to take this, like, what should be disadvantageous fights, but because the farm is so ahead for them, they can just do it anyway.
Yep.
Again, we've entered stat check territory, which is just, in a lot of these fights, any given member of hydronation can walk up on any given member of Pass and just say, what's up? And you have to back off. You have to hope for help. And you take a look here. Here we go again.
He's all-inning under Walker. Doesn't even care. Walker's going to stun him twice. He just kills him. It doesn't even matter. He doesn't even get stunned twice.
And 43K to 30K, Dan, I'm not sure it's getting any closer than this.
The Walker stunned during the Wraith ult.
Pressure on that Walker, probably going
if the Wraith was smarter, she would have held Wraith ult for a second or two for the Walker stun first into the Wraith ult to combo it, and then they might have been able to kill him. That's the only way. You have to double stun because you're so far behind.
Objectives for Hydronation to farm, and it seems like they can kind of pick and choose whatever they want at this point.
Actually, Infernus ult stuns walkers.
It's rare to have this.
Wait, I thought the stun went off though.
8.5 minutes.
Wait, it was just that when he was in the Wraith ult.
Here we go, Kelvin. Ice path over the top. Looking to chill down McGinnis.
No, the Walker just got stunned. Oh, okay, my bad.
Salty falling in turn, and this continues to just add on here, Dan, where just no matter what Hydronation does, it works. Also, Flick is getting a lot of kills off this on top of it.
Oh yeah, Flick enjoys his Vindicta.
Won't assassinate yet, but it's just something that is piling on and piling on. The only light at the end of the tunnel here is that the Urn at 10 minutes will be in Pass's territory and they're running the McGinnis. So the Urn could function as a comeback mechanic here, but they also have to be able to show themselves on the map without instantly getting concussively combust by DMB.
Yeah.
Just Infernus things.
That is a really big problem. And looks like, you know, they got a lot of players hit past towards the left side of the map where the you know, could spawn.
He's one?
Goodbye, Mirage, question mark.
He's just LOSing for days. He literally is not going to repeat. He's not going to repeat. He's like, yeah, fuck him. He's just stuck. Oh, he got out. He got out. He just dashed out.
And they know there's players low there, so Salty is going to have problems on the Abrams, probably going to go down. Yep,
is the spectator UI just super bugged on Vindicta or what?
It's about to be a 20k soul lead as mid buffs and Urn take the stage. Take a look at mid buffs. At least Spooky wants to try and contest for one Spooky.
That's okay, guys. The buff spawned. We're only 20k souls down.
Ambiguous on the minimap. Next time we see them, we'll have an idea. No, no.
The Urn is spawning. It's time. This is the comeback. Just get the Urn.
And Mercedes is dead.
3v1. Ganging up on him is already unfair, but and that's the under control as well, so they can just pick that up. And to be honest, they could run the Urn into their opponent's side of the map. Like, they legitimately could do that.
Yeah, I think this is... You saw last game where they just stalled out the Urn because they didn't want to take a disadvantageous fight, and they still wanted to deny the comeback mechanic. Well, in this game, in this situation...
They're probably just going to do it! They'll just kill him!
Mid-buff, no one gets to tell you what to do, Dan. You make your own rules. Do whatever you want.
Yep.
True. And what's crazy is it really feels like they can just do this. They can just...
No, they're just going to walk up, and if they fight them, they're going to kill them. They're so far ahead. Doesn't matter.
The first Urn going into the enemy side. This is quite crazy, but we'll see if there's anything to stop this.
Even the McGinnis being here is tough.
Trouble here, indeed. It's taken down, and Hydronation just farming the kills.
I mean, they tried fighting it.
Looked at Kelvin in the eyes and just could have emoted at him and just said, "I'm turning this in your face. What are you gonna do about it?"
What is he gonna do? Is that dog gonna kill Azure right there?
The court level stuff. Ice cold.
Oh my God, one tick.
I mean, you know, honestly, I'm exaggerating a little bit, but what more can you do right now? This is just, it's a crush. Yeah. It's a patron pulverizing without the pulverizers.
Yeah. Yeah. It's bad. it's bad. Well, here's a big team fight for past off the rip, off the respawn, off the ropes. They're coming in to see what they can do if they can get anything done here. DMB goes down quick.
Is DMB stream trying to learn Infernus? I don't know. He is generally not the first Infernus player for them. Usually their normal Infernus player is Lefa. He does stream. I forget the exact username. It's like Lefa LEFF or LEFAAWR or something. I don't remember.
Rocker is actually owning people on this pocket. Cooldown's coming up. Will be available in 5 seconds. And looks like Hydration also able to stay up here. So after all said and done,
oh, goodbye, Viscous.
Pass, but still a huge difference. Nice find on Hydration though. Maybe I spoke too soon.
I mean, he got a kill.
You look at all the souls.
He got a kill, guys. He died. He got dotted.
Simply losing all life to the flames of the furnace.
I mean, hey, they're coming back.
Overall,
Copium
Pass actually catches up a little bit. The problem, though, is that it's still a 30,000 soul lead. This is just not something easy to come back from. Tornado comes on in, sets the stage. Alju can't get away. 7 goes, let's summon the storm.
The 7 is just ulting, and they just don't even care.
And Mo and Krill just getting
okay, never mind. They cared. It took a minute.
Again, I said it
they can't kill anyone. This is so sad. Oh no, so sad.
And do whatever they want, where you can engage in fisticuffs with an Abrams. This is the power you have at the moment if you're Hydronation.
A Dome and a 7-0. Yeah, I mean, what do you do against Dome? The Dome is too good. Honestly, I feel like Kelvin should be an earlier pick with how impactful Kelvin's support has been all day.
And just taking down all
like comparing it to Mirage. No offense. I never see Mirage doing shit compared to Kelvin all game long.
I mean, the past hope now kind of goes into the realm of, oh, we need the remake because a player has gotten disconnected and there's been a version update and they can't reconnect to the game because the version has updated. Like, you're literally praying to Gabe Newell for that level of just shenanigans.
Yeah, true, actually, yeah.
Mercedes falls immediately because it doesn't matter if you have telekinesis when the other team is at 20k. It just, you can do nothing.
Vindicta literally snipes somebody, gets charged by Abrams, mid-charge, gets pulled back by Kelvin.
At the Deadlock Fight Night, and
only Yoshi can stop Hydronation now. It's true. Yoshi needs to release an update and crash at least 2 of the players. Mercedes just said, I think we're losing, guys.
Right in the game, I think we're losing, guys.
You know, honestly, I think while things have not gone awry, or things have gone awry for Pass here, I think their estimation of the situation is actually very accurate. Does that help their situation at all?
Man, I mean, hey, at least the EU games were crazy close.
I would say, for lack of
all the EU series were amazing.
Has been,
NA is just
and Hydronation show
NA.
No signs of stopping. Nearly a 70k soul lead here, and
we need somebody to upset these guys. Come on.
It might be one of the fastest games we've had, actually, ZP.
For Deadlock Fight Night, it absolutely is. It's gonna go over the 15-minute mark, but not much over than that. As everything for Pass simply crumbles to ash. And Hydronation,
Wraith ults Vindicta, she immediately gets cubed.
They can taste it.
Oh, Wraith got another kill! This is it. This is the start of the comeback.
They could delay this. They could just not kill the patron. I mean, to be honest, it wouldn't be too surprising.
Okay, well, here we go.
Jason's telling me that 16:25 is our shortest game, so this could still beat it.
Hey. There you go, stream.
It's at half here, Dan. Hydronation on their way to becoming the 5-time champions here at Deadlock Fight Night. The patron is low. Alju gets a kill on the flick, but it is inevitable. The patron goes on lower and lower, and it is Hydronation, your champions once more.
Well,
setting a new record at 1550.
1550.
Who is going to stop them? That is the question that remains. Maybe there'll be some stability that starts to happen in the North American scene in terms of some of the top rosters, so that we can get some solid challenges for Hydronation.
Yeah, we need more NA teams to challenge these guys. What's going on here?
The most dominant. They are the kings of the throne. The kings of the throne. That sounds uncomfortable if there's only one throne and there's multiple kings. But
now Hydronation should do this to EU.
I mean, you can't fault them. Here's EP. This is.
I mean, just bring them to Spain.
But there are points in Deadlock where if you are a certain percentage ahead of the other hero, you no longer have to respect the other hero. You just hold W, you go in, and you collect your kill. And because
it's true,
Mercedes fell behind early.
You just dashes them and they die. What do you do?
Map 2, that was
it's a classic.
DNB just got to keep going in over and over again with very consistent damage, and the stat difference was just too much for Mercedes to do anything about it without help.
We're gonna end it there.
The ability points.
Shout out to all the EU games and everybody watching today. It was a blast. I am skedaddling for the night. Thank you so much for hanging out and watching. It's honestly it's so cool to see people actually watch anything this early in Deadlock. NA is kind of a stomps, it's whatever, but the EU games in particular are so good. And I'm happy to be able to, you know, watch with everybody who's also watching online. So thanks for watching.